Our story begins and someone is swallowing hard. You can tell nerves are frayed to the limit. A blonde girl confesses and says she also really likes manga. Everything seems straight out of a dream. Another girl, a redhead this time, laughs while asking him if he is really being serious. And one more, dressed in a kimono, turns red while asking how her outfit looks. Even a super excited blue-haired girl appears, telling what she has started to love lately, but the fantasy is suddenly cut short by someone pointing directly toward the front. It turns out everything was a vision. Kemyu-sun wakes up in a cold sweat while hearing people shouting his name. The heart monitor beeps loudly in the middle of the darkness. Someone screams for a doctor, while Yu-sun can barely open an eye. The boy wakes up on a stretcher, confused and with a patch on his face, having no idea where he is standing. The doctor asks him if he can hear him and if he knows who he is. In the background, his mother cannot stop crying. In his mind appears the memory of a fire in a laboratory. He was trying to save his doctoral thesis and could not get out in time. Now he is there, looking at the ceiling of what seems to be a hospital and wondering what the hell happened. He opens his eyes wide upon feeling that something does not fit at all. He looks at himself in the reflection of a water pitcher and freezes upon seeing that this face is not his. A couple of days later, he is discharged and goes in the car with what is now his family. While observing his reflection in the window, he finishes accepting reality. He is transmigrated into another body. The original owner was named Kim Yu-sun, a normal high school student born in Japan to Korean parents. The poor guy had a car accident over the weekend and was unconscious for several days until he woke up. Basically, his old self died in the fire and now he possesses the body of this boy. But instead of getting scared, he gets excited. Finally, he is free from the torture that was graduate school, although he tries not to celebrate ahead of time because the possession could end as quickly as it started. The car arrives at his new house, and Yu-sun wonders how he's going to manage to adapt to living there. His mother tells him to go up and rest, and he does so, still a bit dazed by everything, standing in front of his room's door. The curious thing is that his body seems to move on its own, as if it remembered the way. He opens the door with a lot of doubt, feeling like a complete stranger entering someone else's room, but as soon as he pokes his head in, his jaw drops from pure shock. The bookshelves are bursting with manga and books piled everywhere. There are anime figures decorating every corner. Starting with a very striking magical girl, it is not just a little bit of decoration. The room is basically a museum dedicated to anime. Yu-sun realizes the harsh reality. The previous owner was a hardcore otaku. He stares into the void, processing the mess he just got himself into. He drops to the floor with a sigh, wondering if he can really live pretending to be this boy. He finds more figures, this time of a cheerleader. He thinks that if he changes his attitude suddenly, his parents will notice something is wrong. Suddenly, something on the wall catches his attention and he stares fixedly. It is a poster of a boy posing, but Yu-sun notices that this guy looks way too much like himself. He gets closer to see it better and the surprise finishes him off. The guy on the poster is Kim Yu-sun doing cosplay. The previous owner lived inside his characters 24 hours a day. He starts checking the bookshelves like crazy. There are fighting, cooking, and tons of romance manga. He finds a volume with a fantasy cover and stares at it with a suspicion growing in his chest. Suddenly he reminisces. He starts remembering having seen that character's style before. It is the manga Scrumble Love, a work that sold millions and that he knew perfectly. He realizes that he is inside a world that follows to the letter all the rules of classic romantic comedies. It turns out that in the last volume of the manga, after defeating all the heroines, the one who ends up winning is the childhood friend. That unexpected ending made the whole fandom explode on the internet. Nobody understood how she won without having any prior development. Yu-sun looks at the book confused. He feels his situation is heading down the same path and wonders if he should read it to be prepared. As soon as he opens the first page, the guy gets completely hooked on the story. He can no longer stop reading. His hands tremble from pure excitement as he turns the pages. You can tell the plot completely caught him. He ended up staying awake all night to read all the volumes. In the end, he has to admit that the thing was pretty good. It is already daytime, and Yu-sun is helping out in his family's barbecue restaurant. His mother asks him to take the orders and someone enters. Yu-sun responds to her with a super weird phrase calling her his creator. He does it to see if it passes, and his mother laughs happily to see that he is still the same as always. He sighs in relief for having overcome the moment. At least being the son of a barbecue owner is perfect for his protein intake. Suddenly, the entrance bell rings and Yu-sun looks up. He freezes upon seeing the new customers. He feels he has seen those people somewhere before, and it definitely was not in the real world. A very energetic blonde girl enters hanging from the arm of a boy, shouting that today she's going to feed him well so he does not escape. She calls him Ryu Hyopa with a huge smile, while the blonde boy scratches the back of his neck, a bit uncomfortable by so much racket. Yu-sun goes into total shock upon hearing that name. Cold sweat starts running down his forehead while he connects the dots. Suddenly, he remembers the covers of the Scrumble Love manga that he was reading all night. There is no doubt that blonde boy in front of him is Sakamoto Ryugi himself, the protagonist of the story. The guy stands processing the information in silence. This is not just any reincarnation in the past. He has been possessed by a character inside a book. He is literally living in the universe of his romance manga. He takes a breath to try to summarize everything that is happening to him because it is too much to process at once. He was a normal graduate student who died in a fire and woke up in the body of Chin Yusun. And the worst part is that Yusun is just an extra, a guy who has no relevance in the main plot of the manga. In short, it is exactly like those reincarnation mangas he was reading all night. The big problem is that he never read Scrumble Love thoroughly. He only knows the spoilers he skimmed on the internet. He looks at Rei and the girl and realizes that even if it is a book, to him all of this feels totally real. He knows he has no special advantage, so he decides that the best thing will be to avoid Ryugi like the plague. His plan is simple: live a normal life as an extra and not get into trouble with the protagonist. From then on, his life becomes crazy. He sets out to change his image and his future completely. He studies like there is no tomorrow and gets a full scholarship. He even joins the student council. He uses the change of puberty as an excuse and shapes his new personality step by step. Even though he has worked so hard, the possession does not undo. Time flies and the guy wonders what else he can do to be prepared for an uncertain future. He starts thinking about saving money for university, but suddenly a better idea comes to him. What if he starts training? He knows that strength is vital, so he decides it is better to have it and not need it than the other way around. He starts running on the treadmill to gain stamina. Said and done, Yusun gets into the gym and starts suffering with push-ups while a muscular instructor watches him. He moves on to lifting weights with an enormous effort, but his scientist mind enjoys seeing the direct results of his work. Exercise becomes his new obsession. He loves seeing clear results after so much effort. And so time passed. A new school year arrives and all the students stare in awe at someone walking towards the entrance. A boy stares, impressed by the imposing presence of someone who just arrived. Even the veterans of the place cannot help but cast a glance as he walks down the hallway. We see a guy from behind with an incredible posture. The uniform fits tight because of how muscular he is. His face has completely changed. Now he has a sharp look and a jawline that looks carved in stone. Yusun, you arrived early, Sakamoto Rei tells him, approaching with his usual protagonist energy. Ryugi is left jaw-dropped upon seeing his friend and asks him which class he got into, unable to believe how much he has changed. In the background, other students are just as shocked. I still do not know for sure, but I have successfully managed to reach my second year of high school. I am already a sophomore. Looking back, the year really flew by. Everything has changed a lot since I woke up in this body. During the last few months, I have dedicated myself body and soul to a rigorous physical training. I have achieved an insane muscle mass increase, completely transforming the original appearance of this boy. All of this has been with the sole purpose of being able to protect myself in this very strange environment. After all, this is the world of a manga. Things like aliens, ghosts, or yakuza appearing out of nowhere are an everyday occurrence, at least in the romantic comedies I have read. Exactly. All of this is to prepare myself for an uncertain future. It is definitely not because I have become obsessed with muscles. That lie just caused me a slight loss of muscle mass. I have had a productive year so far, so I plan to continue down that path and keep my profile low, or that is what I had decided just a moment ago. In front of Class 2B, I see Meiguchi, the main heroine of the original manga. In reality, it does not look like it is going to be a very good morning. There sits Sakamoto Rei, the original protagonist of the story. This is a total disaster. Of all possible people, I had to end up in the same class as Sakamoto Ryugi. I specifically chose a distant school to avoid him at all costs. If I get caught up in his messes, my peaceful school life will be over forever. Ryugi seems to be having a complicated morning. Well, you see, everything has gone wrong since the day started. First, I lost my wallet, he tells Mei, and then I bumped into an unknown girl on the street. Kim Yusun listens carefully, recognizing the start of a classic manga event. I bumped into her. Suddenly, the sound of the door opening interrupts the chat. All right, silence everyone, orders an authoritative voice. Ryugi and Mei jump at the arrival of the teacher. Oh, it is the teacher, Ryugi thinks while Mei slightly. Better head back to my seat too. The teacher enters with a firm step and leaves his papers on the desk. I know things are a bit chaotic, it being barely the second day of the new term, but listen to me for a second. The whole class keeps an expectant silence at the teacher's words. I have an important announcement to make today. The teacher smiles knowingly while pointing toward the hallway. We have a transfer student. You can come in now. The eyes of all the students turn toward the door as a striking head of blonde hair appears in the doorway. I'm coming, exclaims the girl entering with a bright aura full of flowers. She's a beautiful young woman with blonde pigtails and a bursting energy. The whole class starts to murmur excitedly at the beauty of the newcomer. Wow, she's gorgeous. Is she a foreigner? The boys ask themselves. The teacher proudly introduces her to her new classmates. She's new here, so make sure to help her out and show her how things work. Go ahead, introduce yourself. She smiles radiant in front of everyone, oozing charisma. My name is Kisimoto Rika. I just moved here from Shizuoka. I love cats, sweets, and natto soup. Yusun observes the scene from his place, feeling how the destiny of the manga closes in on him. I should have known it. Being in the same class as the protagonist inevitably means that one of the main heroines will end up transferring into it. To start the plot, Kisimoto Rika. Even without having read the original Scramble Love manga, Yusun knew she was the undisputed #1 in the popularity polls among readers, even if she wasn't the heroine who won at the end of the story. The air in the class seems to grow lighter around her in the face of her vibrant personality. The teacher looks for an empty spot for her. Let's see, Kisimoto. Your seat will be over there. That seems fine, Sakamoto. She'll be sitting next to you, so look after her. Ryuhi, who is leaning on his hand with total indifference, looks up in surprise upon hearing his name. Seeing her up close, Ryugi's eyes open wide. Wait, you're the violent girl from this morning. Rika, realizing who the boy next to her is, points a trembling finger with an expression of pure fury. You're the one from this morning, she screams as she vividly remembers the embarrassing collision incident. You piece of pervert. The teacher quickly intervenes with a nervous smile before the situation escalates. Silence. It's even better that you already know each other. Now go sit down. This is the worst, Rika mutters in a bad mood as she walks toward her new spot. Ryugi responds in the same tone. That's my line. Rika finally sits down and shoots him a murderous side glance. Ryugi is left confused by such hostility. HMPH, she snorts loudly, turning her face with disdain toward the other side. Sparks fly between the two seats. Tension hangs in the air of the entire classroom, but suddenly something changes in the girl's attitude. She remembers the reason for their initial encounter. She drops an object onto the table without looking directly at him. Here, this is your wallet, right? Ryugi blinks in surprise upon seeing it. Rei takes it timidly, feeling somewhat guilty for his previous reaction. Thanks. Yusun observes them from behind with an expression of absolute resignation. I have to deal with this for 2 more years. The wall clock reads 11:05. As the school day continues under this new and inevitable romantic comedy dynamic, Kim Yusun only wishes he could transfer schools. Hey Kim, if you're done with that manga magazine, can I borrow it? Asks a classmate approaching his desk. Yusun nods calmly. Go ahead. Thanks, the boy replies as he walks away with the volume. Yusun reflects to himself as he watches him leave. Even in high school, I still haven't outgrown manga. This is also for the sake of my future. I haven't read Scramble Love, but since this world faithfully follows the laws of romantic comedies, everything is quite predictable to me. However, a manga is something that rarely turns out exactly as one expects. That's why I must always read the most recent magazines, Yusun thinks as he visualizes the various heroines who could disrupt his piece, thereby staying on top of the various plot developments in this genre. Yusun analyzes the classic tropes depicted on the pages so as not to be taken by surprise. Suddenly, reality imitates art before his eyes. Ryui takes Rika by the hands with sudden determination. What are you doing all of a sudden? She asks, startled. I have something to tell you in private. Can you come with me for a second? Ryu stares at her with a serious and somewhat somber expression. It's about the accident we had this morning. Rika blushes slightly at the closeness and ends up giving in, looking away timidly. Fine, but only for a moment. The other students in the classroom watch the scene with fascination. Oh, something is happening between those two, mutters a boy with evident curiosity about the possible romance. Yusun gets up from his seat with an intense look that does not go unnoticed. Well then, I'm going to. He uses the most ordinary excuse possible to be able to follow them without raising suspicion. As he walks down the school hallway, the atmosphere around him seems to turn tense immediately. His heavy steps echo against the floor. Yusun moves forward with his hands in his pockets, radiating a natural aura of intimidation. His sharp gaze and imposing physique cause the normally noisy school hallways to plunge into a deathly silence. Other students shudder out of pure terror upon seeing him pass, pressing themselves against the walls to leave his path clear. They can't help it. His presence is overwhelming. Absurd rumors fly behind his back. It's Kim Yusun. Is he really a student? They say he's the successor to the art of assassination. Hell, I heard he's an elite Yakuza from the Tojo clan. Yusun sighs internally at the reaction of the others. Good grief, what is this? The parting of the Red Sea? Just because I gained a bit of muscle volume. Well, at least it makes walking down the hallway easier. Let's hurry up and go see what's happening between those two. Even if I can predict the laws of romantic comedies, Yusun thinks, keeping his objective in mind. To increase my accuracy, I have to witness the event in person and gather real data. He knows that theory is not enough in this unpredictable world. In this school, the only place where a private conversation event of this kind would happen, Yusun reflects, analyzing the mental map of the campus. His eyes narrow as he visually locates his final target. There is only one possible place for a cliché like this. Just as he suspected, Ryugi has taken Rika to the most iconic place of all. Let's go to the school's backyard. There the private scene unfolds. There Ryugi bows deeply in front of Rika, putting his hands together in an exaggerated gesture of supplication. "I'm sorry, I didn't do it on purpose," he shouts, begging for forgiveness for this morning. Yusun observes the scene, strategically hidden among the bushes. "That's the mythical apology palm technique of manga protagonists," he exclaims to himself. He can't help but feel a prickle of second-hand embarrassment mixed with confirmation. I can't believe he's actually doing that ridiculous pose. He is definitely a romantic comedy protagonist. Rika looks with distrust at the blonde boy in front of her with her arms tightly crossed, but she can't hold it for even a second and lets out a small, mocking giggle. In the end, she bursts into a clean laugh while poor Ryugi falls apart in apologies in the background. She approaches him with a fanged smile and tells him that he is too innocent for his own good. The guy doesn't understand anything and asks her if she wasn't angry a moment ago, but Rika clarifies that she only wanted to tease him. Meanwhile, hidden among the bushes, Chin Yusun observes the scene with a sour face. Rika continues in her role as the popular and cheerful girl, making Ryugi get all flustered. Yusun continues spying, recognizing that this is the classic first encounter event with the protagonist. He stays crouched there, analyzing how this is the textbook beginning for any romantic comedy. But out of nowhere, someone shouts his name from behind and makes him jump from the scare. A girl appears covering half her face with a red fan, asking him what the council's secretary is doing crouching in the mud. It's President Kumiko, who suspects that her classmate is stalking female students in his free time. This girl comes from a noble family from Kyoto and is the absolute head of the student council. To Yusun, she is just a supporting character destined to be the funny rival who always loses to the heroine. She stares fixedly at a bush, ignoring her villainous attitude for a second. The guy rips a branch right off and puts on a serious face, saying that he just wanted to decorate the council office to look normal. Kumiko hides behind the branch and her fan, trying to hide that she got flustered by the gesture. You can tell she had a sugar crash or something because her eyes betray that she is all red inside. He hands her the branch as if it were a war trophy. Yusun stares at her waiting for a reaction, maintaining his usual intimidating aura. The president accepts the gift, saying she will put it in the office just to respect his effort. He sighs in relief upon seeing that she swallowed the silly excuse he invented on the spot. She takes the opportunity to ask him what he's doing around there, commenting that it has been difficult to find him with the start of the semester. Then she opens her fan and invites him to eat with the rest of the council to get along better. She turns around all excited and tells him to hurry up because they're going to run out of tables in the cafeteria. Yusun stops her dead in her tracks, telling her they probably don't serve anything that is up to the standards of a noble president. She looks at him sideways with a smile of superiority, as if she had a secret up her sleeve. She laughs heartily and asks him if he really thinks she doesn't know the culture of common people. She boasts that she even went to Yusun's family restaurant to eat a spicy pork bowl and that it was decent. The guy is left surprised, since she usually eats extremely expensive cuts of meat in her office. With all the calm in the world, Yusun informs her that today they are not serving spicy pork on the school menu. The president's face drops from shock and she panics, asking what the hell they are going to eat. Then when he suggests eating judon, she stays processing the name as if it were junk food. She almost starts crying from frustration, while Yusun reminds her that a moment ago she claimed not to be an ignorant noble. Suddenly, he feels a presence and looks to the side with a suspicious face. Akaji Saniro, the vice president, appears, looking for the boss because her steak is getting cold. Shinjiro freezes upon seeing Yusun standing there next to his boss. He adjusts his glasses with a menacing glint, thinking he has already figured out what this whole matter is about, points a finger at Yusun, and scolds him for not fulfilling his duties to the council. Then he drops the bombshell. He says the president has been looking for him everywhere, even skipping her meals. The protagonist puts on a confused face, not understanding why she would do something so extreme. Kumiko bursts with embarrassment and screams that she never said she was sad, while trying to hide behind Yusun. Saniro screams at Yusun not to get in the way, that he can no longer stand his disrespect toward the president. He gets all dramatic, swearing that he has served the Tojo family for generations, and that he is ready to die, while the girl drags him away by force. If you make her sad again, the Akaji family will come after you. Shinjiro keeps threatening as he disappears from the scene. Yusun is left with a poker face, not understanding a single thing that just happened. Scene cut. Classes end and cherry blossom petals fly all over the academy entrance. A while later, the action moves to the subway station, packed with people returning to their homes. Among the crowd is Yusun, who with his new body and sour face looks like a delinquent straight out of a movie. He stares into nothingness, thinking that with the meeting of the protagonists today, the story of Scumball love has finally officially begun. A certain Satoru greets him with all the confidence in the world. It seems he's the only one who hasn't been afraid of him since he got jacked at the gym. The guy is happy with the results, convinced that having good size is the key so that nobody messes with you, whether in Korea or in Japan. He checks the schedule board. There are still 10 minutes left before his train arrives. He approaches the vending machine and pulls out a can that drops with a thud. While opening his drink, he convinces himself that he should just keep acting like a normal extra so that the plot doesn't drag him in. But right at that moment, a hand stealthily appears from behind. Yusun senses the danger and gets into a defensive stance immediately. It's Kisumoto Rika, who appears out of nowhere with a grin from ear to ear, recognizing him as her classmate. The poor guy almost chokes on his drink. He doesn't understand what one of the main heroines is doing, striking up a conversation with him. Rika looks super relieved to have found him, holding her phone with both hands. Without wasting time, she asks him if by any chance he knows how to get to a certain place. He looks at her with suspicion and asks how she knows his name when they've never spoken. She, with all the naturalness in the world, points toward his chest. "It's written right here, King-kun," she tells him with a charming giggle. Yusun freezes. He completely forgot that in this world, everyone wears their name in plain sight on the uniform. She covers her mouth to let out a little laugh upon seeing the blank face her classmate made. Rika tells him with absolute certainty, despite what people say, he seems to be a good person. The guy goes into an existential crisis. He cannot believe a heroine is drawing positive conclusions about him so quickly. He is left speechless, turning over in his mind what the hell she means. With that, he asks her directly why she thinks that way and how she even noticed someone like him. The atmosphere turns heavy while Rika admits that with that strange vibe he has in class, it is impossible not to notice him. She tells him all the crazy rumors going around about him, whether he fought 50 gang members or if the Yakuza wants to recruit him. But then she smiles at him honestly, saying that he seems like someone kind because he is chatting with her without any problems. Yusun observes her in silence, realizing that the situation is getting out of hand. On the inside, he is screaming in pure panic. He made the mistake of getting involved with one of the protagonists of the manga. He remembers that Rika is the #1 girl in popularity and wonders if he should get aggressive to scare her away once and for all. "King-kun," she shouts at him to snap him out of his thoughts. The blonde puffs out her cheeks, completely offended because he stayed quiet, ignoring her compliments. She demands an immediate response without letting him escape from the conversation. Her smile seems to shine with a light of its own that leaves him caught off guard. He looks at her resignedly, realizing that it is not going to be that easy to get rid of her. Rika tells him that sooner or later everyone will see who he really is beyond the tough guy rumors. With a background of flowers and overflowing enthusiasm, she announces to him that she will be his friend until that day arrives. Yusun does not even know what to say, seeing how his plan to be an elite extra just went straight down the drain. Yusun gives up and understands that trying to scare Rika is a total waste of time. He decides that the best thing is to go with the flow for now, although he plans to keep pretending that he is just an ordinary extra. Rika, for her part, is delighted with life with her new friend. Suddenly she remembers something and asks him for help finding an address in the exclusive neighborhood of Seijo. She explains to him that she just moved and that the train system has her completely dizzy. The protagonist is left wondering if Rika has some rich girl background that he did not know about from the original manga. Since he lives nearby, he tells her she can take the same train as him, and she gets super happy about the stroke of luck. Her eyes shine with joy upon seeing that her plan to ask for help worked perfectly. Rika cannot believe they live so close. He clarifies to her that his station is only 2 stops away from hers. She says enthusiastically that it must be destiny, but Yusun thinks that is going too far, since she should be destined for the protagonist Ryugi. Suddenly, Yusun has an epiphany while observing the situation. He realizes that he has a very serious problem. In his previous life, he never finished reading the Scrumble Love manga. He concludes that making friends with Rika is the safest way to get real information instead of guessing around. He imagines himself as a thug intimidating Ryugi into going out with Rika, thinking that way he could help if things go wrong. He smiles to himself, convinced that a small change in the story will not ruin the main plot. To seal the friendship, he offers to buy her a drink. This takes Rika by surprise. She accepts delighted and chooses a Coca-Cola from the vending machine while he thanks her for being his friend. As soon as she has the can in her hand, she drinks it almost in one gulp, showing how thirsty she was. She lets out a sigh of satisfaction, declaring that nothing beats a good, cold soda. He comments that it seems she likes it a lot, and she admits that she hadn't had one in a long time to watch her figure. Yusun looks at her with curiosity, not understanding why a student would worry so much about her waistline. Tada, She proudly shows him some professional modeling photos on her phone. It turns out that in her hometown she was a fashion magazine model, so personal care is sacred to her. He comments that in person she looks very different, perhaps because of the makeup, and she gets furious, shouting at him that nothing of the sort. Just then the train arrives and he takes the opportunity to change the subject, although she continues protesting indignantly. The green-colored train enters the station at full speed while they prepare to board. Once inside, the other passengers begin to whisper about Yusun's intimidating appearance, calling him Yakuza. People are terrified to share a car with him, avoiding eye contact at all costs. Rika jokes saying that traveling with him has its advantages because of the space people leave, but he sees it as something totally negative. She focuses back on the map on her mobile, suggesting that they look for the way calmly. Yusun, who knows the area, points her in the right direction while she is still in a mess with the map. The doors open and he tells her to hurry up or he will leave her behind, earning another complaint that he is mean. Upon reaching his stop, he says goodbye, warning her that she still has 2 more stations left to reach Seijo. Rika stops him for a moment, calling him by his name in a soft voice. She says goodbye with a radiant smile and shouts, "See you tomorrow," right before the train doors close. Yusun sees her go and wonders with resignation if from now on this will be an everyday thing. The next day at the academy, he walks through the hallways with a serious expression, turning over his new situation in his mind. The bell rings announcing lunchtime and students run enthusiastically toward the cafeteria. Yusun sits alone at an outdoor table and deeply laments upon realizing that he forgot his bento at home. But then someone opens in front of him a box full of gimbap that looks delicious. Someone is seen enjoying a bite with great pleasure while the sun shines in the background. Suddenly, he hears someone calling his name out loud and freezes with the bite halfway. Yusun is surprised to see Rika there and calls her by her name in disbelief. Rika seems to be on the verge of tears, worried thinking that Yusun has been eating lunch alone in that secluded place every day. He tries to downplay it, explaining that he prefers to be alone so as not to make his classmates uncomfortable with his intimidating presence. Yusun assures her that she should not worry, reminding her that she herself said that someday others would see his true way of being. With burning cheeks, Rika tells him tenderly that she does not think he will be alone ever again from now on. Suddenly, a flash of curiosity crosses the girl's gaze as she observes something intently. Her eyes land on the bento that Yusun has in his hands, full of Korean gimbap. Excited, Rika asks if it is norimaki, but immediately recognizes that it is gimbap, something she had only seen before in K-dramas. Yusun agrees to share a piece with her, somewhat bewildered by how quickly she went from sadness to excitement. Rika lets out a laugh and proposes that if it doesn't bother him, they keep eating lunch together every day. In response to a joke from Yusun about bringing food, she goes on the defensive and is comically indignant, assuring him that she doesn't do it just for the gimbap. While observing the girl, Yusun reflects on how easy it has been to become friends with her and understands why she is the most popular character in the manga. Rika tastes the bite with delight, savoring every ingredient of the traditional dish. With her face lit up with happiness, she praises the seasoning of the food and mentions that you can tell Yusun's family has a Korean restaurant. Sitting quietly on a bench, he thanks her for liking the food his mother brought so much. To return the favor, Rika offers him a taste of her own Japanese rolled omelet, the daimaki tamago. Yusun agrees to try just one piece of Rika's bento, which looks very well prepared and decorated. The protagonist bites into the piece of omelet, expecting a traditional and comforting flavor. Suddenly, his eyes open wide at an explosion of flavor that he did not expect at all. Yusun feels as if a whole sack of sugar had been dumped into his mouth, horrified by the extreme sweetness of the omelet. Carefully, he asks Rika how much sugar she put in, but she answers with total naturalness that she only used a reasonable amount. With an aura of burning determination, Yusun decides that he must save Rika's health by teaching her how to cook a Korean version without so much sugar. Rika is horrified to learn that he puts salt on his omelets, finding the idea of something salty totally strange for that dish. In the end, Rika laughs amused by the differences in their tastes, while Yusun seriously fears that his friend's sense of taste is ruined. Kin Yusun and Kisimoto Rika enjoy a quiet lunch outdoors. Suddenly, Rika notices someone approaching them in the distance. It is President Tojo, who arrives blowing a whistle with a sour face. The pair is left confused by the girl's noisy entrance. President Tojo begins to mutter something about improper heterosexual relationships. She points at Yusun and shouts that as president of the student council she will not allow it. Yusun is left with a poker face, wondering what the hell she is talking about. She approaches to lecture them for eating alone in such a secluded place. Singiro, the vice president, intervenes, scolding Yusun for trying to make excuses. Yusun sighs and clarifies that it is nothing of the sort, noting that he runs into them way too often. Shinjiro, the vice president, says it is natural to see each other if he is part of the student council. President Tojo hides behind her fan and asks Rika who she is. Rika points at her immediately, remembering her nickname of the Dark President. The name takes President Tojo by surprise, leaving her frozen. Rika mentions that there are rumors that she only wears that black uniform to get attention. President Tojo turns red with rage and tries to defend the dignity of her position. Rika tells her that everyone thinks it is pure cosplay, but that she shouldn't worry. The girl from the council goes into a crisis upon learning that they see her as a cosplayer. Rika stares at her with a totally neutral expression. Humiliated, President Tojo announces her withdrawal, but swears that they will see each other again. She runs off at full speed while Injiro, the vice president, tries to catch up with her. Yusun and Rika simply watch them leave in the middle of the uproar. Rika is left wondering if she said something bad, but she doesn't seem to care much. The school clock marks the end of the lunch hour. Later, in the classroom, Yusun sits thoughtfully at his desk. Rika approaches him with her backpack and asks him why he hasn't gone home yet. She notices that he has a club brochure and is surprised that he is not in any yet. With great enthusiasm, Rika suggests they go visit several clubs today. Yusun accepts, thinking it is better to see them in person than just to imagine it. He stands up determinedly and Rika gets excited, asking where they will go first. Yusun reveals that he plans to visit absolutely all the sports clubs. With a sinister smile, he hints that he has his own motives for this. Surrounded by an imposing aura, Yusun confesses that he wants to test the limits of his strength. The first stop on their tour is the football club. Someone kicks the ball with great force on the training field. The ball goes flying over the building and the goalkeeper is left jaw-dropped. A student laments for not scoring a goal while his friend mocks his poor aim. The boy gets angry and challenges his classmate to try it himself if he knows so much. In the middle of the argument, someone walks toward them with a lot of confidence. The two guys get scared upon being interrupted by an imposing presence. It is Rei-Oi, who arrives with his number 10 uniform to impose order on the field. Rei-Oi tells them they need to use the field and asks them to get out of the way. The third-year captain appears, Rei-Oi 0 to 100, a guy with legs faster than sight. The thugs apologize and take off running, saying that football is too much fun to get into trouble. A teammate thanks Rei-Oi for scaring them away, but the captain says there are always guys like that. The boy asks him what he thinks of this year's rookies, and Rei-Oi admits that none of them stand out yet. Rei-Oi gets serious. His dream is to win the national championship, but the club lacks real talent. While observing the school, he thinks that a single strong recruit could change everything for the team. One of the delinquents is fuming, each time more because of what happened before. He asks his colleague if they should go back and give Yusun a beating, but the other guy ignores the subject. The one with gray hair mocks his friend, asking him if he is afraid of Rei-Oi's 100 km/h kicks. The blonde accidentally bumps into someone while insisting that fighting is a matter of experience, not just strength. He turns around furiously, asking what idiot dares to bump into him while he is talking. He finds himself face to face with Chin Yuan, whose gaze is so intense that it leaves him petrified. Yusun looks at him with contempt and asks him to repeat what he said with a voice that curdles the blood. The two thugs are left trembling with fear upon realizing who they have crossed paths with. They scream in terror upon recognizing the successor of the assassination arts and flee in a hurry. Yusu doesn't understand anything, and Kisimoto, Rika wonders what assassination arts they're talking about. The rest of the students begin to whisper about how Yusun scared off the thugs with a single glance. Rika scolds him for looking for a fight, but he defends himself, saying that they were the ones who spoke to him. She insists that even looking like that is bad manners, leaving Yusun quite discouraged. On the field, a football player practices with the ball without suspecting what is about to happen. The boy stops upon noticing that something strange is happening and that the atmosphere has become heavy. Kin Yusun arrives at the football field along with Rika, and the news of his arrival flies among those present. The delinquents from before observe from a distance, terrified, thinking that he is coming for them. A hand rests firmly on the shoulder of the player, who is sweating cold, to reassure him. It is Captain Rei-Oi, who tells him to calm down because he doesn't think Yusun is there for some nonsense. The teammate remains scared and mentions the rumor that Yusun was banned from joining clubs. Rei-Oi, she admits to having heard the rumors, but seeing him in person, she can notice that the reality is different. She is left impressed by Yusun's physique, thinking that he is an absolute beast of a national level. We see a close-up of Rei-Oi's football boot as he takes a step forward with determination. The captain approaches Yusun and comments to him that he has heard many interesting stories about him. Rei-Oi introduces himself formally and welcomes him, asking him what it is he is looking for in his club. Yusun responds to him that he is there for the tryout, leaving the captain completely caught off guard. Up close, Rei-Oi feels insignificant before the overwhelming presence that Yusun radiates. He is left hypnotized by his muscles, which are so big that his clothes can barely contain them. Reo begins to daydream about lifting the national trophy thanks to Yusun's power. He decides at that very moment that he has to get him to join the team no matter what it costs. Yusun asks him if something is wrong and Reo reacts quickly to start with the entry tryout. The test is direct, just a penalty shot at the goal with all the strength he can muster. Yusun prepares himself in front of the ball, determined not to waste this opportunity. A purple aura bursts around him as he concentrates to give it absolutely everything. Yusun applies his powerlifting logic to the shot, concentrating the power of his legs. He puts 300 kg of force into the shot, with his eyes shining with a terrifying intensity. Yusun launches a devastating kick that looks straight out of a martial arts manga. The impact is so brutal that the ball shoots out with an inhuman force. The players of the football club are left petrified without being able to believe what they have just witnessed. Even Reo is speechless. The shot was so fast that they couldn't even see the ball. Everyone looks toward the goal, but there is no sign of the ball anywhere. Suddenly, Reo realizes something terrifying and shouts, wondering, what is that? The ball has exploded. Nobody can believe that a human is capable of something like that. Yusun decides that football is not for him and asks Kishimoto Rika, what other clubs are there? Rika suggests going to the basketball club, excited as if she were in the middle of a dojo crushing. The rumors spread like wildfire throughout the school. Chin Yusum goes toward the basketball club, the student, anxious to see what craziness he will do at his next stop. They don't want to miss the show. President Tojo observes from the shadows, wondering if Yusun has finally started to move. In the basketball club, Yusun makes a dunk so powerful that it leaves everyone in shock. The backboard is shattered into pieces. The players cannot hide their terror before such strength. His next stop is the baseball club, where Yusun's batting causes a deafening roar. In the tennis club, he leaves a huge crater on the court, leaving the rivals trembling with fear. Rika crosses another club off her bingo list. It seems her plan is turning out perfectly. Yusun, oblivious to the chaos, asks his classmate how many sports clubs are left to visit. Rika puts on a mischievous smile, enjoying Yusum's curiosity about the data she has gathered. With a dramatic gesture, she pulls out some glasses to give a more intellectual touch to her explanation. Rika shows off her new accessory, ready to answer using her bingo card. Yusun looks at her with sweat drop, a bit confused by Rika's sudden change of attitude. She explains that setting aside the ones that don't have tryouts today, there are still 3 clubs available. She mentions the track and field club, ideal for gaining endurance and concentration while she imagines running. Then she talks about the swimming club, perfect for cardio and a full body workout. And finally, the kendo club, where one can learn etiquette and mental discipline. Rika concludes her perfect explanation, adjusting her glasses with an air of superiority. Yusun appreciates the effort, but wonders where on earth she got those glasses all of a sudden. Rika is radiant and asks him where they want to go now, offering herself as a guide for any place. Yusun remains thoughtful for a few seconds, looking at Rika with a somewhat serious expression. He asks her if, besides modeling, she has also ever worked as a professional actress. Rika blushes all of a sudden, surprised by Yusun's very direct and unexpected question. She timidly admits that she has done work similar to acting, but that she feels embarrassed to talk about it. Yusun gets a bit stuck. He doesn't know exactly what kind of jobs those would be in Japan. His imagination begins to fly toward dangerous places that could violate censorship rules. He convinces himself that it's impossible for one of the heroines to have such a murky past. Even so, he thinks that to properly understand the original story, he should know the background of the characters. Rika notices that Yusun is looking at her weirdly and grabs his arm tightly. To change the subject, she insists on stopping talking about the past and focusing on the 3 clubs left to visit. Yusun decides not to dig any deeper today upon seeing how nervous Rika has become. He doesn't want things to get weird. In the end, they agree to go first to the kendo club, and Rika recovers her usual energy immediately. As they walk down the hallway, the other students watch them pass, wondering what will happen next. A student with blonde hair looks at his phone with surprise, receiving the news that Yusun has arrived. Chin Yusun presents himself at the kendo club with a menacing aura that makes the air turn heavy. The rumors spread rapidly. The students whisper about how Yusun has destroyed several sports clubs already. Even the members of the journalism club are too terrified to try to interview the feared Yusun. Kishimoto Rika, sporting glasses and a professional attitude, introduces herself to everyone as Yusun's official manager. Yusun arrives at the entrance of the dojo, where a deep voice tells him that he has finally made an appearance. The captain walks with determination, criticizing Yusun for using the club tryouts as an excuse to cause chaos. Usun listens in silence, maintaining his cold and determined gaze as he prepares for what is coming. Fuma Yukika, Senior Fuma, the third-year president of the Kendo Club, stands before him with her wooden sword. The students cheer for Yukika, admiring that she is the only one capable of facing Yusun without. Showing a shred of fear, unfazed, Yusun declares that he is only interested in the kendo club and asks them to explain how to join. Yukika defiantly accepts his request, but warns him that his attitude will do him no good in this dojo. She establishes the conditions of the clash, a single-point duel to decide the outcome. With an imposing presence, Yukika invites Yusun to enter the training hall to settle the matter with swords. The news of the duel spreads like wildfire. Everyone wants to see the confrontation between the human weapon and the kendo captain. The students shout with enthusiasm, wishing to see the end of what they consider Yusun's reign of terror. Rika adjusts her glasses and whispers to Yusun that definitely the whole school sees him now as the villain. With a thundering cry of silence, Yukika instantly silences all the racket in the hallway. The crowd is left petrified by the captain's shout, feeling the weight of her authority and discipline. Yukika clarifies with a firm voice that this is a personal duel between her and Yusun, and she will not allow distractions. Her eye shines with a supernatural intensity as she threatens to take care of anyone who tries to interrupt the match. The students draw back in terror, realizing that the kendo captain is not joking at all. Rika observes seriously and comments to Yusun that this captain's vibe is totally different from the previous ones. Yusun nods, focused, knowing that Fuma Yukika is no ordinary opponent and that he must take her seriously. The pressure radiating from Fuma Yukika is no joke. It is as if a giant snake were ready to devour everything. Ken Ji-won asks Rika to wait for him outside, but she prefers to stay far away to avoid getting scolded. They enter the dojo, a place full of kendo equipment, and a tense silence that can be cut with a knife. Yukika asks him if he is sure he doesn't want to use protective gear before starting the duel. Yusun responds that nothing fits him well because of his size, so he will fight just as he is. Yukika decides to do the same for fairness. Don't blame me if you get hurt, Yusun warns as he takes his combat stance. Ayakika is amused by the comment. She relies fully on her years of training. She assures him that he won't be able to touch even a single hair on her head and orders him to be prepared. Begin now. The sound of colliding wooden swords echoes throughout the empty gym. Yukika attacks with incredible speed, forcing Yusun to defend himself as best he can. She admits that he moves well for a simple delinquent from the rumors, but she sentences that being a civilian who goes to the gym is of no use against a true martial artist. Yusun maintains his calm, observing every movement of the captain with attention. Yukika launches a series of rapid strikes, looking for a flaw in her opponent's guard. Suddenly, her eyes light up. She has found a perfect opening to end this. She launches a direct attack, but something does not go according to plan. Yusun's wooden sword goes flying through the air, to everyone's astonishment. He is left disarmed, looking at the weapon rising toward the ceiling. Yukika smiles with satisfaction, thinking it was too easy to deceive him with such a simple feint. It's over, she shouts as she lunges to deliver the finishing blow, but Yusun does not seem scared. In fact, a dark and menacing shadow begins to surround him. Yusun's expression changes completely, showing a smile that makes Yukika's hair stand on end. She remains paralyzed for a second, feeling that the danger has just escalated to another level. Yusun catches the falling sword with one hand, recovering his weapon in midair. Yukika steps back, panting, wondering where that terrifying fighting spirit came from. Yusun wonders if she was underestimating him on purpose to draw him into a counterattack. Yukika recognizes that she underestimated him way too much and that if it goes on like this, she will be the one who ends up in trouble, determined to end this. She invokes the image of the Great Serpent and prepares for her best technique. Secret technique of the evil-crushing clan, she exclaims as she lunges with everything. Yusun simply stands there, receiving the direct impact without even trying to block. A burst of white light covers Yusun's chest when Yukika's sword connects. The blow is so strong that Yusun grunts from the impact, but he does not move even 1 cm. Yukika boasts to him that nobody has survived that attack in her years of training. She celebrates her victory, convinced that Yusun's villainy has come to an end, but suddenly she notices something strange and her triumphant face completely disappears. A shattering sound echoes through the dojo. The force of the impact was repelled. Yukika goes flying backward, without understanding what kind of defense she has just encountered. Her own sword has shattered into pieces upon colliding with Yusun's chest. She cannot believe it. She looks at the remains of her weapon with her eyes wide open, realizing that she did not feel any hidden weapon. Yukika begins to break into a cold sweat, understanding that what broke her technique was pure physical endurance. Yusun stands there with the muscle armor plus 10 skill activated, looking more imposing than ever. The next morning in Class 2B, the rumor that Kin Yusun crushed all the sports clubs spreads like wildfire. Gossip flies through the hallways. They say that Yusun swept through the kendo club and that the captain ended up in the hospital. The students are losing their minds and wonder if this makes Kin Yusun the new #1 rank in the school. Yusun listens to everything from his desk, thinking that he only wanted to try out the clubs and not end up as a monster of strength. Meanwhile, Sakamoto Ryugi acts as if nothing happened, defending Yusun from the exaggerated rumors in front of the others. Yusun believes this is for the best, for Ryugi to remain the protagonist while he lives his life as an extra character. But the peace is short-lived when the classroom door goes flying from a thundering blow. It is Tojo Karen from the Kendo Club, who enters screaming Sakamoto Ryugi's name with evident fury. The entire classroom falls into absolute silence, wondering what the redhead captain is doing there. Ryugi, quite confused, asks her who she is and why she is looking for him that way. Karen confronts him directly, confronting him for messing with her club rookies. He tries to explain that there must be a misunderstanding, but Karen does not seem to care about diplomacy. Yusun and Rika observe the scene from afar, seeing how the school drama levels up in a second. Out of nowhere, Maeguchi steps in the middle to defend Ryugi from the redhead's shouting. Karen, indignant, asks her who the hell she is to interrupt her claim. Mei tells her the truth. Ones from the Kendo Club were the ones who tried to force her into an alley. She clarifies that she was scared to death and that Ryugi was the hero who appeared to rescue her. Mei finishes by telling her that if she understands now, she had better go discipline her own club mates. Karen stands processing the information, realizing that her rookies lied to her blatantly. The atmosphere suddenly changes and Karen's face turns red as a tomato, pointing at Ryuhi. She drops the bombshell, "You're my man." The entire class gasps. She promises that she will make him the happiest man in the world, leaving Ryugi totally speechless and processing it. Mei is left with a poker face, screaming an internal what that echoes throughout the classroom. Mei cannot help but explode and demands to know what the hell she is talking about, that there is no way that is happening. Yusun watches the scene with terror, thinking that the logic of romantic comedies is complete madness. He feels he is witnessing a war between the main heroines and that the environment is suffocating. Rika Kishimoto, on the other hand, is in her element, squealing with excitement over the dramatic turn everything took. Karen leaves all triumphant, leaving the students murmuring about who will be Ryugi's chosen one. The boys in the class begin to debate. Some say that Yaguchi is the best option for being friendly. They even mention that her size is a big point in her favor, while Mei is surrounded by a brilliant aura. Others prefer Karen, comparing her to a guard dog that is just a cute puppy with her boyfriend. Yusu notices that the whole classroom is buzzing over what just happened, ignoring classes completely. Ryugi is still processing the impact of a girl declaring her love to him in front of everyone like that. Rika approaches Yusun and asks him who he thinks Sakamoto will end up staying with in the end. He answers her that he has no idea and that he doesn't care much, but Rika tells him that he is boring. Yusun thinks that if the story follows its original course, the logical thing is that he ends up with his childhood friend. He imagines Rei and Mei getting married in a perfect future surrounded by roses, but Rika has other plans and assures him that she already knows exactly who Sakamoto will go out with. With a wink, she sentences that it will be Tojo Karen who manages to conquer the protagonist's heart. She says that this will only happen if she decides to give her famous romance advice to the redhead. Jusun looks at her with a "what are you saying" face, but she insists that she is an expert on matters of the heart. Rika boasts that people line up to receive her advice, even though Yusun knows she is exaggerating. He reminds her that Karen doesn't even know who she is, but Rika has already gone into professional helper mode and there is no stopping her. Rika stays in her cloud, wishing with all her heart that Captain Tojo approaches her to ask for expert advice. The morning at school continues, but the atmosphere in Yusun's classroom is heavier than usual. Yusun freezes upon entering and seeing Tojo Karen sitting quietly on one of the desks in his classroom. The redhead seems to be waiting for someone with a look that says she won't leave until she gets what she's looking for. Yusun asks his classmate Satoru what she is doing there, and he replies that Karyuin won't stop bothering Sakamoto. It seems Karen wants to invite Ryugi out to eat over the weekend as a supposed apology for the Kendo Club thing. Yusun comments that eating together over the weekend sounds suspiciously like a romantic date. Satoru lowers his voice and asks Yusun if he has heard the rumors about Karen's background. It turns out that Karen in Tojo is nothing more and nothing less than the daughter of the boss of the Danan clan. We are talking about the Yakuza, a massive organization that supposedly controls the entire Kanto region. Yusun lets out a "wow, what a surprise" with his typical straight face, making Satoru feel like he doesn't believe him at all. To Yusun, as long as the girl doesn't mess with him, her being the daughter of a mafia boss matters exactly zero to him. Satoru is so impressed with Yusun's calmness that he even wants to start calling him Hyung, which gives the protagonist a lot of the creeps. Yusun reflects, being in a romantic comedy manga, it's normal for Yakuza's daughter-type characters to appear. It's a classic. Suddenly, Karyuin's shout breaks his thoughts, Sakamoto, reverberating through the classroom as she stands up. Karen corners him, asking him why he still hasn't accepted her invitation for the weekend. Ryugi tries to slip away, but she insists that she has to give him a formal apology. The extra protagonist just watches from afar. Mei Yaguchi appears to her friend's rescue, telling her to stop because she is making Ryugi uncomfortable. On doesn't like the interruption at all and screams at Mei that this is none of her business, making a scene. While the girls fight, the other students cry with envy over Sakamoto's luck. Yusum just wants them to shut up. Tojo Karen's relentless pursuit didn't stop there. She became Ryugi's shadow all over the school. She even went so far as to barge into the men's locker rooms looking for him, frightening everyone who was changing. She has no limits and pursues him right to the entrance of the restrooms, shouting that they have to eat together no matter what. Poor Rei is on the verge of tears, begging her to please give him a break, even if just for a second. Lunchtime arrives and Rika asks Yusun what plans he has for the upcoming Golden Week. Yusun says he has nothing special and that he planned to help out at his family's restaurant. Rika calls him a good son. Rika takes the opportunity to invite him to her house, mentioning that he likes mango a lot. Yusun gets a bit stuck. She assures him that she has tons of them at her house, sparking the interest of the hidden otaku that Yusun carries inside. Rika says her dad's collection is basically a manga cafe and that it's going to blow his mind. The boy is fascinated. They agree to talk when they are free. Yusun is excited about the mangas, but Rika seems to have other intentions. Yusun notices something curious while they eat lunch and stares fixedly at his blonde friend. He tells her that even though she is very thin, Rika eats a truly impressive amount of food. She stops mid-bite. She explains to him that if she doesn't eat a good lunch, she ends up snacking on things all day, and that besides, she is one of those people who don't gain weight easily. Yusun observes how Rika enjoys her hot food while he keeps turning over her metabolism in his mind. Rika drops a killer line. She says that everything she eats goes straight to her chest. Yusun almost chokes. Yusun's face is a poem. He is horrified and confused by the manga physics logic that Rika just dropped. Rika laughs and shouts "pervert" at him, asking him where he is looking. Yusun realizes it was a trap. While Rika mocks him, something catches her attention at the entrance of the school cafeteria. Her expression changes completely. Rika puts on hunter eyes upon seeing that her target has entered the place. It's the moment she was waiting for. It is Tojo Karen. Yusun and Rika are surprised to see her there looking for her usual prey. Rika jumps from her seat, saying it's her big chance to put her romance expert skills into practice. She approaches the redhead with all the confidence in the world and says to her, "Hello, you're Karen Tojo, right?" Karen is left caught off guard. Karen looks with distrust at the girl who just approached her and asks her directly, "Who are you?" Rika introduces herself with a radiant smile and tells her that since she seems to have a lot of trouble, she could help her. Karen freezes. "Kisimoto, you're the famous one," she exclaims, recognizing the name of the supposed expert. The redhead admits she has heard that Rika is a true eminence at giving love advice. Yusun observes the scene with skepticism. Karen, very nervous, asks how she knew she had something on her mind. Rika laughs. "You come to our classroom during every break looking for Sakamoto." Dead with embarrassment, Karen tries to shut Rika up because everyone in the cafeteria is finding out about her feelings. Rika feigns surprise while Karen, blushing, confesses that actually she was thinking of asking her for help. Finally, the tough kendo captain lowers her guard and confirms that what she needs is relationship advice. Yusun sighs upon seeing that Rika is having way more fun than she should with this teenage drama. It's a deal. Rika decides that everyone will meet tomorrow after school for a serious chat. Yusun cannot believe they included him. On the way home, Yusun reflects on how strange this is. In the original manga, Rika and Karen should be rivals, not allies. He decides to stop overanalyzing the plot and concentrate on the only thing that gives him peace, going to the gym to train hard. Upon arriving at the bar and fitness, he is impressed by the level of intensity. Everyone is training as if their lives depended on it. Yusun wonders if there is some special event today when suddenly, a familiar voice calls his name. To his surprise, he finds himself face to face with Fuma Yukika, who sports an impressive athletic figure in her gym clothes. He stands a moment processing the encounter. "You're Fuma," he exclaims, not expecting to see her outside the school environment. Yukika explains that the club activities were not enough for her, and that she had no idea he also trained there. Yusun realizes why all the boys in the gym members are so motivated today. They want to impress the beautiful Yukika. Even the most experienced ones are giving it their all, sweating buckets just because there is a pretty girl nearby. Yusun tells her that she is quite a beauty, which explains the sudden competitive fire of the other customers. Yusun comments that he didn't know she lived around the area, and she replies that she moved very recently. Perfect. Yusun believes this will make things easier, but then a powerful voice interrupts him, calling out to him. Behind, director Nakayama Yujiro appears, a man with a colossal musculature, and orders Ka to show everything to Miss Fuma. Nakayama Yujiro hugs Chin Yusun and jokes that he should feel more comfortable with girls his age than with an old man like him. Kem freezes, not understanding where that sudden comment is coming from. The trainer whispers to Kim that he thinks Fuma Yukika is there because she likes him. Ken remains confused while the girl observes them from afar with a serious look. Nakayama suggests to Kim that, since it is his first day, he should limit himself to observing how things are done. Kem scratches his head, suspecting that his trainer has a totally wrong idea of the situation. The atmosphere in the gym turns serious when Kim stands in front of the weight bar. Nakayama and Yukika observe him closely as he prepares to start. Nakayama proposes starting with something light, about 220 kg to warm up. Yukika is left in shock upon hearing such a figure for a simple start. The trainer assures the girl that she has nothing to worry about, boasting about his 20 years of experience in the sector. However, he admits that he has never seen a monster like Kem. Kem closes his fist tightly over the metal bar, preparing himself mentally for the effort. His grip is firm and determined. He positions himself under the load, flexing his legs to withstand the initial weight. His muscles are already starting to tense up from the pressure. Nakayama observes with a smile of satisfaction, enjoying the spectacle he is about to witness. He relies fully on the brute strength of his student. With a sharp shout, Chin lifts the bar and performs a perfect squat with the 220 kg on top of him. The floor seems to rumble before such a demonstration of power. Yukika cannot close her mouth from the impression, breaking into a cold sweat upon seeing that Ken does not even seem to be making a great effort. She cannot believe what her eyes are seeing. Nakayama decides that that was too easy and orders the weight to be raised to 270 kg. What else does he feel with tranquility while the trainer places the additional discs? After completing 5 entire sets, Kim lets out his breath, trying to regain his heart rate. He holds his arms while Nakayama and Yukika look at him from behind, totally perplexed. Nakayama winks at the girl, reaffirming that Kim is an authentic freak of nature. Yukika, for her part, wonders if what Chin is doing is not simply an extreme form of self-torture. Yukika begins to connect the dots and comes to the conclusion that such a physique is not normal for a second-year student. She's convinced that she is facing a legendary anomaly. The girl identifies Kim's aura as the legendary extreme yang physique, a physical condition of infinite vitality that surrounds him like an invisible flame. Her mind travels to the legends, where it is said that this physique grants the vitality of 100 men. Kem remains lost in his thoughts, while the purple aura envelops him completely. According to the myths, the great heroes of history possess this very same physical constitution. The image of ancient warriors fighting against beasts reinforces the magnitude of Yukika's discovery. Yukika recalls her brief confrontation with him and confirms that such power is not achieved simply by training in a gym. It is something that goes far beyond the human. She decides that it is best to report this finding to that person. Immediately, she keeps staring at Kem with a mixture of respect and caution. Later, the scene changes to the imposing mansion of the Tojo family under a radiant sun. The birds sing around the traditional Japanese property. A Yakuza guard receives Tojo Karen with a bow while she walks accompanied by Kisimoto, Rika, and Kim. Ken notices the menacing aura of the suited men guarding the entrance. Kin wonders internally if Karen's family is really part of the Yakuza and why Rika seems so calm. As someone who just arrived in this world, he feels he will never get used to these things. One of the clan's subordinates freezes upon seeing Kim up close, sweating out of pure terror due to the young man's intense gaze. The guy doesn't even know how to react to such a presence. The guard panics and begins to shout about Kem's size, confusing him with some kind of spy from a rival organization due to his intimidating aura. Kem can only stand there looking with a look of circumstances. The man orders Karen to step back because he considers Kim to be a dangerous guy. Karen, for her part, begins to get annoyed by the exaggerated behavior of her men. Karen explodes and screams at them that they are rude, clarifying that Chin and Rika have come all the way there just to help her. Rika laughs quietly while Chin remains surrounded by a dark aura due to the misunderstanding. Kem gets a bit depressed seeing that his face always scares everyone without him doing anything. He feels out of place amid so much criminal drama. Once inside the kitchen, Karen apologizes to Ken for the out-of-place behavior of her subordinates. It is noticeable that she is embarrassed by her family's reputation in front of her friends. Kem tells her not to worry and scratches the back of his neck, admitting that he is more than used to people misinterpreting him because of his appearance. He takes off his jacket to get down to business. Rika, already with her apron on, announces that it is time to start with the cooking lessons. Ken doubts that he can contribute much regarding relationship advice, but Rick insists that the masculine perspective is exactly what they need. Karen holds an onion nervously, wondering if she will really be able to conquer Sakamoto Ryugi through his stomach. Rika assures her that nothing beats a home-cooked meal to express feelings. Rika proclaims herself as the love expert with a dramatic pose which gives Kim the chills. He wonders if she isn't embarrassed to say those things about herself. Ignoring Kim's skepticism, the girls get motivated and high-five, ready to start the culinary challenge. Karen is determined to give her best. Time passes and the clock strikes 5 in the evening while noises of effort are heard in the kitchen. The bento is almost ready after a lot of work. Karen excitedly shows her first handmade bento, which looks surprisingly good and bright. The pride is visible on her face for having completed the task. Rika congratulates her amidst applause for the good work done. The two celebrate the momentary success of their plan to make Ryugi fall in love. A brief flashback reveals that the process was not that simple. Kin had to warn Karen several times to be careful with the power of the fire while she cooked with too much intensity. The result of that uncontrolled fire was the curry from the underworld, a mass of burnt food from which ghosts seemed to emerge. Karen stood staring at her creation with a face of absolute disappointment. Kem sighs upon seeing that the path was more difficult than expected, realizing that this is how things work in romantic comedies. He crosses his arms, watching the happy girls in the background. Kim admits that smelling all that food has made him hungry and proposes preparing something quick for dinner. Karen and Rika are surprised to hear him take the initiative in the kitchen. With a confident look, Chin tells them to leave dinner in his hands. He's ready to prove that his skill is not limited only to lifting weights in the gym. Kim Yusun moves the pan like a total professional, raising a flame that leaves the girls flipping out. The guy not only knows how to fight, he also has skill in the kitchen. Rika and Karen stand watching in total amazement while Kem sautés the rice. It seems the cooking lesson has switched sides. Ready, that's it, Kem says with all the calm in the world as he serves a plate of fried rice that looks incredible. The girls cannot wait to dig their teeth into it. They taste the first bite and their faces say it all. It's delicious. Karen cannot believe that something so simple tastes so good. Rika asks him where he got that talent from, and Ken remembers that he started cooking in his first year of high school to make his own bentos. He remembers how his mother would get up at dawn to cook for him despite being exhausted from work. Seeing her like that broke his heart. He confesses that at first he was a disaster and very clumsy, but that with practice, he ended up getting the hang of the stoves to ease the burden on his mother. Rika gets super emotional hearing about his mother. It seems to her that Kem is an exemplary son, and piece of bread for being so considerate. Kem returns the question to her, and she responds with pride that her mom prepares everything for her with a lot of love, all very familiar and tender. Suddenly, Rika gets a fright upon remembering that she has a gift for Karen. She almost forgot it because of how delicious the rice was. She pulls out a bag from the cosmetics store and hands it to her, telling her that yesterday she went to buy her the whole aesthetic survival kit she is going to need. Karen receives it gratefully, while Rika explains to her that she has even left her a note with the basic steps to take care of her skin, a total beauty guide. Rika is already planning to go shopping as soon as she masters makeup, but poor Karen panics thinking about spending more money on clothes. Karen remains thoughtful, realizing that perhaps her current style is not the most romantic in the world. The doubt shows on her face. Rika drops it on her without anesthesia that she looks like an old man for wearing the tracksuit over the school uniform. Ken flips out over how direct his friend is. When it comes to fashion, Karen is left defeated by the truth while Chin tries not to laugh. Rika assures her that if she tries hard, she will get that date no matter what. Rika gets pumped up with the transformation mission and orders Kier out. According to her, watching the process is almost a mortal sin for a man. Ken doesn't understand anything, but he has no choice but to sit and wait while Rika drags Kara away to start with the makeup. Karen is still a bit terrified by Rika's momentum, while Kem just sits there, wondering at what point he got into this girl's mess. Poor Kin feels cheated because a while ago they were telling him that his opinion was key, and now they throw him out of the room without consideration. Women are a mystery to him. Night falls and we see the city illuminated under the starry sky. The day has finally ended. Chin and Rika walk back home. He comments that he really hopes things go well for Tojo with her romantic plan. Rick is delighted to have helped. Suddenly, Hu notices something while passing by a store. It seems he saw something he needed to buy. He asks Rika if they can stop for a moment at the convenience store. He needs to grab his weekly manga magazine without fail. Rika tags along head first. Ken grabs the magazine and stares at the cover. It is a sacred ritual for any fan who appreciates themselves. Rika is surprised that he also follows it faithfully. She tells him that her father always says that there are no bad people among those who read manga. A philosophy very much in her style. Ken returns the joke, asking her if she also considers herself a good person for always buying it. She laughs a little at the boy's comeback, but Kem suddenly gets serious and tells her that yes, she is definitely a good person. Rika freezes at the very direct compliment. He adds that anyone who tries so hard for a friend like she has done with Tojo must have a good heart. Kim rows when he wants to be kind. Rika turns red as a tomato, unable to withstand Kim's sincere gaze. The compliment has hit her right in the chest. She gets totally stuck and starts acting super clumsy, while he doesn't understand what all the nervousness is about. Without warning, she shouts that she is getting late and bolts out of the store after paying. She leaves Chin stranded with a face of, "And now, what happened?" Kim turns. He stands watching her walk away at full speed and wonders if she might have suddenly had an emergency. No other explanation comes to mind for such a sudden escape. The next day, we return to the high school. The sky is clear and it looks like it's going to be a great day for the students. In the hallways, a rumor begins to spread about a new girl who is super cute. The guys are losing their minds trying to find out who she is. It turns out that it's Karen, who has ditched the tracksuit and has appeared with her hair done and a much more feminine look. She walks with determination while everyone is left completely transfixed. Nobody can explain where this beautiful girl came from. They wonder if she has always been there, and they simply hadn't taken a proper look. The change is radical. Karen pulls out an envelope with a wax seal, determined to drop the bombshell once and for all. She looks super focused. She plants herself in front of Sakamoto Ryugi and hands him the envelope, telling him that it is a letter of challenge to go somewhere together this weekend. Ryugi is left flipping out at the word challenge. Karen is dying of embarrassment, noticing that everyone is looking at her, but she maintains her composure while Ryugi processes such a direct invitation. Atmosphere is burning hot. We jump to Shibuya, where the group has gathered to finalize the details. The commercial and bustling environment is the perfect stage for what is coming. Rika doesn't stop congratulating Karen on her intense confession from earlier. Karen thanks her and asks Ken that from now on he call her simply by her name, Karen. It's noticeable that there is already more trust. Rika is delighted with her friend's new confidence and asks her to call her simply Rika from now on. It seems that the day of shopping has united them more than ever. Kemusan observes the scene with a sweat drop on his forehead, realizing that he has entered a totally new world for him. The women's clothing section of a department store. He has no reason to be there, but there he is. It all started a while ago after class. Rick insisted that Ken come along too because he was part of the team to help Karen choose the perfect outfit for her date. Kin didn't have much of a choice, truth be told. They enter boutique called Marionette and Rika goes crazy looking at the clothes. "Oh, that outfit is super cute," she screams excitedly while Kemalo can only look at shop windows. Rika grabs Karen by the arm and drags her toward the fitting rooms at full speed. "Come on, let's go try these on," she says with an energy that scares poor Ken a little bit. Hangers and outfits of clothing begin to fly. Rika keeps picking things out without stopping while Karen tries to keep up with her pace, totally overwhelmed by the situation. "Come on, change and put this on," Rika orders, pushing Kara. Kara doesn't even know where the blows are coming from. Karen tries to protest, saying that those cute styles don't suit her at all, but Rika already has the look of a fashion assassin. She tells Ken to wait a second, that now it's her turn to intervene. Inside the fitting room, things get intense. Rika gets to work to adjust Karen's look while the latter begs her to be delicate, that there are sensitive areas. Chin outside doesn't know what to do with himself upon hearing the noises. Kem stays outside the fitting room with a total poker face, wondering what on earth they could be doing inside there for Karen to let out those cries for help. Finally, Karen comes out of the fitting room, but she feels super uncomfortable. She covers her skirt with her hands, complaining that it is too short for her taste. Rika poses proudly with her arms crossed, admiring her work. Kara appears in a modern Lolita-style outfit that makes her look like a totally different person. It's the magic of style. Rika asks Kin what he thinks of the change. He is left impressed and admits that it really looks very good on her. Karen dies of embarrassment upon receiving the compliment. Ken is left thinking that the saying, "clothes make the woman," is totally true. He cannot believe that Tojo has changed so much with just a couple of well-chosen garments. The girl is unrecognizable. We change scene radically to the mansion of the Donksiono family, the home of Karo and Tojo. The atmosphere there is much less cheerful than in the shopping mall. Inside the mansion, we see a meeting of guys who look like they have few friends. In the center, presiding over the table, is a man with glasses who emanates a dangerous authority. He is the 6th president of the organization. It is Tojo Naoto, Karen's father, a serious guy who doesn't seem to be in the mood for jokes, especially when it comes to his daughter. Naoto, known in the underworld as Blood Bat Naoto, murmurs something about his daughter Kare's intention. The man has a scar on his face that gives him an even more terrifying air. Suddenly, Naoto drives a knife into the table with brutal force while saying that his daughter has finally found a boy she likes. The news doesn't seem to have sat well with him at all. The subordinates are petrified. They cannot believe that their young lady has set her eyes on someone. Nara is fuming, thinking about who the insolent guy could be who dares to approach his little girl. "Sento," shouts Naoto, calling his right-hand man. "I am not going to hand over my daughter to just anyone." The guy is determined to investigate this suitor thoroughly. Naoto asked him what the name of that boy was. Sento, adjusting his glasses, confirms that it is a certain Sakamoto. The name is already on the Yakuza boss's blacklist. We see an image of Sakamoto Ryuji on a screen. Sento reports that the boy attends the same private academy as Miss Cabin. The surveillance has begun. Sento keeps reporting on Karen's movements. He mentions that yesterday she herself asked to go to a hair salon for the first time and he himself escorted her. The changes have not gone unnoticed by the organization, but the worst is coming now. New charges have appeared on her credit card statement. All purchases in luxury clothing stores. The evidence is irrefutable. Naoto is about to explode. Based on this, it seems the young lady is planning a date with Sakamoto Ryugi this very weekend, Sento concludes. The tension in the room is unbearable. "Why you damn brat, Sakamoto?" roars Naoto, losing his mind. Completely, his men try to calm him down before he destroys the furniture in the mansion. The man is beside himself with pure fatherly jealousy. With a look of pure hatred, Naoto orders everyone who has free time this weekend to gather. He does not plan to sit idly by while his daughter has a date. The mission is clear. Follow Karen on her date and make sure that this guy Sakamoto doesn't try anything funny. It's a high-level surveillance operation. "Yes, sir," respond the 8 chief executives in unison. Tojo Naoto has mobilized the entire leadership of the Dano to crash his daughter's first date. Poor Sakamoto, he doesn't know what awaits him. Back to reality, we see the sign of a burger restaurant called Delicious Burger. The group of friends has stopped to eat something after so much running around. Rika is dead from exhaustion. She drops onto the table, complaining that she doesn't have the strength left even to chew after the whole day advising Karen. Shopping. Hazardous sport. Despite her complaints, Chin notices that Rika is wolfing down the French fries without any problem. "It seems you are eating perfectly well," Kin drops on her with his usual dry tone. She can only eat in silence. Karen thanks Rika from the bottom of her heart for everything she has done today. Rika, with her mouth full of hamburger, tells her that it's nothing, that's what friends are for. How nice she is when she isn't insulting people's clothes. Rika admits that she also had a blast going shopping. Karen smiles timidly, grateful that her friend is always there to lend a hand. They look very close. At this moment, we see a close-up of Karen's eyes, which now have a different shine. The confidence that the change of look has given her is starting to show. She no longer looks like the frightened delinquent from before. Karen worries about Emai and asks him if a single hamburger is enough for someone of his size. She offers to pay for everything he wants to eat as a thank you. Kim, with the hamburger in his hand, is left a bit surprised, who tells her that it's fine, that he already had a heavy lunch. Furthermore, he confesses that he prefers rice over the bread of hamburgers. Karen insists that he let her treat him to something else and stays hungry. She is very attentive while she bites her hamburger. Chin reflects on Karen. He thought she was a total delinquent due to her initial appearance, but now that he knows her better, he realizes that she is a very detailed and kind girl. One shouldn't judge anyone by the cover. Karen notices that Kem keeps staring at her and gets nervous. She asks him if she has something on her face, maybe a little bit of ketchup. Ken plays along with the joke, making the poor girl rub her face in distress. What a teasing he has given her. Now calmer, they keep eating and chatting. Ken asks Karen if she already has the route planned for her date tomorrow. He doesn't want anything to fail on the big day. Karen explains her plan. Master, first they would go to a cafe to have a drink, then to the cinema, and finally to dinner. Isn't that how it's done? She asks with a bit of doubt. She has it all very well organized, at least in theory. The weekend promises to be epic. Rika shouts too naive, with all her energy, leaving Karen and Kem a bit caught off guard with her sudden burst of passion for romance. According to Rika, you cannot conquer someone's heart by doing the same thing as everyone else. That's why she proposes changing the cinema for a much more special and visually striking plan. Rika excitedly shows her phone with the new plan: an aquarium. Karen is petrified. She didn't expect such a radical change of plans at this stage. Rika already imagines herself in the aquarium, describing with emotion the shimmering waves, the colorful fish, and the coral reefs dancing in peace under the water. And best of all, the dim lighting and the low-voiced conversations, while the feelings between the two keep growing. Rika is an hopeless romantic when she sets her mind to it. Rika asks Karen if she trusts her full romance expert. Karen accepts the aquarium plan with delight, while Chin Yusun suffers in silence because of his friend's ideas. The sun begins to set over the city's horizon, marking the end of a very productive afternoon of shopping and plans. Ken says goodbye to Karen, congratulating her on today's effort and wishing her a lot of luck for tomorrow's big day. It seems that after all, he has grown fond of the group. Karen walks away across the plaza, thanking them both for all their help and wishing them to arrive safe and sound at their homes. She already has everything she needs. Rika and Ken stand watching her as she leaves, waving their hands and processing everything that has happened in the last few hours. Suddenly, Rika asks Ken what plans he has for tomorrow. He, faithful to his lonely style, says that he will probably stay at home resting and reading manga. Then come with me to watch over Karen. Rika drops on him with a smile from ear to ear. Who is left horrified? Is it that? Perchance he doesn't have the right to enjoy his weekend in peace. Rick insists that once comrades, always comrades, and that they must ensure Karen's happiness. Kem ends up accepting reluctantly, wondering if his friend is a very good person or simply a professional busybody. High five. The dynamic duo formed by Kisimoto Rika and Chin Yusun is officially constituted for tomorrow's surveillance mission. Rika is euphoric. The weekend arrives and the city wakes up. Clear sky, the buildings shine with the morning light, foreshadowing a day full of emotions. The people on the street stop and murmur with worried faces upon seeing a group of very intimidating men walking through the area. The atmosphere has turned tense all of a sudden. It is Tojo Naoto, who arrives at the date spot with an icy gaze behind his sunglasses. A mother asks her son not to stand staring at that dangerous-looking gentleman. Naoto observes the building in front of him, knowing that it is their wear. His beloved daughter will have her first romantic encounter. The Yakuza boss doesn't plan to let anything escape his hands. We change to the meeting point where the sun shines brightly. The moment of truth has arrived for Karen and Sakamoto. Ryugi arrives running and calls out to Karen, who is already there waiting for him. Upon seeing her with her new clothes and her hair up, Ryugi is left completely shocked. Ryugi apologizes, panting, for being late and asks her if she has been waiting for a long time. He can't help but blush when he sees how good his friend looks. Karen, with a sweet and calm smile, reassures him not to worry that she has also just arrived. The transformation from delinquent to cute girl is absolute. Ryugi is left speechless for a few seconds, simply taking her in from head to toe. He can't believe she's the same Tojo as always. The change has left him completely thrown off. You look really incredible in those clothes, Ryugi manages to say, finally. Karen blushes instantly and her heart begins to beat wildly. The date has just started and it couldn't be going any better. Tojo Karen thanks Sakamoto for the gesture, still a bit shy about the situation. Sakamoto walks along very relaxed while she proposes going to grab a drink to properly plan the rest of the day. He offers to carry her bag so she can be more comfortable, acting like a total gentleman. From their hiding spot, Kin Yusun and Kishimoto watch every single move. She is convinced that their disguises are perfect. Suddenly they have to take off running so they don't lose their track among the crowd. The young couple arrives at a cafe without suspecting that Chairman Naoto and Sento are also following them in the most ridiculous wigs. Chairman Naoto is practically fuming, furious at what he's seeing. He is absolutely outraged because they made his daughter wait for 5 minutes. Sento does what he can to keep him from losing it. Sento warns him that people are already looking at them with unfriendly faces because of how suspicious they look. Since there are 9 people in total, he suggests splitting into pairs to go a bit more unnoticed. Naoto reluctantly accepts and orders his men to move according to the plan. They enter the establishment, which looks every bit like a dessert paradise. The star of the place is this giant strawberry parfait that looks incredible. Sakamoto and Karen waste no time and start taking pictures of it, while Yusun and Kishimoto watch from the next table. Karen jokes with Sakamoto, asking him if he's really going to be able to finish that dessert all by himself. Kishimoto starts to notice that the atmosphere in the cafe is getting a bit heavy, and for good reason, because a couple of guys who look like they have very few friends walk right past them. Yusun realizes that something doesn't smell right and suspects those guys are connected to the Tojo clan. Then he sees a guy with a red wig who looks exactly like Karen's father. He tries not to overthink it and mentions to Kishimoto that the aquarium also has dolphins. The other two finish their dessert and agree that seeing the dolphins is the next step of the date. Karen is super excited about the idea. You can see it all over her face. Yusun, for his part, is mentally exhausted from so much drama and espionage. He knows the rest of the day is going to be a nightmare with so many Yakuzas lurking around every corner. They move toward Shibuya Station just as they announce that the train is about to leave. They manage to get on, but the car is so packed that there is barely any room to move. Yusun puts his arm against the door to protect Kishimoto and keep the sea of people from crushing her. They're shoving everywhere and she is incredibly nervous to have him so close. Kishimoto tries to control her heartbeat as she realizes just how close she is to him in the middle of the chaos. He looks at her and notices she is a bit spaced out, wondering what's wrong with her. Yusun tells her to hang in there for a bit, that they're almost at their destination. She can barely answer. As soon as the doors open, the crowd rushes out and Kishimoto lets out a little gasp from the scare. Without a second thought, Yusun grabs her hand firmly so she doesn't get lost in the crowd, dragging her out of the car and guiding her along the right path so they don't lose the track. They finally exit Ikebukuro Station and the sun hits them right in the face. They manage to get out unscathed, though they are still walking hand in hand without realizing it. She discreetly asks him to let her go, and Yusun reacts instantly. He apologizes immediately, realizing that maybe he gripped her too tightly. Kishimoto, red as a tomato, tells him that next time he should try to be a bit gentler. Yusun is left processing that next time part with a face of total confusion. To make matters worse, they get stuck at a traffic light and watch as the other two cross the street without them. Kishimoto panics upon losing sight of them, but Yusun decides the best thing to do is go straight to the aquarium. Yusun is left flipping out at the sheer amount of people on the street, while Naoto and Sento argue over not having brought the car. Sento tries to smooth things over, saying he never thought that on a weekend morning everything would be this crowded. Yusun instantly recognizes the men he saw at Karen's mansion and puts his guard up. He adjusts his hood, knowing that if they recognize him, the whole surveillance plan goes down the drain. Naoto, with his red wig, spots someone suspicious in the crowd. Sento quickly identifies Yusun and Kishimoto, the friends of young Karen. He remembers that just a few days ago they were at the mansion helping her with the preparations for the date. Naoto thinks they are probably there because they are worried about their friend, although for a moment he suspected they were hitmen. They decide the smartest thing to do is follow them, since they have lost the track of Karen and Sakamoto. The Yakuza group sets off, determined not to let their unwitting informants escape. Meanwhile, Karen and Sakamoto finally arrive at the Ikebukuro Aquarium, ready for their date. He invites her in with a smile, while in the background a couple of sketchy-looking guys can be seen. One of the thugs freezes upon recognizing Sakamoto entering the venue. His companion asks him what bug crawled up his sleeve to make him look so serious all of a sudden. Turns out they're former members of the kendo club whom Sakamoto expelled, and they have no intention of letting the insult slide. With a murderous look, they swear that this time they're going to get their revenge, and that Sakamoto won't get off easy. Yusun and Kishimoto manage to get inside the aquarium too, keeping a safe distance. Even though the lighting is low, it's clear the other two are having the time of their lives. Yusun watches closely, realizing that everything is going perfectly smooth for the couple. Karen doesn't stop smiling, looking much more relaxed than at the beginning of the day. Kishimoto wonders if they really need to keep standing guard here if everything is going so well. Shortly after, they all end up in Minami Ikebukuro Park to rest for a while. Yusun pulls out a bento that looks spectacular, with carefully prepared gimbap and sushi. Kishimoto is left flipping out and tells him it's incredible, while he insists that they need energy to keep up the surveillance. She starts eating happily, enjoying every single bite. In the distance, they see that Karen and Sakamoto have also settled on the grass for their picnic. Karen pulls out her own bento, but suddenly gets incredibly nervous. Yusun explains that it's normal for her to be like that, since it's the first time she's cooking for someone she likes. We see a flashback where Karen asks Yusun for advice over chat, so the bento turns out perfect. The poor girl spent 3 days and 3 nights practicing non-stop. Sakamoto opens the box and is left impressed by how good everything looks. She tells him to eat as much as he wants, that she made plenty of food. Sakamoto takes the first bite of a rice ball while Karen watches him, holding her breath. He sits savoring it for a moment with an expression of total surprise. Karen screams with joy when she sees that he liked it, feeling that all the effort was completely worth it. Then she gets bold and offers him some fried chicken directly with her chopsticks. Sakamoto is left completely blank by such an intimate gesture, not quite knowing how to react. Karen turns red as a tomato upon realizing what she just did, but she doesn't pull her hand back. In the end, he accepts the bite and confirms that it's delicious, which makes her immensely happy. Sakamoto, wanting to return the favor, also offers food to her, asking her to say, "Ah." Meanwhile, Yusun and Kishimoto eat their bento in peace, enjoying the show from afar. Karen ends up accepting Sakamoto's bite, sealing a truly romantic moment in the park. Sakamoto asks Tojo what she thought of the bento she made herself, sporting a grin from ear to ear. Tojo turns red as a tomato and admits that it is indeed delicious. Kishimoto points out how well things are going, but Yusun has a feeling that this is going way too well according to the original story template. Kishimoto confesses that she also dreams of a date like this someday, catching Yusun completely by surprise. Yusun looks at her suspiciously and asks her if she didn't call herself an expert in love matters. She proudly admits that she only knows about romance from what she has read in manga, leaving Yusun utterly stunned. While they pack up, Yusun sighs exhaustedly and decides they must keep watching, ignoring Kishimoto's complaints. Kishimoto gets indignant because Yusun isn't paying any attention to her and starts yelling at him in the middle of the park. Seeing his friends walking together so happily, Yusun lets out a genuine smile. The couple continues their stroll under the sun, unsuspecting that they are being followed very closely. Yusun and Kishimoto hide behind a tree, waiting for Tojo's long-awaited confession to finally happen. However, Yusun's expression changes radically when he notices something strange in the air. On the ground lies the wrapped gift that Tojo was carrying, suggesting that something violent has occurred. The lookouts discover with horror that two guys are accosting their friends right in the middle of the path. The two punks laugh at Sakamoto, contemptuously calling him a pretty boy after having searched for hours. Sakamoto freezes when he sees them, while Tojo looks at them with a mix of fear and anger. The surprise of Yusun and Kishimoto is absolute when they see who has interrupted the date. The guys accuse Sakamoto of being a womanizer for being with a different girl today than the one he defended yesterday. Kishimoto panics and wants to call the police, but Yusun tells her they would take too long. The attackers threaten to send him to the hospital for an entire month, while Sakamoto tries to process the situation. Yusun observes the guys from afar and realizes exactly who they are. They are the first-years who were expelled from the kendo club after trying to assault a girl and getting beaten by Sakamoto. The guys complain about being expelled and not being able to see their captain anymore, blaming everything on Sakamoto. Tojo explodes with rage and yells at them that they are complete idiots for their behavior. She points at them firmly, throwing it in their faces that their attitude is precisely what got them thrown out on the street. Taking a good look at her, the thugs freeze upon recognizing Tojo-senpai under all that makeup. They start mocking her, saying she looks like a fraud and laughing at her attempt to go on a date. The tone of the insults escalates, mocking her usual appearance with the bamboo sword compared to her current look. Sakamoto loses his patience and demands that they shut up, defending Tojo from their humiliations. Then a massive guy appears behind the two thugs, claiming that they didn't come alone today. The two guys joyfully celebrate the arrival of their protector, whom they call Big Brother. The giant Ashi stares at Sakamoto, asking him if he's the one who dared to beat up his subordinates. They boast that Ashi used to be a professional boxer and that only a bar fight kept him away from the ring. Sakamoto orders Tojo to get out of there, assuming the problem is only with him, but she refuses. Ashi laughs at his nobility and gives them a look loaded with malice before attacking. With surprising speed, the boxer firmly grabs Tojo's arm before anyone can react. The thug violently pulls her toward him, mocking Sakamoto and suggesting to her that she should have fun with a real man. Sakamoto shouts Tojo's name as he watches her being taken away, feeling an uncontrollable fury. Suddenly, Ashi delivers a devastating punch to Sakamoto that leaves him doubled over in pain. Yusun, seeing the gravity of the situation, tells Kishimoto to wait. There, as his gaze turns dark, Tojo tries to break free from Ashi's grip while screaming Sakamoto's name, desperate over the beating he is taking. The thug mocks Sakamoto's weakness and proclaims that he's taking his girl while laughing cruelly. He tells the girl not to worry, that he'll take very good care of her, without realizing that a massive shadow has stopped right behind him. The blonde guy senses the bad vibe and turns around, finding himself face to face with Yusun. Peace looking at him with a frightening seriousness without saying a word. Yusun catches his wrist with brutal strength, causing Ashi to let out a cry of pain. The thug goes flying backward from the blow while his companions freeze, screaming for their boss. Yusun warns him with a cold voice that he is not going to repeat himself, that he better not think about touching his friend again. He orders him to get his filthy hands off them right now if he doesn't want real trouble. Ashi is on the ground, sweating cold and not understanding this guy came from or how it is possible that he is so strong. Trying not to look like a coward, he insults him, saying he only got lucky because he caught him off guard. However, seeing Yusun's physique up close, the thug begins to waver, wondering what kind of monstrous training he must have done to look like that. He tries to convince himself that Yusun is just a civilian with a good body, who knows a couple of tricks and nothing more. Nearby, Boss Naoto and his people see everything from their hiding spot. Sento asks him if they are really going to let things keep going like this, but Naoto cannot even speak. He is sweating buckets and doesn't take his eyes off the boy in the hood. Just a few minutes ago, Naoto's entire crew was looking for Karen through the park like crazy. Sento finally finds them and alerts the boss that he has located the couple. They see the exact moment when Ashi has a hold of Tojo, who is trying to break free while screaming at that idiot. The blood rushes to Naoto's head, and he's about to jump in to defend his daughter when he notices something strange. His men want to draw their weapons once and for all, but the boss asks them to wait, that it isn't necessary to get involved in a kid's fight. In reality, he stood hypnotized looking at Yusun, who is starting to release a pretty heavy vibe. Naoto notices the purple aura surrounding the boy, and his hair stands on end. His hand begins to shake uncontrollably because he recognizes that sensation of imminent danger. That pressure in his chest, he had felt it before and knows perfectly well who it is. He remembers Ivan, the boss of the Russian mafia, nicknamed the God of Destruction, a guy who was terror personified. Nyato recalls when he crossed paths with him face to face in Japan and how his basic survival instinct told him to run for his life. It is the purest fear that exists, the kind you only feel when you have an absolute predator in front of you who could wipe you off the map in a second. The Tojo leader watches from the shadows, completely shocked. He cannot believe that a simple student like Chin Yusun emanates the same terrifying aura as Ivan, a legend of the underworld. Yusun decides that enough is enough with trying to be an extra. As for not interfering with the original story, he no longer cares about any of that. With a firm step, the black-haired young man steps forward. He says that from now on he is going to take care of throwing out the trash in front of him. He stops in front of the criminals and gives a clear order to Tojo, telling her to take Sakamoto and get out of there while he handles it. Tojo, her face full of worry, can barely articulate a word while she tries to help a fairly badly injured Sakamoto. Ashi, the leader of the thugs, explodes with rage. He cannot stand a random guy ignoring him and treating him as if he weren't a threat. The blonde launches himself into the attack with everything he has, moving fast to connect the first blow. A flurry of punches impacts directly on Yusun's face and body, generating flashes from the force of the collision. The lackeys celebrate from behind, admiring their boss's speed. To them, Ayashi's fists are just an impossible-to-follow blur. The criminal laughs confidently, believing he already won. He mocks Yusun, telling him that he wasn't even able to dodge his attacks. Suddenly, cold sweat begins to run down Ayashi's face. Something doesn't add up in his opponent's reaction. Yusun is still standing there, impassive. He took every single one of the blows without even blinking, showing a resistance that seems out of this world. Desperate, the blonde tries one last blow with all his strength, screaming for him to taste this. The fist impacts again with a crash, but Yusun's head barely moves from the impact. Kishimoto Rika observes the scene from afar, covering her mouth in horror upon seeing the brutality of the confrontation. Tojo also screams her friend's name, fearing the worst is about to happen in the middle of that chaos. The atmosphere grows heavy. Ashi steps back, terrified by the icy, empty gaze. The protagonist returns, with a terrifying calm. Yusun warns him that from this moment on, what follows is legitimate self-defense. The thug understands nothing and only manages to let out a confused stammer before seeing the counterattack coming. Yusun throws a devastating punch loaded with all his power, breaking the air with the movement. The blow connects cleanly right on Ayashi's face. While sending him flying, Yusun calmly explains that the legal limit for self-defense is a single blow. The leader of the criminals goes flying through the air before the screams of terror of his own subordinates, who cannot believe what they are seeing. The black-haired youth wipes a bit of blood from his face. He comments that using more force than necessary would be excessive, which is why he put everything into that single impact. The lackeys are petrified with fear seeing their boss unconscious and with his face deformed by the blow. With a gaze that promises nightmares, Yusun warns them that he hopes they are ready for having dared to touch his friends. The guys try to threaten him, saying their father is a high-ranking officer, but to Yusun it seems like the most cliché and boring threat from a mediocre villain. Without wasting time, he grabs one of the criminals by the head, ready to correct that rotten attitude they have. Screams of agony echo through the park. The guys beg for their lives and ask for forgiveness while Yusun teaches them a lesson they won't forget. Finally, he throws them to the ground like old trash, making it clear who rules in that place. The criminals end up on their knees, trembling and crying, while they beg the black-haired youth to please spare their lives. In a dry tone, he orders them to get lost and never dare show their faces in front of Tojo or Sakamoto again. The thugs flee terrified. Rika immediately runs toward her friend, screaming his name in desperation. The blonde is hysterical, seeing that Yusun's forehead won't stop bleeding from the blows he received earlier. He tries to downplay it, saying a bit of spit fixes it, but Rika is already on fire with pure fury and orders him to go to a pharmacy right now. Yusun stays silent, raising his hands in a sign of surrender. He had never seen his friend so angry and decides not to cross her. The sun begins to set, tinting the sky orange as the two friends walk away to look for medical help. A while later, Sakamoto and Tojo are left alone on the park bench, wrapped in an uncomfortable silence. Kishimoto, Rika, and Yusun watch from a prudent distance. She notices that the vibe between the couple is quite tense and loaded with emotion. Tojo lowers her gaze, feeling guilty. She apologizes to Sakamoto because he ended up hurt because of her. The blonde, with a soft expression, tells her not to apologize. He is the one who is sorry, since those guys were looking for him over past grudges. The redhead takes a breath and calls him softly by his name, preparing herself for what seems to be an imminent confession. Tojo swallows hard, her face completely flushed with nerves as she prepares to speak. Tojo gathers her courage and drops the bombshell. She confesses her feelings to Sakamoto directly. Sakamoto freezes, completely surprised by his friend's unexpected confession. Nearby, Kin Yusun and Kishimoto Rika watch the scene with their nerves on edge, waiting for the answer. Tojo reinforces her declaration, formally asking him to go out with her with all the hope in the world in her eyes. The redhead insists, begging for a chance while the silence becomes eternal. The blonde lowers his gaze, visibly uncomfortable and hesitant about what to say so as not to hurt her. Sakamoto sighs and breaks the silence with an apology. He cannot give her the answer she is waiting for. Tojo panics and starts saying that she can change, that if it's because of her tomboy attitude, she will do whatever it takes. He stops her, assuring her that it's not that and that she is an incredible girl, but that he has his personal reasons. Sakamoto reveals that he made a marriage promise to a girl when they were kids, and that he still hopes to see her. Again, he finishes sinking the ship by saying he doesn't want to date anyone else out of respect for that promise from the past. Tojo is left speechless, feeling her heart break into 1,000 pieces. Right there, with a trembling voice, she asks him if he still likes that girl that much after so many years. Sakamoto confesses that, although he doesn't know what he feels now, he remembers loving her very much and cried bitterly when she moved away. Tojo murmurs that she understands, realizing that that girl was his first great love. Trying to maintain her composure, she stands up abruptly and says that if there is no interest, she will give up cleanly. She even fakes a smile and tells him they will see each other at school, thanking him for the day they spent together. Sakamoto only manages to wave goodbye, feeling terrible about how things ended. As soon as she walks away a bit, the redhead bursts into tears and runs desperately out of the park. Yusun reacts immediately and asks Rika to go home alone because he has to go. How Tojo is doing. Rika is left confused seeing the black-haired youth shoot off after his friend without hesitating for a single second. She sighs alone, a bit surprised by her companion's sudden change of attitude. Yusun runs at full speed through the streets, wondering why Sakamoto had to get so gloomy over that promise. He arrives at the bus stop and finds Tojo sitting alone and completely buried in her sadness. He approaches slowly, noticing how the girl's shoulders shake from the stifled crying. Yusun stands in front of her and asks her gently if she is okay. Tojo looks up with her eyes full of tears, unable to hide her pain any longer. With a sigh, she admits that obviously she is not okay at all after what just happened. Yusun offers her a tissue and tells her to wipe her nose, trying to comfort her in his rough but sincere way. He ends up helping her blow her nose, causing a comical noise that breaks the tension of the moment a bit. Tojo confesses that she had never let anyone see her cry like that and feels quite embarrassed. Yusun reassures her that it's fine, that's what friends are for, leaving the redhead thoughtful at that word. Suddenly, she lets out that she already knew he and Rika were following her during her entire date. Yusun turns pale with nerves. He cannot believe they broke the golden rule of romantic comedies of not getting caught spying. Tojo smiles sadly, thanking them for caring so much about her to watch over her all day. She apologizes for having failed after all the advice they gave her to win over the blonde. With her heart in her hand, she admits she was wrong to think that by changing her way of being she could earn a place in Sakamoto's heart. She squeezes her chest tightly, saying it hurts immensely to know there was never any room for her in his life. Tojo confesses that she had never felt this way in her entire life, experienced totally new emotional pain. She begins to scream desperately that she really loved him, letting out all the anguish she had kept bottled up. Seeing her suffer in such a genuine way, Yusun has an epiphany and begins to see her as someone real. He realizes that she is no longer just a manga character, but a person with true feelings and a pain that cannot be ignored. Yusun's mind keeps spinning. Tojo no longer seems like a simple drawing to him, but a person of flesh and blood with deep feelings. He remembers how before he would put an invisible barrier between himself and others, viewing them only as simple characters in a manga without a real life behind them. Seeing Tojo cry with such bitterness over the rejection, he wonders how he could be so cold and view her only as an element of a story. Yusun interrupts his thoughts and asks Tojo to stand up, breaking the girl's moment of sadness. In a serious tone, he warns her that if she keeps screaming like that in a public place, someone will end up calling the police for disturbing the chair. Tojo stays quiet and stares at him, processing the black-haired boy's direct and unexpected comment. Suddenly, the tension breaks and a small laugh escapes Tojo's lips upon seeing her friend's attitude. Yusun tells her that that smile suits her much better than crying, encouraging her to keep up that positive attitude. Without another word, Yusun begins to take off his hoodie before the astonished and confused gaze of the redhead. He hands her the garment and announces that they are going to karaoke lounge, leaving Tojo wondering what he's planning now. He explains that he needs to go to a private place where she can vent all the rage and frustration she has built up. He pulls the hood over her head firmly and tells her that screaming at karaoke is the best way to accept that Sakamoto has rejected her. Yusun turns around and begins to walk away while Tojo runs after him, shouting his name so he won't leave her behind. She thinks about how unpredictable Yusun is, but she cannot help but feel grateful for his support in this difficult moment. Yusun quickens his pace, convinced that his direct approach is exactly what she needs to get over the emotional hump. Tojo follows him with a renewed smile, feeling much lighter after having let go of some of her pain. Yusun internally concludes that they are not drawings, but real people who feel and suffer exactly like him. In the distance, Tojo Nayato's subordinates watch the scene deeply moved, wiping away their tears with tissues. One of them comments that Chin Yusun is truly a good boy and is glad that their young mistress has such a support system. Tojo Nayato himself, hidden behind his sunglasses, flashes a mysterious smile as he approves of the young man's attitude. Nayato thinks that in such a harsh world, finding someone with such a genuine heart is extremely rare. The Yakuza leader murmurs to himself that perhaps if it's Yusun, his daughter's future might turn out differently. With a look of silent respect, Nayato hopes to meet the young man who has impressed him so much again soon. At the karaoke lounge, Tojo sings with volcanic energy while forcing an exhausted Yusun to cheer her on with the tambourine. Tojo loudly demands that he sing with more enthusiasm, while he wonders if this girl will ever run out of battery. Elsewhere, Kishimoto Rika looks at her phone with concern, realizing she hasn't heard from them in hours. Sometime later, Rika exclaims in surprise upon entering a room that seems to have left her speechless. It is Yusun's room, and she cannot believe it is so packed with gym equipment and weights everywhere. Rika asks out of curiosity if all boys' rooms look like a professional training center. Yusun sighs and tells her not to generalize, while Rika approaches to look at some heavy dumbbells on the floor. The girl tries to lift one of the weights with all her might, but gives up immediately upon seeing that it is impossible for her. He explains that the weight is too much for her, while recalling how they ended up together at his house. The story goes back to the end of class when they were walking together toward the station as they usually did. The silence was broken loudly when Rika's stomach let out a roar that was heard all over the street. Yusun teased her a bit, asking if she was so hungry that her guts sounded like thunder. In the end, he offered to go eat something at the restaurant his family runs to satisfy her voracious appetite. Rika accepted with a smile, and he thought that treating her to a homemade meal would be a nice gesture after everything that had happened. They walked toward the family establishment, a traditional and cozy place that promised a delicious meal. Rika didn't waste a single second and began to savor the first bite with an expression of pure happiness on her face. She devoured the dishes so quickly that Yusun had to ask her to eat more slowly so she wouldn't choke. When she finished, Rika let out a great sigh of satisfaction, feeling that she had never eaten anything so good in her life. With overflowing joy, she thanked Yusun's mother for the feast, while the woman smiled, delighted to see her enjoying it so much. Rika thanks them with a big smile for the hospitality of Yusun's family, while his mother invites her to eat as much as she wants. Yusun observes the scene in amazement, thinking he never imagined Rika would like his family's traditional food so much, nor that his mother would accept her so quickly. Suddenly, Rika slaps him on the back and enthusiastically tells him it's time to go to his room, causing Yusun to almost choke on his water. Completely in shock, Yusun asks her where she plans to go so suddenly, unable to process the girl's direct invitation. Rika, with a playful wink, replies that it's obvious she wants to see what her friend's room looks like from the inside. Yusun walks toward his room with the drinks, internally regretting having underestimated Rika's audacity in asking to enter his personal space. Upon entering, Yusun tries to keep his calm and offers her something to drink while she already begins to nose around his things. Rika finds a manga and asks him with a laugh if he really likes those kinds of romance stories, which deeply embarrasses Yusun. He tries to explain that it's research material to better understand the world he is in, but he knows Rika won't listen. She jokes, calling him a closet pervert, though she later admits she knows he prefers action and adventure manga. Rika stops in front of a specific collection called *Golden Samurai and asks with genuine interest if he likes that series. Yusun gets excited immediately, affirming that it is his favorite series of all time. While Rika looks at him with bright eyes, he tells her that he even owns the first editions, which are extremely difficult to get nowadays. With overflowing passion, Yusun begins to praise the artistic style and the impactful ending of the work, considering it a true masterpiece. Rika listens to him with a sweet smile, seeing how her friend goes all out explaining every psychological detail of the characters. He keeps talking without stopping about the depth of the story, while Rika comments that she had never met anyone who loved her father's work so much. Rika laughs and confesses to him that her dad is precisely the author of *Golden Samurai*, leaving Yusun completely petrified. She is surprised that he didn't know, mentioning quite naturally that her father is a famous manga artist. Yusun panics upon realizing that Rika is the daughter of Musashi Kishimoto, whom he considers the god of manga. He begins to connect the dots, the last name, the blonde hair, and the foreign features. Everything fits perfectly with the description of the author's family. Yusun feels like he's inside a manga cliché, where the classmate turns out to have famous parents and wonders how he didn't notice sooner. He realizes he has plans to go to Rika's house during Golden Week, which means he will meet his idol in person. Shouting her name out of excitement, Yusun begs her to get him an autograph from her father when they go visit him. Rika gladly accepts, while Yusun cries tears of happiness, feeling like the luckiest fan in the world to be so close to his great hero. In the library, Kim Yusun is talking to Kishimoto Rika about the author of his favorite manga. Rika has a doubt. With so many hits that the author has, why is Golden Samurai also Yusun's favorite? He stays thinking for a moment and says there is no deep reason, he has just been liking it more lately. But Rika isn't even listening to him anymore. She is in her own world talking about how cool Volume 5 is. That manga is about a samurai who always looks after his friends, a true action hero. Though of course the image Yusun projects is more like that of a thug who threatens you if you look sideways at his acquaintances, a violent guy capable of knocking anyone out with a single blow if he sets his mind to it. But for Rika, he is someone reliable and kind, exactly like the protagonist of her favorite story. She hugs the volume excitedly, comparing her friend to the manga samurai. The next day at school, things get busy. They call Yusun to the student council room, and he already knows nothing good comes from there. The president, Sayuri Tsukimiko, drops it on him right away that she is going to need his help during Golden Week. It turns out they are coordinating a visit with a school from Russia and need to organize everything. She wants to give them a memorable gift and is basically ordering him to help her choose it. As soon as he accepts, Kumiko's face lights up with excitement. He checks his calendar on his phone, and they arrange to meet on the 29th, which is when the break starts. The president laughs behind her fan, saying she won't forgive him if he tries to cancel at the last minute and dismisses him quickly. Meanwhile, the other students are already gossiping about whether that is a date or what. Yusun sighs, thinking that now he has to notify Rika to change their plans for the next day. Back in room 2B, the atmosphere is strangely relaxed. A classmate tells him the latest news. The duo of first-year delinquents finally disappeared. It seems they requested a transfer this very day. Nobody knows why, but the relief is general. Yusun only smiles. He knows those guys got what they deserved and won't bother his friends anymore. He sits in his place for English class, thinking that he will finally have some peace, but then a new face appears in the classroom with a very radiant smile. She introduces herself as Misuki Nanny, the new English teacher, and asks everyone to open their books. The lesson starts with some basic comparison questions. Yusun has to wake up Rika, who is already falling asleep on her desk. Professor Nanny checks the roster, and since today is the 24th, decides to call the corresponding number. Yusun tenses up because that is his number, and the teacher gets nervous upon seeing him. In the end, she chickens out a bit and asks the person sitting behind him to read instead. Yusun stands up with all the calm in the world to fulfill the task. He begins to read the text about a certain James from England with impeccable pronunciation. The whole classroom falls silent. They didn't expect the bad boy to speak English better than a native. Nanny, surprised, asks him to answer a question about the text to see if he truly understands. He answers without hesitation, recommending Osaka and explaining why it is a good place for tourists. The teacher is sweating cold. The rumors that he is an elite heir seem to be confirmed by that intellect. She tells him his answer was perfect while the whole class begins to applaud. Yusun notices she is acting very strange, but Rika is too busy admiring his English. Nanny tries to continue with the class, but it's clear she is super intimidated by her students' presence. He just maintains his serious expression, wondering why everyone reacts like that over something so simple. The teacher continues stammering with the translation of the next paragraph, totally out of place. Yusun notices immediately. Professor Misuki is terrified of him. She tries to focus on the blackboard, but fear won't leave her in peace. He knows there are ridiculous rumors about him, like that he is a yakuza or that he beat up an entire gang. What he didn't expect was for an adult to feel so intimidated by his simple presence. Yusun decides to act as normally as possible so as not to make things worse. Meanwhile, in the office, someone is typing at full speed on their computer. Professor Nanny cannot believe what she sees in her student's academic file. It makes no sense. Top grades, class representative, never absent. He is an exemplary student. Nana starts building up a movie in her head, thinking that this is a special undercover training program for Yakuza heirs. She freezes, wondering if Yusun is just acting to deceive her. At that moment, Yusun appears for his orientation session, and Nanny almost jumps out of her chair. Fright, she tries to fake ignorance, saying she isn't nervous and was by no means checking his background. He gives her a cold, unfriendly look while she imagines that the mobsters will come for her at any moment. Yusun simply clarifies that he is there for the talk about his professional future. The teacher lets out a nervous chuckle, trying to regain her professional composure. She asks him to take a seat and directly asks what his plans are for the future. Yusun replies that if he doesn't decide on something soon, he will probably take over the family business. Nenny's face completely drops. To her, family business can only mean one thing, the mafia, but he quickly clarifies that his parents own a small set-menu restaurant in Setagaya. The teacher's confusion is absolute, but Yusun asks her with total calmness if there is any problem with that. She lets out such a massive sigh of relief that she even says she would love to visit it someday. They change the subject, and she asks what his favorite subject is, to which he replies math and science. Nanny suggests that he could then go down the path of engineering or something similar in the future. He rejects it immediately, saying that being good at something doesn't mean he should make it his career. Yusun gets serious. He wants to do something he actually enjoys this time, having a traumatic flashback of his past life as an engineering student, suffering through calculus without any passion. Deeply moved, the teacher confesses that she didn't always want to be a teacher either. She asks him not to laugh, but her real dream was something very different from what she does now. Nanny reveals with a nostalgic smile that what she always wanted was to be a voice actress. She remembers when she fell in love with a character from a robot anime in middle school. She even went so far as to say in her career orientation that she would become a professional voice actress. But her teacher at the time told her it was better to leave that as a hobby and look for something stable. At the time, she thought following that advice was the right thing to do, that being a teacher was the safest bet. But upon entering college, regret hit her all at once when she saw the events of her favorite voice actresses. Nanny realizes she let someone else's advice decide her future way too easily. That is why she asks Yusun to think it over very carefully, not as his teacher, but as someone who already made that mistake. He listens to her attentively, realizing that she has her own internal battles too. She smiles at him with sincerity, hoping that her words are of some use to the boy. Yusun politely thanks her for the advice, closing that moment of genuine connection. In the office, another teacher approaches with curiosity upon seeing Yusun leave the room. He mentions all those dark rumors surrounding the boy, ranging from the mafia to street fights, but Nanny interrupts him with a smile, assuring him that all of that was just a big misunderstanding. The teacher is left impressed, considering Yusun a highly reflective student. Nanny Misuki talks to her colleague in the office, determined never to judge students by their appearance again. She smiles with satisfaction, feeling that she has grown as an educator after her encounter with him. The scene shifts to the Asakusa Temple in Tokyo. During the Golden Week holiday, Yusun arrives right on time at the meeting point, checking his phone and realizing he even arrived early. In the distance, he spots President Tojo, who is walking firmly toward him. She stops in front of him with a somber face that hides her true emotions. Without warning, she points her finger at him and shouts that he is late. Tojo asks him in an imperious tone if he has the slightest idea what time it is. Poor Yusun freezes at the girl's unexpected outburst right in a public place. Even though he shows her that there are 10 minutes left, she remains visibly irritated and shaking with nerves. Tojo insists that a man must wait half an hour for a lady on a date. In the end, she decides to forgive him just this once. However, as compensation, she orders him to buy her a green tea ice cream from a specific shop. Yusun puts on a face of absolute disbelief, wondering why he has to pay for her ice cream. A moment later, we see him resignedly paying at the counter while she waits impatiently. Both walk together enjoying their ice creams, and Tojo seems to be genuinely delighted with the flavor. Yusun sensibly asks where they should buy the gift, as he feels they are just strolling around aimlessly. Tojo jumps and fakes that she hadn't forgotten, ordering him to simply follow her. What he doesn't know is that she is wearing a hidden earpiece and receiving secret instructions. A voice informs her about a craft shop 2 blocks away, so she can choose the gift there. Akaji Minami and Akaji Shingiro watch her from a vehicle, reminding her that she needs to act with more charm. The employees of the Seonji family are on a secret mission to ensure the success of their young lady's date. Inside the shop, Tojo becomes captivated by an imposing golden Buddhist statue. She suggests buying it as the exchange gift. The salesman gets excited at the prospect of a millionaire sale. Tojo boasts about her aesthetic eye, while the astronomical price of 7 million yen leaves Yusun speechless. Minami warns her through the earpiece that it is no time for eccentricities, startling the girl. Seeing her react like that, Yusun asks her with concern if she is okay or if she has a fever. Tojo covers herself with her fan and asks Minami to lower her voice so no one suspects. Minami reminds her that their goal is the date, not the statues, and asks her to observe her partner. Yusun is distracted, looking at his phone with a face of total boredom while she talks to the salesman. Desperate, Tojo tries to remember the basic rule: do not let your partner get bored during the date. Suddenly, she takes him by the arm and announces that she forgot something urgent they must attend to. She drags him out of the shop before the astonished gaze of the salesman, who loses his big sale. They walk at full speed along the stone pavement with Yusun barely able to keep up with her pace. He asks her again if something is wrong because of her strange behavior. She makes up that she just felt a little dizzy and suggests going to the next destination right away. Minami instructs her through the earpiece to head to a traditional clothing shop, now to look at kimonos. Following the instructions, they arrive at the establishment called Wawai. The manager shows them an elegant garment, asking them what they think of that model. Yusun opines that the exchange student would really like that kimono because of its design. Tojo, acting like the aristocrat she is, asks them to bring out the most exclusive pieces regardless of the price. Upon hearing that, the shop owner's ambition ignites like a voracious flame. The shop owner shows a luxury kimono valued at 500,000 yen, seeking to impress her demanding client. Tojo finds it barely acceptable and asks to see more options. While Yusun sweats cold at the girl's level of spending, after dismissing several options, the choice is down to a yukata and a kimono, both beautiful in Tojo's eyes. The sales clerk suggests that Tojo try them on, arguing that even for a gift, it is better to see how they look when worn. President Tojo looks at Yusun and asks if he thinks trying on the garments would help her decide. Convinced, she follows the kind woman into the back of the shop to change clothes. In the privacy of the fitting room, the woman removes a realistic mask, revealing herself to be Akaji Minami, the clever ninja of the Seonji family, with her purple hair tied up. President Tojo is left stunned to discover that her loyal assistant has infiltrated under an elaborate disguise. Minami explains that she is there to ensure the success of the date, having moved from the entrance in the blink of an eye. She reveals that as a master ninja of the Koga-ryu, taking over the shop rental was an extremely simple task. Tojo realizes that the idea of trying on the kimono was a plan by Minami to increase her attractiveness to Yusun. Without giving her time to protest, Minami begins to do her up, determined to leave her as beautiful as possible. Outside, Yusun listens to the racket coming from inside while trying to pass the time with his phone. The young man achieves an overwhelming victory in his mobile video game right when the changing session seems to end. Hearing the sound of the sliding door opening, Yusun looks up, expectant to see Tojo's new appearance. An air of elegance floods the room as the first details of the girl's sophisticated hairstyle appear. Yusun is left completely spellbound, unable to look away and with his face burning from a blush. Tojo looks both imposing and delicate in a black kimono decorated with flowers, nervously asking for his opinion. Both stand in silence for a moment, with Yusun taking in his companion's shocking change. Overwhelmed by Tojo's beauty, Yusun abruptly turns his head to try and hide his embarrassment. Seeing that he cannot even hold her gaze, Tojo blushes intensely, realizing that she has captivated him. Chin Yusun is left speechless for a moment. Only one word comes out. He blunts out directly that she is beautiful. President Tojo completely short-circuits upon hearing him. The guy keeps going with the compliments, telling her that the style suits her perfectly. She doesn't even know where to hide. She is practically shaking from pure nerves because of the comment. She tries to regain her composure with her classic laugh, boasting that this is how she looks when she gets serious. She gets so excited that she decides to go change into something more comfortable for the date and asks him to wait for her. Right there, she slams the door shut, leaving Yusun alone outside. She bites her lips trying to calm down, but she is as red as a tomato. She holds her face with her hands, feeling her heart going 1,000 miles an hour. She doesn't know what to do with the embarrassment she feels after that compliment. A guy on the street is left starstruck watching her pass by. Tojo appears in an incredible purple dress, walking with absolute elegance while the protagonist follows her closely. She notices that everyone is staring at them. It's hard to go unnoticed looking like that. Arriving at Nakano Broadway, she proposes calling a car to leave, but Yusun isn't very convinced. He feels a little uncomfortable from so much attention and suggests that they move fast. Suddenly, he senses that someone is taking a picture of them on the sly and turns around. Immediately, it turns out it was just a couple taking a perfectly normal selfie behind their backs. He keeps moving along the path, thinking it was just his imagination, but they were indeed being followed. Shinjiro lets out a sigh of relief for not being discovered. Akaji Minami scolds him immediately. He almost ruined the surveillance by getting too close to them. She insists that the photos for the report have to be perfect. Shinjiro can only complain about how lucky Yusun is. While they argue over whether they like the guy or not, Shinjiro gets an urgent need to go to the bathroom. Meanwhile, the couple arrives at a ramen shop that seems to be Yusun's favorite. They enter the premises and the smell of food welcomes them immediately. He asks her to look over the menu while he runs to the bathroom for a second. Just outside, Shinjiro's stomach rumbles in a rather violent way. The poor guy is pale, suffering from something he ate earlier. He blames it on an ice cream that was spoiled. Minami just wants him to go some. Somewhere else without making a sound, Shinjiro shoots off toward the restrooms. He can't hold it for even a single second longer. Minami sighs, totally resigned to her partner's behavior. Once in the bathroom, Shinjiro puts on a face of absolute glory. He finally feels saved, but his peace lasts shortly when he realizes that someone familiar is right in front of him. It's Kim Yusun. The two are left in shock upon seeing each other in such a private place. Outside, the bell on the restaurant door rings, indicating that someone has just entered. Tojo is waiting quietly until she sees Yusun appear again, but he doesn't come alone. He brings Shinjiro and Minami with him. The president freezes upon seeing them. Yusun explains with complete naturalness that he ran into them by pure chance. Since they have helped him so much lately, he decided to invite them to eat ramen with them. Tojo tries to fake a smile, but on the inside she is processing this disaster of situation. He invites them to sit down while wondering what the hell happened to his plan of having a date completely alone. Now there are 4 of them at the table in an atmosphere that couldn't be more uncomfortable for everyone. Minami takes the opportunity to whisper an apology to her boss, blaming her idiot brother for ruining the moment. The ramen arrives at the table, releasing steam with an incredible look. President Tojo stares at the dish, nervous about trying something so common for the first time. Yusun notices her hesitation. Yusun asks her if it is her first time eating ramen. She confesses that she has only seen it on television. Shinjiro takes offense at the question, considering it a lack of respect for his boss. Minami reminds her that she must taste the broth first. Tojo takes a spoonful of the broth very delicately. Everyone watches her attentively, waiting for her verdict. Yusun asks her if she likes it. She loves it. She is left surprised at how delicious the ramen is. Yusun smiles, seeing that she enjoys the food. Shinjiro and Minami are also happy for her. He invites her to eat as much as she wants, saying that the bill is on him. Shinjiro takes the opportunity to order more on behalf of his boss, but Minami reminds him of his stomach ache. After eating, the group heads to an arcade center to continue with the date. Tojo tries to grab a rabbit plushie in the claw machine, but it slips away from her right at the end. She gets frustrated for having been so close, while Minami offers to get it out for her after already spending quite a bit of money. Shinjiro celebrates a victory in a fighting game, mocking Yusun for not being as good as the rumors about Koreans say. Yusun takes the comment personally, feeling challenged in his national pride as a gamer. He gets serious and decides that he is going to crush the vice president in the next round. He is not going to let that insult slide. Shinjiro, under his sunglasses, plans to make Yusun pay for receiving the affection of his lady. There is still 1 round left to play, and Shinjiro is very confident. The game begins and blows fly all over the screen. Yusun connects a brutal combo that leaves Shinjiro's character against the ropes. KO. The protagonist completely defeats him, leaving the vice president speechless. Yusun laughs in his face, asking him what happened to all that talk about Koreans not being that good. Shinjiro cannot accept the defeat and looks for another way to regain his honor. He calls Yusun for a new duel, this time physical. He points to the boxing strength machine and challenges him to one last encounter. There, Yusun hesitates, thinking that real men shouldn't fix things like that, but Shinjiro insists on measuring their physical strength. Out of nowhere, the vice president begins to unbutton his shirt with absolute confidence. He takes off his clothes to show an incredibly muscular and ripped physique. The aura around him burns. Yusun is left with his mouth wide open, not understanding how he hid so many muscles under the suit. Shinjiro shows off his body, asking the protagonist if he is now afraid to face him. Minami dies of embarrassment, calling him an idiot for what he is doing. Meanwhile, Tojo just stays quiet. Shinjiro takes Yusun's silence as an acceptance of the challenge and prepares to strike. He takes off his glasses, staring fixedly at his opponent to intimidate him. The guy is burning with competitive passion, saying he feels disappointed if Yusun is going to run away now. He shows off his muscles one more time before launching the definitive blow at the machine. He asks Yusun to take a good look at what true physical strength is. He begins to warm up his shoulders and back in front of the explosion machine. He lets out a war cry while preparing the punch with all his power. He impacts the punching bag of the machine with a blow that echoes through the entire arcade. 960 points. The machine marks a new record and leaves the girls surprised. Now it is Yusun's turn. Shinjiro points at him, challenging him to beat that almost perfect score. He tries to get the president to stop this, but she is curious to see what happens when the protagonist gets serious. She even says they will pay if the machine breaks. Yusun begins to cry in a comical way, wondering if the student council can really do these things while accepting his fate. Yusun wonders how things got to this point as he prepares to strike. He knows the score is not the problem. There is something much more worrying. He realizes that his body has the body fat of a muscular comic relief character from this manga. He feels that if he hits the machine with all his strength, he is going to completely destroy it. He decides there is no turning back and concentrates to the maximum. His eyes glow with a purple intensity. He launches the blow. The air distorts from the power of his fist. The impact is so strong that it generates a flash of white light. Shinjiro watches with incredulity, realizing that something is not right. The machine is destroyed. The metal bent and the boxing bag was left crushed. Minami cannot believe what she sees. The screen doesn't even register the blow. It marks 0 points because the sensor flew through the air. President Tojo asks him what he was thinking while Minami gives him a gesture of disapproval. Yusun is drenched in sweat, trying to think of an excuse to make it look like an accident. He stays staring at the remains of the machine, hoping it isn't that big of a deal. But then the boxing bag detaches completely and falls to the ground. An uncomfortable silence floods the place while everyone sees the piece lying on the floor. Shinjiro stays standing there, still shirtless, processing the physical humiliation. With all the dignity he has left, the vice president puts his sunglasses back on. He declares that for today they will leave it at a draw, trying to save his pride. He threatens to crush him next time before withdrawing, while Yusun can only nod in confusion. To change the mood, the group stops in front of an instant photo booth. Yusun suggests that, since they are all together, they should take some pictures to remember the day. To President Tojo, it seems like an excellent idea to close out the afternoon. Everyone enters the small booth squeezed together but in high spirits. Click. The first photo comes out perfect with everyone smiling in a natural way. In the next one, Shinjiro comically tries to choke Yusun while the girls laugh. Then they decide to use fun accessories like rabbit and bear ears. For the last one, everyone puts on giant sunglasses and poses as if they were movie stars. The photos print and remain as a great memory of their strange group date. The girls check the result very happily, although Shinjiro complains that he came out with his eyes closed. Despite all the chaos, it's clear that in the end everyone truly had fun. President Tojo admits with a smile that this has been much more fun than she expected. Yusun looks at her with tenderness and proposes going to karaoke as the last stop of the day. They arrive at the karaoke lounge, ready to show their musical skills. Shinjiro takes over the microphone and sings at the top of his lungs, giving it his all on stage. Then it's the president's turn, who sings with a sweet and elegant voice that captivates everyone. Yusun and the others cheer her on enthusiastically, enjoying the moment. Finally, Yusun and Tojo end up singing a very lively duet, sharing laughs. Night falls over the city and the time comes to say goodbye. Tojo wishes him a good trip back. Yusun waves goodbye from the street while the president's luxury car prepares to leave. Inside the car, Minami and Shinjiro fall fast asleep from the exhaustion of such a hectic day. President Tojo looks out the window with a thoughtful expression, remembering the moments of the day. Her subordinates apologize deeply for having let themselves get carried away by the fun and ruining her time alone with Yusun. President Tojo observes the night landscape from the car, lost in her thoughts after an unusual day. A small smile appears on her face and her cheeks tint pink as she remembers the moments lived. Shinjiro and Minami try to comfort her, assuring her that despite everything they had a lot of fun today. She reflects on how special it was to wait for someone for the first time and share an ice cream with Yusun. She remembers with joy how they laughed together while doing some shopping, feeling genuinely happy. Looking at the photos they took, Tojo admits to herself that she hadn't had fun like that in a long time. Her mind travels to the past, remembering when she, Minami, and Shinjiro played together when they were just kids. With an unusual warmth, she thanks them both for having always been by her side protecting her. The president confesses her gratitude to them, recognizing the value of their unconditional loyalty. Her words go straight to the heart of Minami, who cannot stop tears from rolling down her cheeks. In a comical outburst of loyalty, the two subordinates vow to follow her faithfully for the rest of their lives. Tojo, a bit overwhelmed by the exaggerated reaction, asks them to help her make the next time a resounding success. The vehicle drives away into the darkness, while the two enthusiastically promise that her next date will be perfect. The scene changes drastically. An expert hand slides a digital stylus over a drawing tablet. Kishimoto-sensei is found concentrated in his studio, bringing new panels to life with great detail. Suddenly, a sound distracts him from his creative work. Someone is knocking on his door energetically. It is his daughter Kishimoto Rika, who enters the room with a radiant smile and eyes full of life. Rika reminds him for the umpteenth time that her friend is coming to visit tomorrow, hoping he hasn't forgot. The author smiles knowingly, showing that he has just as much interest as she does in this meeting. He curiously mentions the name of that boy his daughter talks so much about, Kim Yusun. On the second day of Golden Week, Yusun finally arrives at Rika's house just as he had promised. However, upon seeing who welcomes him, the young man freezes completely and begins to break into a cold sweat. Yusun makes a formal bow before Kishimoto-sensei, who comments that he has the exact look of a shonen manga protagonist. On the inside, Yusun is in absolute shock. He is face to face with the creator of the world in which he is trapped. Yusun stands frozen upon realizing who he has in front of him. Musashi himself, the manga god he idolizes so much. Kishimoto-sensei very calmly invites him in, telling him that his wife went all out with dinner upon learning that he was coming. Maria, Rika's mother, laughs, delighted to have guests, and tells her husband not to exaggerate so much. The table is a banquet from another world. It seems Maria really took the welcome seriously. Already seated, Yusun expresses his thanks for the food, still processing that he is having dinner with a legend. Rika's father drops the bombshell. He says his daughter hasn't stopped talking about him lately, leaving Yusun breaking into a cold sweat. With a smile that he doesn't know whether is kind or intimidating, the mangaka confesses that he really wanted to meet him. Yusun feels the atmosphere turn incredibly heavy and only thinks about how to clear up any misunderstanding before it's too late. He tries to explain that they are just normal friends and that they met because she got lost on the first day of school. Maria jokes, saying that her husband is just jealous because he is the first male friend Rika has ever had. Yusun tries to empathize, thinking it's normal for any father to get protective of his daughter. He begins to imagine that if he had a daughter as cute as Rika, he would also view any boy who approached her as if he were a hungry wolf. Rika, red as a tomato, scolds her father for saying weird things in front of her guest. She notices that Yusun is staring at her and nervously asks him why he is looking at her like that. He quickly covers it up, saying it's nothing. While Maria just observes the scene with a little smile, Rika keeps shouting at her dad to shut up while Yusun tries to calm the waters. Maria comments with nostalgia that their daughter has already grown up and now she even gets embarrassed around boys. Kishimoto-sensei gets sentimental, remembering when she was just a little girl. In his memories appears little Rika with her plushie, looking all cute and calling her dad. He even remembers when she used to say she wanted to marry him. A classic that breaks the heart of any father. Back in the present, the mangaka is on the verge of tears while Maria looks at him with tenderness. To change the subject, the sensei tells him he found out he is a huge fan of his work. He proposes giving him a tour of his studio after dinner. Yusun almost passes out from the excitement. After the visit, Yusun is on cloud 9, hugging his bag with an autograph as if it were a sacred treasure. Rika laughs seeing him so happy, and he assures her that he is the artist he respects most in the whole world. Then Rika takes him to her bedroom and introduces him to her own sanctuary. Yusun is surprised to see that it looks like an entire library of shonen manga. Rika tells him that most people react the same way when they see her collection for the first time. Before leaving for a moment, she warns him very seriously not to touch anything or she will get really mad. Alone, Yusun feels strange. It's the first time he has entered a girl's room. He tells himself he needs to stop overthinking the matter so he doesn't get any more nervous. Suddenly, Maria pokes her head through the door with a mischievous smile. She kindly asks him not to call her ma'am, but simply Maria-san so she doesn't feel so old. Yusun wonders if it's okay to call her that, but she reveals that she has come to show him her daughter's dark past. With a triumphant gesture, she pulls out a photo album of Rika since she was a baby. She starts showing him pictures of when she was 1 and 2 years old, while Yusun feels a little guilty for looking. Out of nowhere, Maria finds a photo from and she took Rika to Comic-It, the biggest anime event. The photo shows both of them in costume. It turns out Maria was also a cosplayer, and her dream was to do it with her daughter. Yusun thinks that the taste for drama and manga is definitely inherited genetically. Finally, Maria finds the crown jewel, the true dark past that Rika wanted to hide at all costs. It's a picture of Rika in her Chunibyo phase, dressed in a gothic Lolita style and with an eye patch, completely immersed in her role. Rika enters shouting at her mom, red with embarrassment upon realizing that she is showing her private photos to Yusun. Maria, completely calm and with a smile, confirms that yes, he already saw everything, while Yusun tries to process the image of gothic Rika. The poor girl feels ruined and just wants the earth to swallow her up at that very moment. She tries to explain to Yusun that it was just a rebellious phase and that she doesn't do those cosplay things anymore, though he senses she is a bit uncomfortable. Maria decides to leave them alone so they can have fun, while Rika shouts at her to please not come in again. They are left in a super awkward silence with Yusun not quite knowing where to look after such a revelation. Rika, almost on the verge of tears, begs him to please keep this a secret and not tell anyone. He assures her that of course he will, thinking to himself that it's not like he has many people to tell anyway. Yusun asks her not to be so embarrassed, trying to be the adult in the room and downplay the matter. He tells her that everyone goes through a Chunibyo phase at some point, but Rika retorts that surely he never did anything like that. To her surprise, Yusun admits that he also had a pretty severe case when he was in middle school. He offers to show her a photo to prove it, and Rika, highly intrigued, accepts immediately. He starts searching his phone until he finally finds the definitive proof of his embarrassing past. He shows it to her, and Rika is left completely in shock, unable to believe what she is seeing on the screen. She asks if it's really him, unable to hide her astonishment at the image of a boy so different. The photo shows a very skinny, pale Yusun dressed in total gothic style, calling himself the Dragon of the Black Flame. Rika comments that he looked very small and cute and asks him how he ended up becoming so muscular and big. He explains that he used to feel too weak, so he started training hard before entering high school. She sighs, thinking that if she had transferred 2 years earlier, she could have seen him in that very curious phase. Yusun asks her if she doesn't like how he is now, and Rika gets extremely nervous trying to reply. She covers her mouth so she doesn't let slip how much she likes his current self. With her heart going 1,000 miles an hour, Yusun notices she is acting weird and asks if something is wrong, while the atmosphere fills with an unexpected romantic tension. He stares fixedly at her, waiting for an answer, but she looks like she's going to explode from nerves. She tries to speak, but the words won't come out. She is totally blocked by Yusun's closeness. Just when it seems she is about to confess something important, he interrupts her in the most casual way possible. He looks her straight in the eyes with a very serious and determined expression that leaves her expectant, and drops the lethal line. He tells her that he considers her a good friend, sending her straight to the friend zone without mercy. Rika freezes, repeating those words "good friend" in her head, while her soul seems to leave her body. Yusun smiles all innocently, completely unaware that he just destroyed the romantic moment she was building. She can only stand there scratching her head and absorbing the blow while he remains in his own world. He thanks her for inviting him, since thanks to that he was able to meet Kishimoto-sensei and even get an autograph. Rika looks at him still a bit dazed from before, but he keeps telling her how much that day means to him. He tells her with a sincere smile that today will be a memory he will never be able to forget. Rika replies that he shouldn't say those things, that he has always helped her since he transferred, and that this is nothing. Yusun assures her that he will definitely come to visit again, which makes her smile broadly. They stand watching the sunset from the balcony with the sky tinted in orange and purple hues. He decides that enough time has passed and that it's time to return home to have dinner with his own family. He remembers that she is going on a family trip tomorrow and asks her where they plan to go. She tells him all excitedly that they are going to Hawaii and jokingly tells him not to cry because he is going to miss her during that week. Yusun asks her to use sunscreen and to call him if anything happens, as he will fly over to help her. Rika laughs, asking him how he plans to get all the way to Hawaii. Is he going to swim there? Yusun takes it seriously for a moment, thinking that with his current physique he might actually manage it, but then reconsiders and says he'd better buy a plane ticket. Kishimoto Rika says goodbye cheerfully to Sakamoto Ryuji, promising to see each other soon at school. Ryuji, with his typical protagonist energy, returns the greeting without suspecting a thing. But as soon as he turns around, Rika's expression changes completely. Her cheeks blush and she lowers her gaze, visibly affected by the moment. She stands in silence, clutching her chest while processing her feelings. The sunset bathes the scene in a melancholy tone. Yusun watches her walk away from a distance. He murmurs to himself, realizing that things are getting serious. Later, Rika is surprised to discover that Yusun lives quite close to her, just a couple of stations away. They share a simple lunch on a park bench. Kim Yusun devours his gimbap while she thanks him for enjoying it so much. Rika mentions how hard he worked helping her family that day. To her, someone capable of doing so much for others is a good person. She finishes speaking with her face burning. It's clear that her admiration for him has grown. The scene changes to a moment of tension. Yusun, with a hood on, protects Rika among the crowd, asking her to hold on a little longer. She nods timidly, trusting him completely while they try to go unnoticed. He takes her hand firmly, quickening his pace so as not to lose the trail or to avoid being followed. Rika looks at him with a mix of nervousness and something deeper as they walk under the city lights. Back in the present, she sports a more casual and summery outfit with a half smile that hides her shyness. It is the 5th day of Golden Week and the setting is Akihabara, the paradise of any otaku. Walking among the people, we see the feet of someone advancing with a determined step through the streets of this district. It is Kim Yusun, who has already finished his manga shopping. He checks his phone, satisfied with his haul for the day. He stops to think if he should eat something before leaving. The idea of going to his usual ramen shop tempts him quite a bit. Suddenly, he hears fast footsteps approaching. Someone is coming, running at full speed. A blue-haired girl shouts to get out of the way. She is desperate and doesn't plan to break. Yusun turns around just in time, but he cannot avoid the surprise of seeing who is coming at him. The girl leaps through the air, showing incredible agility while trying to dodge him and other obstacles, but the impact is inevitable. Yusun is left frozen before an unexpected sight, underwear fully visible mid-flight. Thud, the collision is brutal. Yusun's face takes the direct impact of the girl who came flying. Yusun ends up on the ground with a nosebleed worthy of a romantic comedy. He doesn't understand what just happened. He reacts quickly and catches her before she hits the ground, although his face shows total pain and confusion. Wait, that's not the point, he thinks frantically. The girl, Alexandra Sasha, only clicks her tongue with annoyance. Instead of thanking him, she seems irritated by the encounter. Some men in suits appear running. They are looking for someone and shouting the name Mela. The situation gets complicated. Sasha grabs Yusun and begs him to help her, saying there is no time for explanations. He is left completely thrown off. Yusun tries to warn her that they are heading straight into a dead end, but she has made up her mind. Follow me this way, Sasha shouts while dragging him along. Yusun has no choice but to run with her. They quickly duck into a ramen shop. The WCOM sign was never more opportune for hiding. From the counter, they watch as their pursuers pass right by on the street, shouting orders in Russian. Yusun sighs in relief upon seeing that they lost sight of them. The tension in the air is palpable. Sasha also lets out a sigh of relief, although she still seems a bit shaken from the run. She thanks him for the help, but Yusun makes it clear to her that he only got wrapped up in this by accident. He demands to know why they were chasing her. Sasha proposes sitting down first to talk. She introduces herself and asks our protagonist his name. Kim Yusun, he replies, drawing himself off. Realizing that he is not Japanese, Sasha is surprised. Yusun clarifies that he is a second-generation Korean born in Japan. Yusun loses his patience and asks her not to change the subject. He needs to know who those guys were and why they were after her. Sasha tries to evade the question. Fed up with the mystery, Yusun gets up to leave, wishing her luck with her escape. Sasha panics and asks him to wait a second. She argues that it is common sense to help a pretty girl like her without complaining. Yusun looks at her with a face of absolute disbelief. Seeing that words are not working, Sasha plays her last card, money. She pulls out a wad of bills and promises to pay him for his help. She shows a huge amount of cash. They are real bills and a lot of them. Yusun is left speechless before such a display of resources. Deal done. Kim Yusun agrees to be a bodyguard, although Sasha cannot avoid a sarcastic comment about how money buys everything. He, for his part, is already mentally counting how many manga volumes he will be able to buy with that small fortune. Sasha sighs, giving up in the face of Yusun's insistence. She adjusts her cap while admitting that there is no longer any point in continuing to hide who she really is. If she's going to trust him to protect her, it is best to put the cards on the table once and for all. With a serious look, Alexandra reveals that her father is someone extremely important and famous back in Russia. She's not just any random girl lost in Akihabara. There are very heavy reasons why those men in suits are chasing her. All over the city, Yusun is left frozen with a drop of cold sweat running down his cheek while he tries to process what he has in front of him. His face of total bewilderment says it all. He is completely thrown off and only manages to let out a confused "so." Then the girl with long, light blue hair who just appeared, Alexandra Ivanovna, or Sasha to her friends, begins to speak with an unsettling calmness and a serious tone. She prefaces her explanation with a simple "and so," looking him directly in the eyes. Sasha drops the bombshell without anesthesia. She's convinced that some guys are chasing her to kidnap her and demand a ransom for her. What seemed like a casual encounter has just escalated to a life-or-death situation in a second. Yusun stands frozen as he sees the cover of a manga called Scrumble Love. It turns out that the girl in front of him is identical to Alec, one of the main heroines of the series who comes from Russia. The poor guy cannot believe that he is escorting such a famous fictional character. After going through the checkout of a clothing store and saying goodbye to the clerk, it seems they already have everything necessary to go unnoticed. Sasha appears with a totally renewed look, a cap, a sports jacket, and some shorts that give her a much more casual air. She looks quite comfortable and asks Yusun what he thinks of her new getup. Yusun admits that those clothes are much better for moving around if things get ugly. With great confidence, she tells him that she only needs him to protect her until 7 in the evening, and after that she will manage on her own, but it doesn't stop there. Since it is her first time in Japan, Sasha is curious to know if there is any interesting place to visit around the area, completely ignoring that half the world is looking for her. Yusun cannot help but let out a nervous laugh at the absurdity of the situation. Seriously, she wants to go sightseeing while kidnappers are chasing her. Very coolly, she replies that places with a lot of people are the best for hiding. She is not wrong, but damn, she has guts. Sasha comments to Yusun that being in the middle of a crowd gives them an advantage, since it will be much harder for her pursuers to act without drawing attention. He, though a bit skeptical, admits that it makes sense, and here we have her in all her splendor, Alexandra Ivanovna Romanova, or simply Sasha. It turns out she is one of the main heroines of the original manga and comes directly from Russia. In the script that Yusun knows, she should have run into the usual Protagonist Sakamoto Ryuji for her grand triumphant entry, the typical destined encounter that changes the story, but by twists of fate she crossed paths with our protagonist first. Yusun is left thinking that maybe this encounter is happening even before she is supposed to officially debut in the plot. While they run to lose the guys in suits, he wonders why a main heroine is involved in this mess. He is not sure if he should get so involved, but there is no turning back now, he vividly recalls. The moment she stood on her dignity, asking with indignation if he was trying to buy her or insult her with money. Yusun's face says it all. He is under tremendous pressure, although the reality was less dramatic and more lucrative. Sasha offered him such an absurd amount of money that it was simply impossible for Yusun to say no. A powerful gentleman is Mr. Money. Back in the present, Yusun sighs resignedly, thinking he only has to endure 6 hours to get paid. Sasha, for her part, seems to enjoy seeing how her protector takes everything so seriously. She observes him with a smug little smile. Sasha boasts of having an infallible instinct for judging people and has already decided that this boy is the piece she needed. She confirms it upon seeing him in action. This man is truly strong. Despite his unfriendly face while protecting her, Sasha feels totally safe in his hands. In her mind, she has already done the math. She is convinced that he will be able to keep any pursuer. During the 6 hours that their deal lasts, Yusun urges her to keep moving so as not to be an easy target, but suddenly a shout breaks the calm. "Hey, you don't move. It seems they have found them sooner than expected. Get him," shout the thugs while chasing the couple down the street at full speed. Yusun and Sasha run at full steam. He wonders if they are KGB agents, but she, a bit lost, asks if that is a brand of alcohol. Suddenly, someone appears out of nowhere and stops their path with a sharp stomp. One of the guys launches a punch directly at Yusun's face, but the protagonist reacts in time and catches his fist in midair with total calmness. The thug turns pale upon seeing that his attack did absolutely nothing to him. Yusun lifts him into the air with incredible brute strength and slams him against the pavement in front of his companions, who cannot believe what they are seeing. Sasha is left staring with her mouth wide open, surprised by the boy's power. Yusun orders her to stay back. Find a safe place to hide while he handles it. He puts her in a red phone booth to get her out of the line of fire. He stays analyzing the situation. These guys are definitely on another level compared to normal gang members. The whole gang surrounds them, ready to drop on him all at the same time. But unfortunately for them, Yusun is in a different league and puts up his guard. He knows that in a romantic comedy world, the one with the most muscles always has the upper hand. Deal blows left and right, wiping the floor with the thugs. He puts up his guard, thinking that at this rate he will be able to finish the problem fairly quickly. Suddenly, he notices a presence moving at an unusual speed. A brutal impact sends him flying before he can see who it was that hit him. The blow is so sharp that it leaves him breathless and makes him let out a groan. It is Captain Boris. The giant appears from the smoke of the fight with an imposing presence. Yusun freezes upon seeing the enormous guy in front of him. He wonders if his manga character advantage will work against someone of that physical caliber. Boris cracks his knuckles with disdain while the atmosphere fills with tension. Yusun remains in silence, measuring the distance with the giant. From the booth, Sasha hits the glass desperately, shouting that it is useless to fight. She claims that no one is capable of defeating Captain Boris in hand-to-hand combat. Yusun lets out a sigh, thinking that this easy money is costing him too much effort. Boris decides that he has played enough and prepares to end this once and for all. He launches himself with a lightning-fast movement that barely leaves a trace in the air. Yusun barely has time to react to the brutal onslaught. The impact is devastating and raises a cloud of debris in the middle of the street. Boris grabs his head and slams it viciously against the ground. Despite the blow, Yusun tries to keep calm and look for an opening to counterattack. The captain lifts him by the arm as if he were a doll, ready to continue with the punishment. He throws him against the floor one more time to try to break his resistance. Yusun feels the pain running through his entire body after the beating he is receiving. Boris approaches to deal the final blow while Yusun seems totally finished, but just before the impact, the boy reacts and catches his arm with strength. Boris is left perplexed. He did not expect his opponent to still have tricks up his sleeve. It's an armbar. Yusun takes advantage of the momentum to attempt a submission from the ground. He hooks onto Boris's arm with all his weight in one last desperate attempt to win the fight. Yusun applies a perfect joint lock, leaving the big guy speechless. Boris cannot believe that a brat has him like this. "My hip," shouts Boris as he feels his bone is going to pop out of place. The pain is simply unbearable. With a sharp and powerful movement, Yusun sends Boris flying through the air like a ragdoll. From the phone booth, Sasha watches everything with her mouth wide open, unable to process the protagonist's colossal strength. The other thugs stand frozen, unable to believe that their captain has fallen so disastrously. Boris ends up slammed onto the asphalt, completely out of commission, while Yusun looks at him with total coldness. Yusun complains that an injury like that means losing muscle and demands to know from Boris if he is going to take responsibility for him not being able to go to the gym. Sasha comes out of the booth still in shock. She cannot believe that the guy defeated Captain Boris, just like that. Yusun's aura becomes imposing for a moment. Sasha wonders, how is it possible that this boy is so strong? The scene changes abruptly to a dark warehouse where it seems something very important is brewing. We see leader Tojo, Sasha's father, talking on the phone with an expression loaded with seriousness. He informs someone named Tsar that Captain Boris has been defeated, a piece of news that seems to shake their plans. Leader Toad cannot believe it. He claims that in all of Japan there shouldn't be anyone capable of defeating Boris. They describe the attacker to him as a tall Asian boy with messy hair. Tojo begins to, suspecting an old legend. He wonders if it really is the Black Iha, a man who seems to awaken fears of the past. Meanwhile, in the underworld forums, rumors are flying. Someone asks if it is true that Black Shah has returned. The response on the net is clear. They saw him fighting in Akihabara, and the news spreads through all of Tokyo like wildfire. On the other side of the screen, a female hand handles the mouse, closely following every detail of the information. It is a girl with a high ponytail reading the comments of the newbies, who doubt whether the legend is real or just pure noise. She thinks to herself that those beginners don't have the slightest idea who they are messing with. She begins to remember when Ivan, the god of destruction, was looking for a worthy rival in a big tournament back in '99. He was Ivan, nicknamed the god of the fist, a guy with a presence so beastly that he seemed to control electricity. It was then that out of nowhere, the ninja Fuma Kataro appeared to change the destiny of the tournament. Although he only competed once, Black Shah fought his way to the final and became an authentic living legend of the underworld. The girl is left pensive before the screen, wondering if it is really possible that Fuma Kataro has reappeared. Her gaze reflects absolute determination. As she weighs the implications of this possible return, she leans on the table, ready to spring into action and check the rumors on her own account. She quickly puts on her tactical jacket. She is Fuma Yukika and she doesn't plan to sit idly by. She opens the door decisively, ready to go out into the streets and search for the truth of what is happening. Yukika walks through the city with a firm step, moving with the agility characteristic of her ninja clan. She murmurs that her father must wait for her, assuring that she is all ready. On her way to find him, meanwhile, Yusun and Sasha have ended up in a most surreal place, a maid cafe. Yusun is dead from embarrassment, surrounded by little bows and hearts, while Sasha seems to be having a wonderful time. He complains to her for choosing this place, but she replies that a maid cafe is a mandatory stop in Japan. A smiling maid guides them to their table while Yusun tries to hide his face out of pure shame. Sasha tells him not to worry, that since he already defeated everyone a little while ago, they will be safe. He thinks that she is way too carefree. Yusun looks at the menu with resignation, thinking that at least he already collected the advance and now he has no choice but to keep going. Sasha notices something very strange. There is no trace of the earlier fight on the internet. Yusun explains that they probably activated an EMP. He asks her what exactly the E-organization is while trying to process all the technology they use against them. She explains that the Easter Company is a massive Russian military corporation that uses electromagnetic pulses to erase their tracks. Yusun doesn't understand why they are chasing her. Sasha reminds him with total calmness that she is the daughter of someone very, very important in that hierarchy. Just then the star maid, Joan Nyan, appears serving the food with all the cat-like style of the establishment. Yusun is on the verge of a mental breakdown over maid cafe culture. While Sasha is right in her element, Joan Nyan arrives. Sasha is fascinated by the little cat ears, but Yusun feels that this is too much for him. Yusun prepares to eat once and for all, but the maid stops him dead in his tracks. Master, wait a moment. Nyan explains to him that there is a mandatory ritual before starting. Yusun begins to break into a cold sweat. What are you going to make me do now? The maid prepares for the spell with a lot of energy. Here we go. Moe moe and a black heart. Maid makes the classic heart shape with her hands surrounded by a sickeningly sweet pink aura. Yusun curses his luck while Sasha has already joined the ritual without thinking twice. Sasha scolds him because he isn't doing it too. The maid reminds him that it is the sacred rule of the establishment. We see Yusun's face in a close-up, debating internally between his dignity and hunger. Moe Kayan, he did it. Although with a face like he wants the earth to swallow him up, Sasha bursts out laughing. The maid wishes them bon appetit with a bow. Yusun covers his face in embarrassment while Sasha admits that this is hilarious. Yusun begins to eat. He is psychologically exhausted, but he has to admit that the food is pretty good. Upon finishing, the maid returns with her eternal smile to ask them if they enjoyed the feast. Then she drops on them that she has special permission to play a card game with them. Sasha gladly accepts. The maid pulls out some headbands with cat ears. Yusun's survival instinct begins to scream at him to run. The bet is terrible. The loser must wear the little ears and end every sentence with a Naya. Yusun panics. Yusun tries to negotiate another punishment, but Sasha provokes him by calling him a scaredy cat. He has no escape. Yusun's look changes completely. He gets serious because he knows his dignity depends on this game. He doesn't plan to lose. The card duel begins. Yusun is extremely focused, determined to take the victory this time, but destiny is cruel. A pop sound indicates to us that someone has lost. Sure enough, Yusun lost. There we see him with the little cat ears on and blushing up to his eyebrows. "Let's play another round, Mayon Nyan," says Yusun with a sigh that comes from his soul. Sasha is dying of laughter. Sasha mocks him, telling him that they don't suit him at all. Yusun is blowing steam from his head from how angry he is. The doorbell rings. It's time to leave. The maid says goodbye cheerfully, asking them to come back soon. Already outside under a beautiful sunset, Sasha stretches in satisfaction. Yusun continues with his aura of total indignation for not having won even a single time. It's almost 5. Sasha thanks Yusun for the incredible day they have spent together. They walk in silence along the walkway, enjoying the calmness of the sunset. Suddenly, Sasha stops. "Actually, I have something to confess to you." Yusun is left puzzled. What's wrong? She confesses the truth to him. The guys he fought earlier were bodyguards hired by her father. She escaped from the hotel and didn't think everything would get so out of hand. She tells him he can go home now, that she will contact them herself to return to the hotel. Sasha thanks him one last time, but the sound of helicopter blades interrupts the moment. We see the face of a man laughing with superiority from above. "I finally found you." A helicopter appears out of nowhere right above them, whipping up a hurricane-force wind. A hand impacts with strength against the ground. Someone has jumped from the helicopter without hesitation. The blades keep spinning at full speed, creating an atmosphere of maximum tension. Direct impact. The ground cracks under the weight of the person who just landed on the walkway. It is leader Tojo, sporting his leopard print coat and sunglasses. "Quite a little show you've put on, Sasha." Yusun cannot believe what he sees. The guy just jumped from a moving helicopter like it's nothing. Sasha is terrified. "How did you manage to find us?" asks the leader in a trembling voice. He then stands imposingly. His presence is overwhelming and gives off an air of absolute danger. He walks toward them with total confidence. "I have personal business here, with my daughter Alexandra Ivanovna Romanova." Sasha apologizes to her father for having gone out without permission, with her head lowered and her hands clasped together nervously. Kim Yusun freezes upon processing the news. "Dad, so this man is Sasha's father?" he asks himself with a drop of sweat running down his cheek. While Sasha and her father speak, Yusun breaks the fourth wall, wondering why two Russians are speaking in perfect Japanese, though he appreciates the convenience of the manga world. Leader Tojo, Sasha's father, ignores the apologies and mentions that he heard rumors about the appearance of the Black Knight Craw in Tokyo, leaving Sasha completely confused. The imposing leader Tojo questions his daughter, suggesting that the man she hired as a bodyguard is much more than he seems. With an intense look behind his sunglasses, the leader claims that this man is the same one who disappeared mysteriously 10 years ago. In the leader's mind appears the silhouette of a legendary assassin, the feared mercenary known as Black Knight Craw, Fuma Kataro. Upon hearing that name, Yusun enters a total panic, wondering what the hell that terrifying man is talking about. Leader Tojo bursts into a war cry, declaring that today they will finally settle the debt pending since 18 years ago with the Black Knight Craw. But as he approaches and gets a better look at Yusun, the leader stops dead in his tracks. "Who are you?" he asks with suspicion upon noticing the boy's youth. The atmosphere tenses up when Leader Tojo asks him directly if he knows Fuma Kataro. Yusun, trembling with fear, assures that it is the first time he has heard that name. An uncomfortable silence ensues among the three in the middle of the street under the light of the sunset. Trying to save his life, Yusun politely takes his leave from Sasha now that her father is there, but Leader Tojo's gaze follows him fixedly. Yusun walks away whistling, thinking that it has all been a misunderstanding and that he just looks like this Kataro guy, but an authoritative voice orders him to stop. The leader Tojo asks him with an icy voice, how is it possible for someone like him to have defeated Boris, the captain of his personal guards? Yusun gets nervous and remembers their previous clash. With a forced smile, he asks the leader to pass on his apologies to Boris for letting things get out of hand. Leader Tojo's response is a deathly silence, while his purple eyes shine with a dangerous intensity behind his glasses. Without warning, Leader Tojo launches a devastating attack. He moves at an incredible speed, surrounded by a blue electric aura. Yusun barely has time to react, watching as the giant's fist heads straight towards him with overwhelming force. A loud crash echoes across the walkway when the impact occurs, kicking up a gust of wind that shakes everything around them. She screams Kim Yusun's name in desperation, fearing the worst after seeing the power of her father's blow. Yusun's backpack explodes under the pressure of the hit, revealing a book among the shredded fabric remains as the smoke clears. What is the meaning of this? Yusun exclaims, furious and agitated. Clutching the remnants of his backpack while trying to process the unprovoked attack, Leader Tojo, far from being upset, flashes a satisfied smile. He is impressed that the boy blocked his strike and dares him to show his true strength. Kim Yusun sees his backpack fly through the air. He completely despairs because he just bought his manga today and it is already tearing to pieces. With tears in his eyes, Yusun explodes with rage. He does not plan to forgive this guy for ruining his reading for the day. Later, Tojo moves like lightning, leaving barely a blurry trail of his presence as he attacks. Yusun tries to guard himself, but the impact is so strong that it forces him back several meters. He takes a direct hit and grits his teeth, resisting with everything he has to keep from falling to the ground. Tojo does not give him a single second of breathing room and is already preparing the next attack with a cold smile. A rapid exchange of blows fills the air with sparks and pure brute force. Yusun skids across the pavement, trying to keep his balance under the constant pressure. The Yakuza leader stops for a moment, watching the entire confrontation as if it were an entertaining game. Exhausted, Yusun yells out why the hell he is doing all this if they do not even know each other. He complains that if he claims to be such a genius, he does not understand why he keeps beating him up. Tojo reminds him that he defeated Boris, the captain of his guard, using nothing but his bare hands. He launches another energy-infused punch that explodes right in front of Yusun's face. He assures him that he possesses a talent that is only seen once every 100 years. Yusun grows serious, processing those words while sweat pours down his cheek. The Yakuza's aura intensifies, making it clear that his strength is on a completely different level. Tojo drops the ultimate offer on him. He wants him to stop wasting his time and come work for him. He promises that he will help him reach his maximum potential while throwing a devastating punch to close the deal. In the middle of the combat, Yusun has a moment of clarity and finally understands what is happening. He truly realizes that the world of scrumble love is no longer the romantic comedy he once knew. He analyzes that this offer to join the enemy side is a classic trope of battle manga. He remembers common romance situations like accidentally tripping over girls, but he knows things have changed. He recalls all the hellish training he has done to strengthen his muscles without rest. He thinks about all the times he has ended up dragged into brutal fights since he arrived in this world. He sees himself as a character with a strength so absurd it seems like a joke. He comes to the conclusion that the story mutated genres, and now he is trapped in a pure action battle shonen. It all makes sense if the manga is published in Jumping Magazine, where combat series dominate. He knows that trying to survive as a romance extra in a magazine like that was a losing battle from the start. He imagines the editors pressuring the author to push love aside and focus on fights to climb up the rankings. His gaze becomes much more determined as he finally accepts his new reality. He visualizes Tojo as a demon who will only bring him a life full of constant dangers and risks. The Yakuza returns to the onslaught and demands an answer while he has him against the ropes. He offers to pay for his studies and give him luxuries, houses, and cars if he accepts to become his subordinate. Yusun blocks a massive punch that generates an explosive shockwave all around them. Suddenly, a confident smile appears on the protagonist's face. Tojo is left bewildered to see that the boy is laughing right in his face. With absolute certainty, Yusun shouts back that he rejects his offer completely. In his mind, he knows that in this type of manga, the villain always ends up biting the dust before the protagonist. He remembers Sakamoto Ryuji and decides that staying close to the main character is his best plan to stay safe. Tojo laughs in a sinister way upon seeing that the boy has no intention of yielding. He launches himself again with a strike loaded with murderous intent, shouting at him to just die then. Yusun puts on a face of total panic, seeing that the old man took the rejection way too seriously. Leader Tojo delivers a brutal punch to his stomach that leaves him completely breathless. Yusun doubles over in pain while spitting up some blood from the tremendous impact. With his vision fading from the blow, Yusun realizes the harsh reality. This old man is genuinely trying to send him to the next world without hesitation. Tojo does not stop and charges again with absurd speed. Yusun was planning to hold back a little since he is Sasha's dad, but now he sees that was a fatal mistake. His eyes widen completely upon detecting a small opening in the giant's attack. It is the opportunity he was waiting for to react. He tries to dodge the next move, but the Yakuza leader is too precise and forces him to back down again. Both stand face to face for an instant. Yusun is panting heavily, trying to catch his breath against the pressure of that purple aura. The sun sets in the background while leader Tojo observes him with a calmness that sends genuine shivers down his spine. Tojo has a scratch mark on his face, and his expression becomes much more severe. It seems playtime is over. Yusun feels his heart jumping out of his chest. He knows perfectly well that what comes next is going to hurt a lot more than before. The old man unleashes all his power and launches a massive attack that looks like an explosion of pure dark energy. Before he can react, Tojo grabs his face with his massive hand, crushing his cheeks with force. He lifts him up into the air as if he weighed nothing and tells him in a raspy voice that he will give him one last piece of advice before continuing. He squeezes his fist with such force that it makes his knuckles crack. When you strike someone, he begins to sentence. Tojo prepares for the final impact and assures him that he must always strike with the firm resolution to kill his opponent. Yusun is breaking into a cold sweat and trembling, seeing that giant fist millimeters from his face without being able to do anything. The blow lands, and the shockwave is so powerful that it cracks all the ground around the young man. The Yakuza leader stands there quietly, surrounded by debris floating from the intensity of his own aura. Yusun ends up sprawled on the grass, coughing and fighting with all his might to stand up once more. He wipes the blood from his mouth and takes a deep breath. He barely made it out alive, only managing to break free from that hellish grip just in time. He stays thinking about that last move, realizing that it is definitely not a normal fighting technique. He analyzes the previous attack while sweat blurs his vision. That power is completely beyond all common logic. Tojo finally reveals the name of his secret technique, the Emperor's two-headed eagle. Yusun is left speechless with astonishment upon hearing about imperial martial arts. This just got way too intense for him. The villain takes his stance wrapped in blue electric energy, mentioning the ancient secrets of the Romanov family. He begins to flurry of attacks so fast that they look like multiple arms moving at the same time in front of Yusun. The boy tries to block what he can, but his vision is not enough to keep up with such a high attack speed. Suddenly, Sasha Romanova intervenes in desperation and yells at her father to stop once and for all. But the old man will not listen to reason and orders her to stay out of it because he is determined to take Yusun with him, no matter the cost. The protagonist puts up his guard again, even though his body is already beginning to take its toll from all the physical exertion. Tojo offers him one last option. Join him to learn all his forbidden techniques or die. In that very instant, he positions himself behind Yusun like a gigantic shadow, promising him a power he has never imagined before. Despite being completely battered, Yusun laughs and tells him that the real Chunobu turned out to be the old man. He falls silent for a moment with a look that shows he has already made a definitive decision about his future. He remembers Sakamo, Ryuji, and all his high school friends. He does not plan to give up that normal life for anything in the world, not for a single reason. Yusun shouts with conviction that he does not intend to choose the path of violence that Tojo is offering him. Tojo is surprised by his firm response and admits that his conviction is admirable, but that even so, he must surrender. But that conviction, I will break it myself right now. The Yakuza leader sentences. While his fist glows with power once more, he charges with a burst of purple energy that looks like it will disintegrate everything in its path. The punch goes straight for Yusun's head, who watches it coming with an expression of pure terror in his eyes. Tojo's eyes gleam with a murderous light, proving that he was not joking at all about killing him. The impact is imminent, and the energy concentrated in his fist illuminates the entire stage blindingly. Yusun is desperate, trying to find some way to escape, while the air grows dense from the tension of the moment. Tojo's fist lands with destructive force, creating an explosion of blue energy that shakes the entire place. It is a direct and brutal impact. Yusun endures as best as he can, but the pain is almost unbearable. At that moment, he realizes that compared to Boris, this guy is in a totally different league. Leader Tojo stands imposingly, looking down at the boy kneeling before him. Yusun can only think that this man is literally the strongest opponent he has ever faced. Sasha cannot keep quiet and screams in desperation for them to stop, genuinely fearing for Yusun's life. Before such a beating, the girl steps in between the two of them, demanding to know from her father why he is so cruel when Yusun only protected her for half a day. But Tojo, with an icy glare, dryly orders her to move out of the way. Sasha does not back down and threatens to do something if her father does not step back right now, but the old man's gaze shows that he is not going to take a single step back. Without warning, Leader Tojo makes a quick and abrupt movement that takes Sasha totally by surprise. He shoves her aside without any gentleness. Sasha falls to the ground. Yusun cannot believe that the old man was capable of attacking his own daughter like that. Fury begins to boil inside Yusun. He feels disgusted that this man has no mercy even for his own flesh and blood just to win a fight. He stands up with great difficulty, glaring with hatred at Tojo while Sasha tries to recover from the blow in the background. Tojo no longer has patience for more reproaches. "You talk too much," he tells him. "Let's finish this once and for all." The Yakuza charges one last massive strike with his eyes glowing with a menacing purple aura. Everything seems to indicate it is the end for our protagonist. Tojo throws the definitive punch, but right before impacting, something unexpected happens. Yusung closes his eyes expecting the final blow, but a gust passes grazing Tojo's cheek, leaving him. A strange movement and turns his attention. Countless gigantic weapons plummet from the sky, violently impacting the street floor. The two fighters stare at the sudden blades, completely surprised by the attack. The imposing opponent immediately recognizes those legendary shurikens of the Black Yaksha. An extremely sharp wire cuts through the air and draws blood from the older man's face. A mysterious dark-haired woman emerges from the sky wielding a sharp blade. The newcomer lands nimbly right in the middle of the street between the two fighters. Kim Yu-sung's eyes widen as he immediately recognizes the girl with the ponytail. She introduces herself as Fuma Yukika, the 17th leader of the Fuma ninja clan. Relieved but confused, the young man asks what his senior is doing there. The older man stares at her with extreme seriousness, paying close attention to her words. Yukika reveals that the legendary Fuma Kataro he has been searching for is actually his father. The opponent narrows his eyes, admitting that he had already heard rumors about this. The girl deduces that this is the man who was spreading rumors about the Black Yaksha. Without wasting any time, she reaches out and hands Yu-sung a small golden pill. She hurriedly explains that this is a treasure passed down through generations in the clan. The old man warns that he won't just stand by and watch them plan their next move. Yukika orders the boy to swallow the pill quickly. While she tries to restrain the enemy, Yu-sung throws the item into his mouth, mentally hoping it doesn't end up killing him. As soon as he swallows the pill, his eyes widen as he feels an immediate effect on his body. An absurdly hot energy begins to burn his insides as if it were fire. The boy writhes in pain as his body temperature rises dramatically. Veins of burning energy begin to glow intensely through the young man's neck. He lets out and screams as an aura of massive flames erupts. Yukika and the older man are completely shocked by the explosion of power. The boy's clothes are torn by brute force as flames engulf him entirely. Clenching his glowing fist, he senses an absurd amount of strength coursing through his veins. With a furious look, the young man finally feels that all his limitations have disappeared. The old man smiles in amazement, stating that the boy seems to have awakened a third eye. He faces the gigantic, mysterious energy emanating from his young opponent's body. Yukika is surprised to notice that the pill released the entire flow of power all at once. However, the ninja knows very well that the miraculous effect will only last 5 short minutes. The man smiles curiously, wondering if the boy will be able to defeat him in that time. Teasing the young man, the old man says he is impressed with his control over this energy. Some calls him an irredeemable villain for having the audacity to hit his own daughter. The experienced fighter lets out a mocking chuckle. Upon hearing the young man's accusation, he starts laughing loudly at the young man's morality. As Yu-sung approaches menacingly, the old man coldly states that these nice words are just excuses from weak people. He concludes by saying that in the real world, the woos their rights to the strong. Tired of talking, the boy gets into a fighting stance and demands that he try to prove it. The man accepts the challenge as the illusion of a giant white tiger appears behind him. With brutality, the experienced opponent advances, delivering an extremely heavy punch. Song blocks the impact but retreats. Admitting that the enemy's brute force is still absurd, the old man displays a proud smile. Believing he still holds the advantage in the battle, the young man straightens his posture and confidently states that he can now see all the blows. He masterfully dodges the lightning. Fast flurry of punches the man unleashes on him. In a last-ditch effort, the enemy prepares a colossal punch charged with blue energy. The boy's eyes perfectly track the exact trajectory of the approaching attack. Song stretches out his arm and deflects the old man's fist upwards, fully opening his guard. Without missing a beat, the young man counterattacks, landing a flaming punch right into his face. The force of the impact drags the experienced fighter's feet backward on the asphalt. His eyes widen, unable to believe he's being pressured by a kid. Song gives no quarter and unleashes a relentless barrage of energized punches without stopping. The old man grinds his teeth, struggling to defend against the overwhelming sequence. The man concludes, shocked, that all that miraculous improvement in movement is the pill's fault. Furious at losing to a student, he summons the immense aura of the Emperor's griffin. Sasha's father screams furiously as he prepares his most deadly attack. He charges forward, firing a lethal burst at the young student. Song senses the rapid approach and focuses his energy without retreating. The boy throws a determined punch directly against the overwhelming attack. The old man laughs hysterically, calling the boy an idiot for trying to block him. He cruelly claims that the griffin's claws will tear his hands off. Undeterred, Song adjusts his posture and focuses on the enemy's opening. The boy clenches his fists, ordering himself to keep his guard up with an extremely fluid movement. The young man dodges his opponent's arm. The old man's eyes widen in complete shock as he sees his defense laid bare, taking advantage of the opening. Song lands a brutal kick right in his opponent's chest. Ivan Romanov feels the overwhelming force of the blow and lets out a roar of agony. The boy completes the movement perfectly, demonstrating all his power. The sheer force of the impact throws the imposing old man backward onto the asphalt. Lying on the ground, the veteran groans in pain, unable to believe what has just happened. He wonders how the strongest fighter in the world could have been defeated like that. Ivan feels humiliated for having lost to a mere Japanese student. He stares at the sky in frustration, admitting that the result makes absolutely no sense. At that moment, the young man approaches the fallen man with an angry expression, clutching his fist. Song says he regrets informing him of something very serious. The boy shouts angrily that he is actually Korean and calls the old man an idiot. Yukika and Sasha are left speechless witnessing the outcome of that battle. They stare at the young man's back, realizing that he really did defeat the monster. The great champion and leader of a military corporation was surpassed by a boy. Yukika admits to being surprised by the victory, even knowing that he targeted an opening. The young man is breathing with extreme difficulty, feeling the full weight of exhaustion hitting him, worried about his condition. Sasha runs towards him to see if everything is all right. He apologizes for hitting her father, but the girl understands that the old man was to blame. The young man, worried, asks if the leader of his clan will be all right alone there. Sasha warns that her father won't give up so easily and tells the boy to run away immediately. Suddenly, the old man starts to move, startling the young people who are still there. Yukika says she'll take care of the big guy and tells the two of them to get away from the crowd. Sung smiles in relief, entrusting the situation to his experienced senior. As the pair walk away, curious pedestrians begin to gather on the street. People murmur in shock as they recognize the great champion lying unconscious on the ground. A few days go by, and the holiday brings the routine back to school. The boy walks down the hallways, massaging his neck, which is sore from the fight. He laments the pain in his body and thinks he was very lucky to have survived. Sung finds it bizarre that no news about the incident leaked onto the internet. He enters the classroom feeling a chill that something bad is going to happen. The professor asks for silence and announces the arrival of a new student from Russia. A girl calmly walks into the room, cheerfully greeting everyone. Her long bluish hair immediately catches the attention of all the students. The young man swallows hard, recognizing the girl he helped on the street a few days ago. She introduces herself as Alexandra Romanova, but cheerfully asks to be called Sasha. Her colleagues are amazed by her beauty, while Sung panics. Sasha lists her hobbies and reveals with a smile that she has recently started to enjoy something new. The girl points her index finger firmly towards the tables at the back of the room. She points directly at Kim Seonghai in front of the entire surprised class. The boy is paralyzed with terror, feeling that his peaceful life is over forever. Classmates are euphoric in whisper about that sudden declaration. The young man sweats coldly, realizing that his peaceful life as an extra might be ruined. With a big smile on her face, Sasha confidently points her finger at the boy. The other students murmur in surprise, trying to understand how the Russian girl speaks Japanese so well. She happily replies that she learned the language on her own, just by watching Anaheim at home. Someone asks if it's true that she likes the young man, leaving him totally tense. The girl confirms, saying that her ideal type is someone even stronger than her father. Sung panics when he realizes terrible rumors are spreading in the room. Rika observes the scene from her, with a visibly troubled and thoughtful expression. The boy tries to quickly explain to his friends that it's all just a misunderstanding. He realizes too late that that excuse sounded exactly like an Anaheim protagonist. The young man finds it strange to receive so much attention, since Sasha is one of the original heroines. he imagines that his entire calm routine will be replaced by an exhausting life of problems. Suddenly, an excited voice calls his and Rika's names, drawing their attention. The lively redhead girl named Karen appears in the room, saying she came for a walk. She hugs the young man from behind, asking intimately if he had a good holiday. Sasha doesn't like the scene at all and shoots a sharp look in the direction of the newcomer. The Russian woman extends her hand and demands that the redhead immediately move away from the boy. Karen gets annoyed and asks who she thinks she is to try and give her orders. With a confident smile, the transfer student places her hand on her chest, exuding confidence. Sasha declares loudly and clearly that she is the person who will become Yu Sung's girlfriend. Karen doesn't accept the insult and shouts that this idea is a big joke to her. The redhead retorts, shouting that the boy is actually already President Rika's boyfriend. Widespread confusion takes over the room, leaving all the students agitated. Yu Sung stares blankly, unable to comprehend how he suddenly became Rika's boyfriend. The class president turns completely red and denies the rumor. Shouting desperately, Sasha smiles provocatively, saying that Karen was jumping to conclusions. The Russian woman clings to the young man's arm, while the redhead screams furiously for her to let go. In the midst of all that chaotic fighting, student Ayaz approaches, calling out to the boy. The girl with glasses stops in front of him and shyly asks if she can ask him a favor. She asks to borrow the boy's notes, surprising the other girls. Without hesitation, the boy takes his notebook out of his bag and hands it directly to the girl. Ayaz politely thanks them and walks away, leaving the rest of the group in silence. Rika comments, confused that Ayaz is one of the smartest girls in the whole school. Karen agrees and mocks her friend, questioning why she would take notes from a brute. The girls look at him doubtfully and ask what his real ranking position was. Yu Sung calmly reveals that he came in first in his class, and everyone screams in shock. Sakamoto appears, teasing his friend by saying that he really seems terrible at studying. The young man gets angry at his colleague's words and prepares to punch him right there. Sakamoto looks away smiling and says that Ayaz isn't afraid of you, Sung, because he's a good guy. The girls happily agree, saying that he is super kind once you get to know him. Visibly embarrassed, the boy turns his back on the group and runs to the bathroom. The friends burst into laughter and begin teasing the boy for his shy reaction. While walking alone, he decides that it's best to keep his distance from Sasha for the rest of the day. Some time later, the bell rings and all the students gather in the school's large cafeteria. Yu Sung arrives at the table and notices that the three troublesome girls are already waiting for him. The young man cries inwardly, realizing that his plan to be alone has failed miserably. The students start arguing fiercely, pulling the confused boy from one side to the other. The extras whisper, dying of envy because he's having lunch with three beautiful girls. Yu Sung sighs, utterly exhausted, trying to find a way to escape this situation. Brilliant idea suddenly pops into the mind of the young man surrounded by girls. He turns to the girls and cheerfully asks how their studies are going for the exams. The girls immediately become depressed, begging him not to talk about exams. Yu Sung mentally celebrates. Realizing that his escape plan was working, three begin to lament the difficulties they have with school subjects. The young man displays a victorious smile, knowing that this was the perfect chance to escape. He suggests that the three of them form a study group at one of their houses on the weekend. The guy gives a creepy smile and says he's completely free to focus on his plans. The weekend finally arrives, bringing much peace to Kim Yu Sung's home. The boy wipes the sweat from his face. Feeling immense joy and satisfaction with his work, he poses proudly, celebrating the private gym he set up in his own home. The boy used the money he earned working as a bodyguard to buy all the equipment. Without wasting any time, he excitedly grabs the barbell to begin his bench press workout. The young man lifts the weight, laughing hysterically with excitement over his new gym. Suddenly, the cell phone starts ringing, interrupting the morning exercise routine. When he answers the call, he hears a female voice telling him to look out the window of his house. The boy opens the window, completely confused. Questioning what the girl was talking about, he looks down and sees the energetic redhead waving cheerfully from the street in his direction. The girl urges her friend to come down quickly. As she is surrounded by a sinister crowd, the young man's eyes widen in complete terror. Wondering who those guys are, several muscular men with scars stare at the boy's window with menacing expressions. Kim Yu Sung was shocked, wondering who this person was. Countless questions flooded his mind. He kept thinking, what happened now? Is this some new trouble? Can't I even work out properly anymore? Just then he went downstairs where Rika said, "You're here." Come on, we've been waiting for you. Behind Rika stood Sasha's bodyguards. Kim Yoo-sung wondered why all of them were here. Then someone from the driver's seat of the car greeted him with a hello. The moment Kim saw him, he thought, that's the same guy I fought before. What's he doing here? Rika smiled and told him not to worry. That's Sasha's uncle, Mr. Boris. Hearing that, Kim was shocked. Boris told Kim to get inside quickly, but Kim couldn't understand him because he was speaking in another language. Kim said he can't speak Japanese. Rika then said, still, he's kinder than he looks. Sasha's uncle Boris is actually a good person. She said it with a smile. Sasha was also sitting inside the car. Sasha asked, what happened, Kim? Kim replied, how did this happen? Sasha answered, he's my bodyguard, so he has to come with me everywhere I go. There's nothing I can do about it. Kim felt very uncomfortable. He thought that since this man had been beaten by him, it must be awkward for him too. Kim began thinking about Boris when suddenly a voice interrupted the scene. Hello, you all arrived. Hello everyone, come inside. It was Karen's father. Karen also greeted everyone and invited them in. After seeing Karen's father, Kim started thinking. I've met her father before, though not normally. It was back when I was following Karen. But if I act like I already know him, it'll be really awkward. So I'll pretend I don't know him. Karen's father asked, what are you thinking about? Why are you so quiet? Frightened Kim replied, hello, my name is Kim Yoo-sung. Rika greeted him as well. Karen's father said, yes, come in. Meanwhile, Karen's father started thinking. Kim Yoo-sung, the young guy I met before. To think you've become this close with our Karen. All these thoughts ran through Karen's father's mind, and he made a strange expression. Seeing that, Kim thought, why is he making that face? Kim became nervous. Is he about to say something? Suddenly, he smiled. He's very strong. Perfect for my daughter. It's good that the two of them are getting close. He started smiling even more. My future son-in-law. Karen immediately asked, why are you making that look? Then Karen's father looked at Boris. It's been a long time since we met. What happened to you? How did you get injured? At the same time, he thought. To think Ivan's daughter attends the same school as Karen and is even in the same class. Then a question appeared in his mind. Do Karen's father and Sasha's father know each other? Sasha asked, you didn't know? Karen's father once again asked Boris. How did you get injured, Boris? Boris touched his wound and said, this Kim, pointing his finger at Kim. Kim was shocked. What is he saying? Boris continued. I was defeated by Kim. Kim couldn't understand anything. Why was he pointing at him? Then another guard translated. He's saying he was defeated by Kim in a fight. That's why he got those injuries. After that, he added, not just me, the Tsar was seriously injured as well. And Ivan was also injured because of Kim. Hearing this, Karen's father was completely shocked. His mouth remained open. What's he injured Ivan? The destruction god. How is that possible? Hearing all this, Kim became nervous. He felt like they might throw him out of the house because Ivan was their friend. Kim fell into deep thought. He felt they would kick him out instead of letting him study. Then he thought, even if they throw me out, it's fine. At least I'll be able to go home and work out properly. His thoughts were interrupted by a voice. That's amazing. Excitedly, Karen's father said, as expected from my future son-in-law candidate. Hearing that, Kim's thought, what is he talking about? Karen immediately said, what future son-in-law candidate? Dad, I told you not to say weird things when my friends are around. Everyone was watching as Karen lectured her father from the side. Her father apologized. Sorry, my inner thoughts just slipped out. After hearing that, Kim thought, where the hell have I gotten myself stuck? Boris asked, is that true? Sasha immediately told him. Be quiet, Rika said. He must be joking, right? Karen apologized. Sorry about my father's weird jokes. Kim thought, there are some things I seriously need to sort out. The sign changed. Now everyone was studying together. Sasha said, before we start studying, let's figure out everyone's weak points. Kim replied, all right. Rika raised her hand. She was told, you're generally weak in science subjects. A lot of students give up on these subjects, so memorizing the formulas alone can get you an average score. Kim added, you need to memorize every formula that's on the test. Then he checked some notes. I already prepared all of this beforehand. He handed her the notes. All the girls looked troubled because they couldn't memorize everything. Kim observed them carefully. I knew they weren't able to memorize it. Then Kim said, next, Karen. Hearing that, Karen became nervous. Kim said, you don't really have any strong subjects. You're especially weak at memorization. He advised her, try changing your memorization technique. It will work and you'll start remembering things better. Karen energetically replied, I'll definitely give it a try. Then Sasha asked, what should I do, Kim? He replied, it's going to be hard for you to understand classical literature right away. The only answer is solving lots of problems. He pulled out another set of notes from his bag. I originally made this for myself, but let's do it together. She took them in her hands. All right, let's begin. Everyone started studying seriously. Time passed. After 1 hour, everyone looked tired. Kim noticed it. Soon 2 hours had passed. Kim said, all right, we've studied for a very long time. Now we need to take a break. Everyone was exhausted. They all agreed. Yeah, that's fine. Kim then asked Karen, can I use the kitchen? Karen looked surprised. I don't mind, but why the kitchen? Kim replied, everyone is tired, and I think I should make a snack for everyone. Wait, I'll be back soon. After some time, he returned. All right, here we go. Everyone was stunned. Kim had prepared bingsu. The dish looked so beautiful that everyone kept staring at it. A collective wow escaped everyone's mouth. Rika said, Korean-style bingsu. I've had it in Shin Okubo before. Karen said, amazing. Sasha was astonished. How did you make this? Kim replied, pick whichever one you like. I made several kinds. He looked somewhat impressed with himself. Everyone immediately took out their phones and started taking pictures. Then Sasha said, Kim, listen. He looked toward her. She said, let's each trade a bite. She offered him a bite. Kim thought about refusing, but he didn't really have a choice. Wait, but... Before he could finish, she said, my hand hurts. As a result, he ended up eating it. The other girls watched the whole thing and became jealous. Is it good? Then feed me too. Kim was embarrassed. What kind of request is that? Meanwhile, the other girls were staring at him too. Then Rika said, let me try some too. Kim thought, why is everyone suddenly acting like this? What happened? The girls glared at him angrily. Karen immediately said, no, eat mines. Since he had accepted a bite from Sasha's hand, everyone became jealous. Then we see Karen lost in thought. Like an idiot, I mistakenly assumed those two were dating. Then she remembered Sasha saying, "What are you talking about all of a sudden? Kim and I are just friends." Then I've been mistaken all this time. In that case, actually I like him too. When I was betrayed, he looked after me and cared for me. That's when feelings for him started growing in my heart. But if those two aren't dating? At that moment, we see another girl trying to force Kim to take a bite. Karen thought, then that means I also have a real chance to make him mine. She also had feelings for Kim. A thought appeared in her mind. She had a chance too. A chance to make him hers. Our classroom scene is shown where the midterms have ended and everyone's results have come out. Rika looks at her results and feels happy. Looking at her results, she happily says that she scored higher than usual this time and is very pleased with her results. She gives all the credit to Kim and says that all of this happened because of him. Kim says, "Good job, this happened because of your hard work. Good job." Rika smiles and says that to celebrate the midterms, they can go to karaoke, right? Kim looks at her and says, "Yeah, we can go." That's a good idea. Rika says that she will pay for everyone. Just then, another classmate standing behind them says, "You all did so well, so why was it so difficult for me?" Kim says, "Maybe you were lacking in your studies. Don't worry, do better next time." He says, putting studies aside, "Do you know what kind of rumors are going around about you? Do you even know?" Kim angrily says, "Now what happened? Tell me. Don't tell me that you fought 20 against 1 with Russian mafia members on the street. Don't tell me it's from Golden Week. Were there witnesses? Haha, Russian mafia. This isn't a movie." I can't believe there are idiots who actually believe that. Just then, Sasha arrives there and says, "Who knows, maybe these aren't just rumors. Maybe there's some truth in them, right?" Seeing her, Rika says, "Sasha, you're here." She strikes a pose and says, "You guys are going to karaoke, right? The time has finally come for you to hear my heavenly voice." Then Rika says, "Really, do you sing that well?" Another boy asks, "What song are you going to sing?" Rika says, "All right, enough talking. We should get going now." Then we are shown everyone leaving together. Everyone looks excited, thinking that karaoke is going to be fun. Rika is going to pay for everyone and has brought her purse with her. Just then Kim says, "Aren't you all hungry?" Rika says, "It's already lunchtime." Their friend says, "Then let's go eat burgers, it'll be fun." Suddenly, the sound of a motorcycle approaching is heard. A biker pushes Rika as he passes by. Rika cries out in pain and the biker says to them, "Watch where you're going, idiots. You'll get yourselves killed like that." Rika falls to the ground and says, "You came out of nowhere. You should have been careful." Kim asks Rika, "Are you okay, Rika?" Then Rika panics and says, "I'm fine, but my purse is gone. That biker guy stole my purse. Everything I had was inside it." Kim says, "Wait here, I'll be back in a moment." Rika says, "Where are you going?" Our MC suddenly starts running at full speed in rage mode. Kim has practically become the Flash. Seeing his speed, Rika says, "Kim, you'll fall, be careful." While running, Kim turns back and says, "I'll be back soon. Go inside the restaurant and wait for me. I'll return quickly." Meanwhile, that guy is talking, saying, "Wow, so much money. What is a high school girl doing with this much cash? That's a lot of money." His brother is worried and says, "What will we do if those people find us, brother?" Kim is running with such power that the ground is shaking. Both of them get scared and say, "What is that? What's that sound?" Then we see Kim running toward them. As Kim approaches them, he says, "Stop right there and give me back the wallet." The biker tries to escape and tells his brother to run. The biker says, "Dumb boy, try to catch us. You can't match our speed. You'll never catch us. Go back." Then the guy is shocked because Kim has lifted the motorcycle with one hand. The bike cannot move forward. Seeing such power, the biker gets terrified and wonders how this guy can be so strong. The man screams and says, "What kind of monster is this?" Kim shouts loudly and says, "Give the wallet back." The biker can't move at all. The guy becomes so frightened that he starts crying and says, "We were wrong. Please forgive us. We made a mistake." He knows that if Kim punches him, he's finished. In a deadly voice, Kim says, "Get off the bike right now." The frightened guy says, "Yes, sir, I'm getting off." Kim says, "Where is the wallet?" The guy drops to his knees and says, "Here it is, sir. Please take it. Forgive me, sir." Then he says, "So I'll be leaving now," and quickly starts the motorcycle and rides away. Kim says, "This time I'll let you go, but from now on, never do this to anyone again." Holding Rika's pink purse in his hand, Kim looks at it and says, "Good, I finally found it. That's great. She'll be happy." Kim remembers that Rika had said she would pay. "For karaoke, I can't miss free karaoke. Now she'll have to pay." Kim smiles while looking at the wallet. Then we see a man watching all of this. Kim and everyone else go to karaoke, have fun, and eventually it becomes time to go home. Kim says, "Today was really fun. See you at school." While leaving, he thinks, "Yes, it was a very fun time." Kim walks away with a gentle smile on his face. And he says that now he's going to the gym and will do today's workout. Suddenly a voice comes from behind him. Boss, wait, boss. Wait for a moment, boss. The man says, I followed you because there's something I want to tell you, boss. Wait, Kim says, who are you? I don't know you. The guy drops to his knees, and seeing this, Kim starts wondering what is going on. The guy says, please accept me as your disciple. After seeing that boy like this, everyone around starts looking at him, wondering what is happening. Isn't that the son of the owner of the Korean restaurant? Why is he acting like this? Kim says, why are you suddenly saying this? Who are you? He replies, I know you don't know me. My name is Godu Kazuya, boss. Kim says, all right, I understand. First, stand up. Kim says, don't say anything here, come with me. The boy says, you can call me Kazu. Kim grabs his hand and says, come with me. He says, I get it already, geez. Kim says, how old are you? Kazu says, I'm 17 years old, boss. Kim says, then why do you look so old? He replies, actually, I'm the leader of the biker gang Night Parade of 100 Demons. Unfortunately, the guy who stole the wallet is in my gang. I'm sorry about that. Kim says, I see, I understand now. But that matter was already sorted out a long time ago. Then why are you following me? The boy says, because, boss, you're a true man, boss. Kim says, what does that even mean? Kazu says, when I was young, despite my large size, I had a timid personality and I was bullied. I was bullied both inside and outside school. It hurt me a lot. I thought that if I truly became a strong man, then nobody would bully me anymore, so I started copying behaviors. I worked very hard and learned many things that looked strong and matched my appearance. And eventually, I became the leader of a biker gang that looked strong on the outside, but I was just pretending to be strong. I, who was bullied for being weak, ended up hanging around people who bullied the weak. It felt empty. I know this is wrong, but after seeing you, boss, I realized something. That's what a true man's strength is. A speed faster than a motorcycle without relying on one, not for showing off, but using your strength to recover your friend's wallet. A true man is just like you, boss. Kim thinks, I only wanted free karaoke. What is this guy imagining about me? Kazu says, please accept me as your disciple. Please, boss, Kim says, what makes you think you can learn anything from me? I'm not that kind of person. Seriously, I don't know why all sorts of things keep happening to me. How am I supposed to deal with this now? Kazu keeps begging while crying. Then an idea comes into Kim's mind. Kim says, fine, I'll accept you as my disciple. Kazu says, really, boss? Kim says, yes, but there's one condition. In a sad voice, Kazu says, a condition, boss. Kim raises 3 fingers and says, if you stay with me for 3 days and can follow my routine, then I'll accept you. I'll recognize you as my official disciple. Hee. Kim thinks that the guy won't be able to do it and that afterward he'll stop bothering him. Then he says, I'll work him to the bone. We are shown a creepy smile on Kim's face. And he says, after that, I'll make him give up on his own. We are shown a big tower, and right then we hear someone panting. Hyung, wait for me, I'm tired, you're too fast, I can't match your level, Hyung. Kim says I thought he'd have good basic stamina given his size, so I planned to push him hard with a morning workout. Hyung, Kim thinks, I didn't think he'd be this weak. But this is pathetic, this is so disappointing, he can't even do normal running. He thinks, wait, why am I disappointed? Because he was thinking that this is what I wanted, for him to give up. This actually makes it easier to get him to give up on being my disciple. But he thinks in his mind again, do I subconsciously expect him to be a decent workout partner? Hyung Kim stops and says, all right, you got tired in just this much time, how will this work? This isn't even the first step. Hurry up, we can't take this many breaks, we don't have time. Get up, next is the pull-up bar, give it a try. Take breath and do it. Kazu says, Hyung Kim, I'm trying, I'll do this. He gathers courage, raises his hand and grabs it, starts doing pull-ups. The start is very monstrous. Seeing this, Kim thinks he'll do it easily. But right after a few pull-ups, he starts to weaken. Kim says, why are you slowing down? But then he falls down again and starts screaming in pain. Kim says, you're falling on a normal pull-up. Seeing this, Kim gets angry and says, you're ruining my name. How can you be this weak? Kim hits him and says, weak guy. Kim thinks, just one, what is this guy? He's not muscular, he's just out of shape. This isn't working. With your level of stamina and strength, there's no way you can do this. I'm sorry, I won't be able to train you after this. Hearing this, Kazu starts crying and says, don't say that, boss. Please don't say that. Please no, Hyung Kim. 3 days, you said you would watch me for 3 days. He falls at his feet and starts begging him. Kim says, but if you can't even do a basic pull-up, how are you going to survive the rest of the training? Kazu says, I know, but I'm giving it my full effort. Let me complete the 3 days, please. I was so focused on bulking up that my actual stamina is terrible, but if you look at it another way. If I were already strong, I wouldn't need to become your disciple, Hyung Kim. Our Kim thinks okay, you've forced me to think again, let me think. Kazu begs again, please, Kim. He's on his knees. Seeing all this, our Kim feels pity and says, fine, let's go. We still have plenty of time before school starts. For the next 2 hours, you're going to follow my lead on the pull-up bar. Hearing this, Kazu relaxes and takes a breath and says, yes, Hyung Kim. Then he says, watch me. Kim is training and doing pull-ups. Seeing this, Kazu is amazed. Wow, you're doing it so well. He says the training is yours, not mine. Kazu, Kim says that. Then he says, now it's your turn, and Kim tells him, hold on, stop, don't let go of the grip. He holds for a very long time, then he lets go. He tries again. Looking at us, we can tell that Kazu is putting in all his strength. Then the scene of the next day is shown to us, where it's a school scene. Everyone is amazed by Kim's aura, how powerful it is, and his walk has aura. Everyone is talking about him, but Kim is still thinking about Kazu. He actually managed to do it for 2 whole hours. I plan to make him quit by giving him a brutal morning workout. As Yu Song reflects on everything that has happened, he admits that Kazuya's unwavering determination and relentless perseverance have genuinely impressed him. Without even realizing it, he has begun treating this role as Kazuya's mentor far more seriously than he originally intended. However, that realization creates a difficult problem. Although Kazuya appears to be an honest and decent person, he is still a member of a biker gang. If he actually manages to survive the entire 3-day challenge, Yu Song knows his own plans will become far more complicated. Still occupied by these conflicting thoughts, Yu Song walks forward at his usual calm pace. Before long, Ken suddenly calls out to him from behind. Catching up quickly, Ken excitedly asks whether Yu Song has heard the newest rumors spreading throughout the school. Yu Song turns toward him with a puzzled expression, wondering what could have happened for rumors to circulate so quickly. Ken goes on to explain that someone extremely well-known will soon be returning to school. He reminds Yu Song that their academy is famous for having a group known as the Three Great Beauties. Completely uninterested in school gossip, Yu Song responds without hesitation, 3 Great Beauties. Who the hell are they? And what kind of ridiculous name is that? It sounds like something straight out of a generic Japanese harem anime. Seeing how completely unaware his friend is, Ken eagerly starts filling him in. The first is the student council president, Kumiho Seienji. The second is the captain of the kendo club, Yukika Fuma. As Yu Song hears their names, he realizes he never would have guessed those girls were considered the school's legendary beauties. Then Ken finally reaches the person he was most excited to mention. With dramatic enthusiasm, he announces, and the last one is the rising television star, now Minato. Only then does Yu Song realize that a nationally famous celebrity has been attending the same school as them this entire time. Ken proudly points out that even someone as oblivious as Yu Song should at least recognize her name. Overcome with excitement, Ken nearly bursts into tears as he passionately proclaims that the incredible now Minato is taking time out of her hectic celebrity career just to return and attend school. After listening to the entire explanation, Yu Song remains completely unfazed. He casually asks whether that was really the huge rumor Ken had been making such a big deal about, instantly making it feel as if Ken's brain had completely short-circuited. In utter disbelief, Ken shouts, "I'm a VIP member of her official fan club. There's no way I'll let anyone disrespect my idol like that." One look at Ken's overly emotional reaction is enough for Yu Song to finally understand why his friend knows every tiny detail about the topic. Having no interest in dragging the conversation out any further, Yu Song simply waves Ken off and says he's leaving first. He explains that his own training routine is already packed enough, so he has no time to worry about celebrities or school gossip. The moment Ken hears that, he angrily chases after him, shouting, "Hey, you muscle-obsessed gym freak. This is actually a huge deal. You can't keep brushing everything off like it's nothing." Once the school day comes to an end, Yu Song heads over to the gym and brings Kazuya along to meet Coach Nakayama for the first time. The coach immediately notices Kazuya's massive, well-built physique and gives an approving nod, clearly impressed by his naturally imposing frame. Summoning all of his courage, Kazuya respectfully bows his head and introduces himself. "My name is Godu Kazuya. Please take care of me." Yu Song then explains that Kazuya wishes to train together with him and asks whether the coach would be willing to let him join on a 3-day trial basis. Coach Nakayama agrees without the slightest hesitation. Unable to hide his excitement, he happily exclaims, "Yu Song, with a build like Kazuya's, I'd be more than happy to give someone like him a trial membership." After thanking the coach, Yu Song says they'll get changed into their training clothes first. However, as the two of them make their way toward the locker room, Kazuya's entire body trembles with anxiety. At the same time, Yu Song can't help but realize that the coach's excitement is about to disappear the moment he discovers how unbelievably weak and inexperienced Kazuya really is despite that intimidating physique. After changing into their workout clothes, they head straight for the treadmills. Only moments after starting, Kazuya desperately cries out, "Aniki, I'm seriously going to die." Meanwhile, Yu Song continues running beside him without breaking his pace, immediately recognizing the real reason Kazuya is struggling so badly. Deciding that he has pushed himself enough for now, Yu Song calmly tells him to go ahead and press the stop button. Covered in sweat, Kazuya frantically reaches for the controls and hurriedly smacks the emergency stop button. The treadmill comes to an abrupt halt, throwing his balance completely off and sending him tumbling forward onto the floor. As Nakayama watches the man he had placed such high expectations on crash face first into the treadmill, every bit of optimism he had for the future of his gym seems to disappear in an instant. Letting out a long, disappointed sigh, Nakayama remarks that Kazuya is the perfect example of someone who focused entirely on building an impressive-looking body while neglecting the fundamentals. His physical coordination is terrible, and his cardiovascular endurance is even worse. Shaking his head, the coach admits that with a starting point this poor, even someone with his experience might struggle to turn Kazuya into a capable trainee. Still unwilling to surrender, Kazuya immediately drops to both knees and desperately begs Coach Nakayama to give him only 3 days to prove himself. He vows that, no matter how difficult it is, he will improve his stamina and show that his determination is real. Nakayama stares at the kneeling Kazuya, unsure of how he should handle the situation. But when Kazuya tightly clings to his leg and cries out, "Coach, I'll prove that I have what it takes. Please don't send me away," the coach's resolve begins to soften. Deciding to give the young man a fair chance, Nakayama tells him to stand up, wondering why he is willing to go to such unbelievable lengths just for this opportunity. As Yu Song quietly watches everything unfold before his eyes, Kazuya's unwavering determination finally makes him realize just how desperately the young man wants to become his disciple. Later that evening, after the brutal training session finally comes to an end, Yu Song and Kazuya leave the gym and begin heading toward their separate homes. As they walk, Yu Song notices the intense strain written all over Kazuya's face. The sight immediately makes him uneasy, so he turns to him and asks, "Kazuya, are you really all right? Maybe you should visit a clinic. You look completely worn out." Hearing Yu Song's genuine concern, Kazuya tightly clenches his fists and firmly insists that there is nothing wrong with him. With a trembling yet determined voice, Kazuya declares that suffering through this much pain is only a small sacrifice if it allows him to earn the chance to become Yu Song's disciple. Staring at him in silence, Yu Song finally arrives at a clear conclusion. In his current state, there is simply no way he can truly accept Kazuya as his disciple. Realizing that ignoring the real problem now will only create even bigger issues later, Yu Song stops walking, turns around, and faces him directly. He calmly tells Kazuya that before they take another step forward, there is one promise he absolutely must make. It is not a request or a suggestion, but a condition that cannot be negotiated. Kazuya looks at him in surprise and immediately replies that Yu Song should say whatever is on his mind, promising that he will listen to every word. Looking him straight in the eyes, Yu Song explains that if Kazuya is truly serious about becoming his disciple and wishes to grow into the honorable man he claims he wants to be, then he must first satisfy one essential requirement. Starting from this very day, he has to completely cut all ties with the biker gang and leave it behind for good. Yu Song finishes by making his position perfectly clear. If Kazuya is unwilling or unable to abandon the biker gang, then he will never acknowledge him as his disciple, and under no circumstances will he continue training him any further. Kim says starting today quit being a biker. Hearing this, Kazu gets lost in thought and thinks what should he do now because training with Kim is very important for him. Kim Hyun says if you can't do that, then from now on neither the training nor accepting you as my disciple can happen. Kazu thinks I, the leader of the night parade of 100 demons, quit being a biker. The people who took me in when I was struggling, the comrades who are like brothers to me. He starts remembering the old times he spent with those bikers. Before he could say anything, Kim Hyung says again, think about it carefully. Honestly, whether you quit being a biker or not has nothing to do with me. But in my opinion, a truly strong man is someone who protects something more important than himself. You have something precious like that too, don't you? For example, your family. Kazu listens blankly and is lost in thoughts. Kazu says, yes, I do. My mother, he said this, and Kim says you need to answer me now. Kazu starts telling his story and says, ever since the man I call my father left home when I was 3, she has raised me all by herself. Thinking about all this, he gets very sad. After thinking, Kazu says, you're right, boss. Starting today, I'll step down as leader of the night parade of 100 demons and follow you, boss. Hearing this, Kim is shocked. Are you really okay with that? Kazu says, yes, I think I've spent too much time thinking only about my own wounds. From now on, I'll never become a biker again. All right, it's a promise. You're not going back. Let's work hard together for the remaining 2 days. Kim says with a smile, tomorrow is the weekend, so be prepared for the training all day. Kazu says, yes, boss, with a joyful smile. The next day, we are shown a gym. Then the scene shifts and we see our MC Kim Hyung. He says, hello, master. He greets his master. He looks to the other side and our Kazu is training very intensely. The master says, welcome, Yusung. That Godu guy already. Seeing Kazu, the master is shocked that he has already come. The master says, yes, he's been training since an hour before you arrived. Hearing this, Kim gives a shocked reaction. Oh, Godu, control your breathing, tighten your core. Kazu says, yes, master, I'm doing it. The master says still, he's got determination. Since he's strong, he's pretty good at anaerobic exercises. Hearing this, Kim says that's true, gives a positive smile, and says at least when it comes to determination. After some time, the scene is shown to us. After so much training, Kazu can't even walk, and he says, boss, I can't even walk properly. We worked both your upper and lower body evenly, so that's to be expected, Kazu. Kim says tomorrow's the last day, so I've planned an even tougher workout. Be prepared, and Kazu agrees in a crying voice. And he says, thank you for your guidance, boss. But then our Kim starts taking something out of his bag and says, wait, I brought something for you. Kazu says, what? Then Kim says, I made something for you. It's before dinner, so take it home and eat it with your mother. Seeing the food, Kazu is shocked and says, what, boss, you made this? Boss, really, I can't believe this. And this already smells very good, boss. He says, I made plenty, since your mother should eat too. Kim says, I'm pretty good at cooking. I made it Chinese style, so it should taste good. Seeing all this, Kazu says, wow. Wow, boss, this looks perfect. And seeing this, he starts crying, and Kim says, why are you crying? Kazu says, boss, thank you so much, even though the leader of the guys who caused you trouble came asking to become your disciple. I truly respect you, boss, and he falls at his feet. Right then, people walking nearby are looking at them. A child asks her mummy, why is that big man at his feet, mummy? Seeing this, Kim gets very uncomfortable. He says, okay, but don't do that. Kazu, in the middle of the street, people will misunderstand. Kazu says, tomorrow, after I finish training safely, I'll definitely become your disciple. Walking, Kazu thinks that I'm really a lucky guy. I even met such an amazing boss. I'm glad I quit being a biker. My boss is amazing. Right then, a voice comes from behind him, boss, boss. He turns and looks, what happened? Kazu asks those biker gang guys what happened. Then a guy says, boss, please help us, boss. Kazu says, first tell me what happened to you. Then the scene comes to our MC Kim and he is looking and thinking it's still. What's going on? Kazu is late. Kim is doing his exercise and checking the time. What is happening? It's the last day. Don't tell me he gave up. No, he's not someone who lacks that much determination. Kim thinks, I can't believe it. Did he really give up? What happened to him after all? Kim says maybe I should have gotten his phone number. Time slowly passed. He says, I'll head home now. All right, get home safely. That's what the master says to Kim. He thinks in the end he gave up and never came. Yeah, or at least I didn't get dragged into anything troublesome. I'm supposed to live as an ordinary extra, so I'm not in a position to have a disciple or anything like that. He starts remembering everything. I really didn't think he'd give up on the last day like this. What happened to him after all? Kim says, still, I'm a little disappointed. He takes a long breath and moves ahead. Right then, a biker comes from behind and says, listen. Kim says, "Who are you?" He says, "Excuse me, you're boss of Kazu, right, boss?" Hearing this, Kim says, "What, who's boss? Did Kazu send you?" He says, "Yes, Kazu. I mean, boss Godu asked me to tell you that he couldn't come today." Hearing this, Kim understands. I knew something had happened. Saying this much, he starts to leave and says, "Well, then I've delivered the message, so I'll be going now." Kim stops him and says, "Wait, can you explain what happened?" The guy says, "Ah." And flashbacks hit us. We are shown many bikers. Someone asks, "So you've finally come?" The Devil Riders leader Mao. We are shown Mao, and in front of him is our Kazuya, former leader of the night parade of 100 demons Godu Kazuya. Then he says, "I heard my men caused you some trouble, Mao." Mao says to him, "Heh, my men. More accurately, they're your former men." Mao says, "Thanks to you stepping down voluntarily, we were able to take over the night parade of 100 demons." Hearing this, Kazuya angrily says, "Nonsense. The night parade of 100 demons doesn't belong to anyone." Mao says, "Really, your men don't seem to think so. His guys have been beaten up by the other gang." And in that, his guys say, "Sorry, Kazu, we had no choice if we wanted to survive." Hearing this, Kazuya gets angry and says, "You bastard, Mao, I won't let you get away with this." And then a guy says, "Stop, I'll be your opponent, current fourth leader of the night parade of 100 demons, Maido." Seeing him, Kazuya says, "Maido, you traitor." Kazuya thinks, "My muscles are sore from boss's training." Right then a voice comes, "You there, stop." And then we see a muscular figure come there. Seeing him, everyone gets scared. Who is this monster that has come? It's no one else, our MC Hyung Kim. Seeing him, Kazuya says, Boss, really? You came here for me, boss." And Kim looks at everyone with a determined look. Kazuya knows that now his boss is going to mess them up badly, and Kazuya sees a hope. Inside a dimly lit underground warehouse, a large gathering of biker gang members suddenly turns their attention toward the entrance as a voice calls out from inside, demanding to know who is intruding. Walking calmly out of the shadows with his hands resting casually in his coat pockets, Hyung steps into the gathering. Seeing him arrive, one of the loyal biker gang members wearing a headband turns around in utter shock, stammering in disbelief as he asks how his boss managed to get all the way down here. Without missing a beat, Hyung looks forward with a calm and serious expression, stating simply that he came because he heard Kazu was in serious trouble. Hearing Hyung's words, the biker gang members express immediate surprise. The loyal gang member with the headband quickly begins explaining the dire situation, revealing that the gang member who recently took over as their current leader completely betrayed them. Another loyal gang member stands beside him as he continues to explain that this new leader was secretly working behind their backs with Mao, the vicious leader of the rival biker gang known as the Devil Riders. He explains that as soon as boss Kazu stepped down from his leadership position, the traitor immediately attempted to forcefully merge their entire gang with the Devil Riders. During this chaotic handover, a violent brawl broke out between the two gangs, where many of their loyal comrades were brutally beaten and severely injured by Mao's men. Listening closely to the grim report, Hyung keeps his eyes focused and asks what exactly Mao is trying to achieve by merging the gangs. Gripping his head in frustration and worry, the loyal gang member guesses that Mao's ultimate goal is to become the single strongest biker gang in all of Tokyo. He explains that if Mao successfully merges their gangs together, he will gain enough manpower and territory to completely take over their legendary gang's domain as well. Knowing how dangerous this ambition is, Kazu took full responsibility for the mess and went out alone to stop Mao and the Devil Riders before it was too late. With a determined look in his eyes, Hyung looks down at the loyal gang members and firmly commands them to lead the way and take him straight to where Kazu is fighting. Out on the streets where the rival gangs have gathered for a confrontation, a hostile crowd of Devil Riders stands ready for battle. At the front of the pack, the rival leader sits astride his heavy motorcycle wearing a protective helmet, staring menacingly toward the newcomer as he questions whether this man is really Kazu's former boss. As he looks closer at Hyung standing calmly before them, the helmeted leader realizes who he is dealing with and notes that Hyung must be the legendary former leader of their gang, the man universally feared as a living legend. The rival leader shouts out in awe and shock, recognizing Hyung by his legendary name, Mishima Ryohei. Behind him, a large group of rival biker gang members wearing matching yellow uniforms sweat nervously and repeat the legendary name in absolute disbelief, realizing they are standing face to face with a living myth. A gang member standing nearby points an angry finger toward the enemy ranks, loudly demanding to know who they are dealing with. Surrounded by the tense and hostile atmosphere, Hyung remains completely unfazed with his hands in his pockets, casually replying that he simply happens to know Kazu. Suddenly, the tension shatters as violent fighting erupts across the pavement, sending one of the rival gang members flying backward with a painful cry as bodies collide around them. Sitting calmly on his motorcycle amidst the brawl, the helmeted rival leader coldly remarks that anyone who dares to side with Kazu right now clearly has a lot of guts. Admiring Hyung's courage, the helmeted leader makes a direct pitch, offering Hyung a deal to completely abandon Kazu and join his side instead. He promises that once he succeeds in becoming Tokyo's strongest biker, he will reward Hyung by making him his official right-hand man. Hearing this arrogant proposal, Hyung lets out a tired sigh, thinking to himself with a deadpan expression that someone else's father recently offered him a very similar, annoying deal. Overhearing the enemy's offer, two of Kazu's loyal biker gang members yell out in panic, warning Hyung not to listen to a single word from Mao's side because he is a ruthless villain who will do anything to achieve his selfish ambitions. Looking past Hyung toward the shouting subordinates, the helmeted rival leader snaps back angrily, telling them to shut up because he is in the middle of negotiating. Leaning forward over his handlebars, the helmeted leader eagerly urges Hyung to stop hesitating and accept his offer immediately. Hyung cuts him off instantly with a single cold word, calling the entire offer completely ridiculous. As the enemy leader mutters in confusion, Hyung glares at him with fierce, glowing eyes and loudly calls him unbelievably childish, questioning what exactly he plans to do after he supposedly becomes the strongest. The helmeted leader screams back his twisted dream, declaring that once he holds ultimate power and authority, he will force everyone weaker than him to kneel at his feet. Hyung coldly lectures him in response, explaining that the authorities are only leaving his gang alone right now because they are still small and insignificant, and they will never tolerate a gang trying to control all of Tokyo. Furious at being lectured, the helmeted leader screams out in defiance that they will simply crush anyone and everyone who tries to stand in their way. Taking a firm, heavy step forward onto the pavement, Hyung scoffs with utter contempt and asks if the rival leader seriously believes he can defeat someone wielding a gun using nothing but bare hands, calling him hopelessly arrogant. Completely enraged by Hyung's insults, the helmeted leader revs his motorcycle engine to maximum power and screams the command for his entire gang to attack, declaring that a brutal beating is the only answer for someone who refuses to listen. The motorcycle engines roar furiously as dozens of rival biker gang members charge forward from every direction, surrounding Hyung on foot and on wheels while shouting that there is no way he can take all of them on by himself. Standing completely alone in the center of the massive, circling crowd of enemies, Hyung clenching his fist tightly and calmly observes to himself that while there are certainly a lot of them, he is more than ready for the challenge. Without warning, a short-haired rival gang member with a malicious grin swings a heavy, thick metal chain through the air, screaming for Hyung to taste his weapon as the heavy links fly directly toward his face. In a lightning-fast display of reflexes, Hyung easily reaches out and catches the flying chain right in midair, wrapping the metal links tightly around his own fist. The rival who threw the chain gasps in absolute horror as Hyung uses his tremendous physical strength to yank the weapon forward, lifting the screaming enemy completely off his feet and spinning him violently through the air. With devastating force, Hyung swings the airborne enemy around like a human wrecking ball, slamming him directly into an oncoming motorcycle rider. Bodies fly across the pavement as Hyung mercilessly smashes the captured enemy into crowd after crowd of charging rivals, causing massive collisions and terrified screams across the battlefield. Hyung stands amidst the carnage with a fierce, excited grin on his face, holding the chain tightly as dozens of battered enemies lie groaning at his feet. Watching his forces get single-handedly decimated in seconds, a fallen enemy gasps in terror that Hyung is a complete monster. The helmeted rival leader trembles on his motorcycle, watching in utter disbelief as he realizes that Hyung just crushed an entire crowd of men using only one hand. Looking over his shoulder with a sharp, intimidating glare, Hyung tells the remaining enemies that anyone who still wants to die should step up and come at him first. The surviving rival gang members sweat nervously and step backward in fear, but in a desperate attempt to overwhelm him, a group of them rush forward together with their weapons raised. Hyung doesn't even flinch, moving with blinding speed to deliver a brutal hammer fist strike directly to the top of an attacker's head, crushing him instantly into the ground. He follows up immediately with a crushing palm strike and a heavy punch to the jaw, knocking enemy after enemy completely senseless as blood and sweat spray through the air. Seeing his subordinates falling one by one, the helmeted rival leader screams in fury, calling his men idiots and reminding them that Hyung is only human, ordering everyone to attack at once so he cannot defend himself. Inside his thoughts, Hyung sweats slightly as he maintains his fighting stance, realizing that even if these fighters are weak, dealing with this many people swarming him all at once could become tricky. Just as the crowd prepares to lunge at him again, a loud, familiar voice echoes across the street, calling out for his boss. Kazu suddenly leaps into the middle of the battlefield with intense, determined eyes, swinging a wooden weapon high above his head to protect Hyung from the swarming enemies. Seeing his loyal friend join the fight, a bright, relieved smile spreads across Hyung's face as he happily thanks Kazu for arriving just in time. Fighting back to back, Hyung and Kazu unleash a fierce synchronized counterattack, striking down enemy after enemy and sending bodies crashing hard onto the pavement. Watching his grand ambition fall apart before his eyes, the helmeted rival leader grits his teeth in pure rage, cursing the fact that today was supposed to be the day he finally buried Kazu and took over as the strongest biker in Tokyo. Refusing to accept defeat, the enemy leader revs his heavy motorcycle engine until smoke billows from the tires, screaming that he will never allow this to happen. With a manic, crazed grin under his helmet, he accelerates his motorcycle to maximum speed and drives straight toward Hyung, screaming at the top of his lungs for him to die. Seeing the heavy machine rocketing directly toward Hyung with unstoppable momentum, Kazu's eyes widen in terror as he screams out a desperate warning for his boss to watch out. Instead of dodging or stepping out of the path of the speeding vehicle, Hyung stands firmly in place, turning his head toward the charging motorcycle as his glowing blue eyes narrow with fierce intensity, a confident grin spreading across his face as he prepares to meet the deadly impact head-on.